Chapter 1. Transcendence and the unconventional master Chu Xuan unexpectedly found himself traversing into a fantastical realm, inexplicably becoming the disciple of a legendary ancestor of the Tai Xian sacred land. As he grappled with the conundrum of how to survive in this world solely relying on his imperial demeanor and handsome visage, the system arrived. At the Tai Xian sacred land, atop the Feilai Peak, within a mist-shrouded cave, lay a magnificent jade platform. Do not open your eyes, my disciple. I am your junior sister. 3 days and nights passed, and Chu Xuan lay upon the jade platform, his expression one of utter despair. Indeed, he felt a profound sense of disillusionment. 3 days and nights. How could his master possess such insatiable desires? Nevertheless, true to her esteemed position, his master's understanding far surpassed his own. During these endless days and nights, Chu Xuan experienced the essence of a world steeped in the passage of time. He pressed a hand against his aching lower back, while the other caressed the already desiccated petals beside him, lost in a daze. Oh, master, how could you treat me thus? If outsiders were to learn of this, how would we ever face the world again from Feilai Peak? Gently touching the disciple's token at his side, he murmured, Junior sister? There are only the two of us on this mountain. Where could a junior sister possibly come from? After a lengthy period of internal lamentation, he finally withdrew his wistful gaze. Even now, it felt surreal. He had merely stepped out to purchase some groceries, only to inexplicably faint. Upon awakening, he found himself atop this Feilai Peak, beside a breathtaking beauty. Feilai Peak, a summit of the Tai Xian sacred land, was both the least populated and the most renowned, for its lord was none other than the illustrious elder, Lu Wu. Lu Wu was universally acknowledged as the most enchanting figure within the Tai Xian Dao region, concurrently recognized as its foremost powerhouse. Chu Xuan had been discovered and brought to the mountain, having originated from an obscure village. At that time, he had just crossed over and was yet to awaken, having no recollection of these events. If his master said it was so, he accepted it as truth. 3 days ago, upon his initial awakening, he found himself bewildered by the presence of the ethereal woman before him. With a gentle voice, she inquired if he wished to become her disciple. Initially, Chu Xuan could not respond, not from a lack of desire, but rather due to his inability to comprehend her words. As a newly traversed soul, it was only natural he struggled with the language, making communication arduous, let alone providing a reply. Moreover, the woman before him was so exquisitely beautiful, her transcendent aura and flawless features ensnaring his heart at every moment. Faced with such a celestial beauty, how could a man who had been solitary for 20 years possibly muster the words to speak? Moreover, the woman's exceptionally gentle voice rendered Chu Xuan utterly astounded, leaving him at a loss for words. It was only when the tips of her fingers glimmered with a mysterious radiance, and she lightly touched his brow, that he grasped the essence of her words. Astonishingly, this celestial being wished to take him as her disciple. Furthermore, she revealed her identity as Lu Wu, the esteemed elder of the Tai Xian Holy Land. Currently wandering the realms, she fortuitously encountered Chu Xuan's remarkable aptitude, thus igniting her desire to accept him as her student. Upon hearing this revelation, Chu Xuan unhesitatingly consented. What is the most daunting aspect of traversing to another world? Undoubtedly, the absence of a formidable background. Now, having just arrived in this realm, he was presented with the unparalleled opportunity to apprentice under a venerable elder of a holy land. How could he possibly let such a chance slip away? To become a disciple of the elder, one would at least be regarded as a figure no one dares to provoke within the entire Dao domain. An elder accepting him as a disciple? Such fortuitous circumstances were almost too good to be true. Thus, after his agreement, the subsequent 3 days and nights unfolded. However, once those 3 days and nights had passed, his esteemed master reverted to her former demeanor, embodying an extraordinarily aloof and formidable presence, one that evoked a sense of untouchable taboo merely through her gaze. Reclining upon the frigid white jade platform, Chu Xuan fell into a deep slumber. It was not until half a day later that he reluctantly awakened, roused by a cacophony echoing in his mind. Ding! The host has successfully joined the sect. Prerequisites met. Activating the word entry system. Binding successful. What the hell? Who is that raucous voice interrupting my early morning slumber? The system's voice was quite intrusive, resonating deep within his soul, making it impossible to ignore even amidst dreams. After a brief moment, Chu Xuan finally comprehended the situation. This noisy entity appeared to be the system. Has it been activated? Could it be that I've been waiting for 3 to 4 days, and only now do I receive its presence? Listen here. Your level of enthusiasm for work is quite lacking. I must issue a serious critique. Chu Xuan's tone was laced with a hint of melancholy as he began to reprimand the system. Had it arrived sooner, he would not have initially failed to breach his master's defenses. if not for his master's pity in temporarily bestowing upon him the cultivation of a great sage. Would he not have been haunted by shadows of women for a lifetime? Oh, the burdens of my fate are so heavy. In Chu Xuan's mind, the freshly awakened system was momentarily bewildered by his shameless demeanor. Wait a minute, my friend. Do you truly consider the system to be a mere modifier? However, the system remained true to its nature, devoid of any extraneous functions or emotional modules, and thus could not comment on Chu Xuan's shameless antics. All it could do was remain silent, patiently awaiting the host's summons. Finally, after what felt like an eternity of shameless lamentations, Chu Xuan came to this realization, promptly concealing his pitiful facade. System, what capabilities do you possess? Chu Xuan silently pondered. Ding. This system is known as the entry system, which allows the host to load attributes from others. Upon hearing the introduction of the system, Chu Xuan felt a surge of interest. Oh, what are attributes? Every individual possesses their own unique attributes, which represent their talents, potential, and fate. With the assistance of the system, the host can now freely view the attributes of everyone within their sight. Moreover, the primary function of this system is to replicate the attributes of others and transfer them to the host. The moment Chu Xuan heard about this function, his spirit became exhilarated. How remarkable! Is this the golden finger of a transmigrator? It is indeed simple, direct, and efficient. However, the system's ability to view one's own attributes captivated Chu Xuan's attention. After all, he was quite curious about the nature of his own beginning in this world. With a heart full of excitement and trembling hands, Chu Xuan opened his panel. Host: Chu Xuan, age, 20, cultivation, none, attributes, wanderer from afar, unique, imperial bearing, golden. Extraordinary comprehension, unique, unparalleled charisma, unique. At the sight of the panel, even though Chu Xuan had prepared himself mentally, he was still taken aback. Goodness! With an imperial bearing and extraordinary comprehension, could this be considered an extraordinarily fortunate beginning? Additionally, with such unparalleled charisma, it was no wonder his master had put him through 3 days and nights of trials upon bringing him back. Chapter 2. The fortuitous beginning of extraordinary comprehension and the master's attributes. Gazing at the system panel, Chu Xuan curiously clicked on the detailed descriptions of the attributes. Extraordinary comprehension, unique, a top-tier attribute. You possess an astonishingly unparalleled comprehension ability, enabling you to understand and grasp various cultivation techniques and the laws of the universe at an extraordinary speed. Whether it be complex and obscure divine techniques or profound and mysterious truths, you can swiftly perceive their essence and uncover the key elements. Unparalleled charisma, unique, a top-tier attribute. Your charm shines like brilliant stars, dazzling and irresistible. Wherever you go, you draw the attention of others, becoming the center of focus. Your charisma can influence the emotions and actions of those around you, making them willing to devote themselves to you and serve you. Wanderer from afar, unique, a top-tier attribute. You are a stranger from a distant time and space, having traversed endless epochs to arrive here. Consequently, your causality and memories are sealed, rendering you impervious to scrutiny. Imperial bearing, golden, you possess the potential to attain the status of an emperor with a cultivation speed, life fortune, and youthful vigor akin to that of a great emperor. As long as you do not fall, there is a significant chance you will achieve that greatness. Looking at these attributes, each gleaming with brilliance, Chu Xuan felt a sense of satisfaction. However, he found himself somewhat dissatisfied with the imperial bearing. There was no way around it. These 4 characters instantly reminded him of Wang Tong. However, it is a pity that Chu Xuan was not the villain. With an unparalleled charm, even if he faced adversity, he would never become a solitary figure. With a flick of his mind, Chu Xuan closed the system panel in his mind. Stepping out of his cave dwelling, he approached Lu Wu and commenced today's lessons. This was Lu Wu's first time teaching Chu Xuan, and she enthusiastically began to explain the great emperor scriptures of the Taishan sacred land, completely oblivious to the fact that Chu Xuan was merely a novice in the realm of cultivation. Consequently, after a lengthy discourse, Chu Xuan appeared somewhat distracted throughout. Xiao Xian, what are you gazing at? In the ancient and elegant palace atop Feilai Peak, Lu Wu gently inquired as she observed the dazed Chu Xuan. Her eyes, seemingly able to pierce through the essence of all things, held a glimmer of fervor. It was truly no wonder he had captured her interest. His talent was simply astounding. Despite being of mortal origin, his combat prowess was remarkable. Should he succeed in his cultivation, he would surely ascend to greatness. Once he achieved sainthood, she feared he might not descend to the mortal realm for an entire month. I was not gazing at anything in particular. I simply found my esteemed master to be exceptionally beautiful, Chu Xuan replied, meeting Lu Wu's gaze. A fleeting hint of panic flashing in his eyes before he quickly masked it, adopting the demeanor of one enamored with his beloved. Of course, Your master is an unparalleled beauty, Lu Wu declared with pride, puffing out her chest and stifling a laugh, blooming like a flower. In that moment, the world around them seemed to lose its color. This sudden display of extraordinary beauty, coupled with the vivid memories of the past 3 days and nights, left Chu Xuan utterly entranced. Chu Xuan's infatuation left Lu Wu somewhat exasperated. She gently flicked his brow to pull his attention back before continuing her teachings. As the teachings flowed into his ears, Chu Xuan's eyes became somewhat glazed, his spirit wavering. He was still immersed in the shock of what had just transpired. Moments ago, he had confirmed with the system that viewing his master's attributes would go unnoticed, and he had stealthily opened the system to observe Lu Wu before him. The result was startling. Upon inspection, he was taken aback. Name: Lu Wu. Age: present world, 501 years. Cultivation: peak Saint King. Attributes: fated virtuous teacher, unique, peerless immortal king countenance, red. Master of all laws, red. Peerless immortal king countenance, red. This individual possesses the potential to achieve the status of a peerless immortal king, barring any misfortunes. They are highly likely to become a formidable being at the immortal king level. Fated virtuous teacher, unique. This person exhibits exceptional teaching abilities. Hence entrusted by the heavenly Tao with a significant responsibility, they are destined to be the mentor of various fated individuals. Master of all laws, red. As the mentor of a fated individual, it is only natural that they comprehend all laws. The heavenly Tao bestows upon this individual the clarity of all laws, resulting in an unparalleled efficacy in cultivating any technique. Upon witnessing the panel of his esteemed master, Chu Xuan nearly succumbed to exclamations of astonishment. The mere thought of the existence of an immortal king, though unfamiliar to him, did not diminish the profound shock he experienced. His master was indeed remarkable. Even the most dismal attributes attributed to him were rendered in crimson. Moreover, there were hidden attributes that the system itself could not decipher. How astonishing was his master! Suddenly, Chu Xuan felt as though his own imperial demeanor had waned in comparison. The aura of the unparalleled immortal king sounded far more formidable than his own imperial presence. Furthermore, his master possessed the attribute of omniscience, a tangible boon to combat prowess. Yet, he reassured himself that he would soon acquire a similar status. He could not overlook such enticing attributes. System: load the attributes of immortal king and omniscience. As for the attribute of the fated virtuous master, Chu Xuan held no inclination towards it. He had no desire to bear the burdens of mentoring others. He relished the thought of cultivating alone until the end. Moreover, he recalled that the fated children often encountered tumultuous fates. Becoming their teacher might well invite misfortune upon himself. Ding. Copying in progress. Ding. Successfully copied and loaded attribute. Unparalleled immortal king, red. Ding. Successfully copied and loaded attribute. Omniscience, red. The system operated with remarkable swiftness, completing the loading of Lu Wu's attributes in a mere breath. As the system's notifications echoed, Chu Xuan distinctly felt transformative changes within his being. At that moment, he experienced an overwhelming sense of lightness, as if he had transcended to a higher plane of existence, filled with unparalleled delight. Suddenly, Lu Wu, clad in a flowing robe, emitted a sound of surprise. She observed the sudden shift in his aura, seemingly witnessing something extraordinary. Disciple, what has happened to you? Do not frighten me. I promise not to be so excessive in the future. I shall ensure you have ample rest from now on. Her warm voice brimmed with urgency, tinged with a hint of distress. Lu Wu feared that her recent overzealousness had overwhelmed Chu Xuan. Without further contemplation, she swiftly grasped his arm, examining him closely. After a prolonged moment, her eyes widened in disbelief, sparkling like blooming peach blossoms. Has your aptitude increased? At that moment, Chu Xuan had regained his composure and met Lu Wu's gaze, which was filled with deep affection. Yes, he affirmed without reservation. Upon hearing her disciple's acknowledgement, Lu Wu chose not to press further for details. Even within her heart, she felt it was only natural. After all, Chu Xuan was her disciple. Having a few minor secrets was hardly unusual, was it? Chapter 3. Strength is still insufficient. As Lu Wu sensed the changes within Chu Xuan, her beautiful eyes widened in astonishment. If anyone in the world truly understood Chu Xuan's physique, it would undoubtedly be Lu Wu. During those 3 days and nights of intimate connection, she had come to know every facet of his body intimately. Until today, she had perceived Chu Xuan's talent as merely average. The mere stature of an emperor did not compel her to regard him with heightened esteem. What truly captivated Lu Wu was the person of Chu Xuan himself. Indeed, he was the man she had chosen, capable of such resilience despite being merely mortal flesh. Moreover, with Chu Xuan's enhanced aptitude, it was indeed a cause for celebration for Lu Wu. Her obedient disciple could now accompany her for a longer duration. Did you comprehend that? After a while, Lu Wu gazed at Chu Xuan, feeling a lack of confidence. After all, she had only briefly recounted the Taishan Sutra, the sacred text of the Taishan Holy Land. Furthermore, her devoted disciple still had half his spirit wandering the heavens. It was evident he was not fully engaged in the lesson. If such a casual approach could lead to mastering the emperor's scriptures, then countless prodigies in the world could easily meet their demise against a block of tofu. However, Chu Xuan's response took Lu Wu by surprise. Well, I think I understood. He stated earnestly, appearing sincere. It is my first time teaching, so it is entirely normal for you not to grasp it fully. Just as Lu Wu felt a pang of guilt and was about to apologize, she realized what Chu Xuan had just said. Pardon? What did you say? You truly understood? Lu Wu exclaimed, astonished, as she grasped Chu Xuan's shoulders. In that moment, she leaned closer, their noses practically touching. At that instant, Chu Xuan could feel the warmth of his master's breath. An enticing fragrance filled his nostrils, a blend of youthful bloom and mature elegance. Master, you are breaking the rules. After a moment, Chu Xuan held Lu Wu's gaze, brimming with pride. Master, I did mention that I understood, did I not? Feeling the warmth of his own hands, Lu Wu finally regained her composure. At this moment, her gaze towards her devoted disciple shifted, revealing a hint of incredulity. My goodness, this newly acquired disciple is truly remarkable. This is the Taishan Sutra, one of the most challenging texts among the emperor's scriptures. He has only listened to my explanation once, and he has already mastered it? Moreover, judging by his recently displayed skills, his proficiency seems quite substantial. Indeed, he is worthy of being my exceptional disciple. The principles of yin and yang truly seem to flow through him effortlessly. Observing the triumphant expression on Chu Xuan's face, Lu Wu could not help but jest. One wonders just how many women his obedient disciple has ensnared to acquire such prowess. Lu Wu's words dripped with sarcasm, tinged with a hint of chilling undertone. This remark instantly dampened Chu Xuan's earlier pride. Although he had been reincarnated, his past life was remarkably unblemished after years of diligent study. He had transitioned into a life of servitude, leaving no room for romantic entanglements. Did he even have an ex-girlfriend? In fact, his master was his first woman. The thought made Chu Xuan cast a bashful glance at Lu Wu, who would engage in such tumultuous endeavors with a kind-hearted person upon first meeting. Noticing Chu Xuan's demeanor, Lu Wu, not one to be easily deceived, discerned his inner thoughts with remarkable clarity. Just as Chu Xuan was about to speak, Lu Wu interrupted him. My dear disciple, after practicing your techniques for so long, I am eager to see how your cultivation has progressed. Stepping back, she afforded Chu Xuan ample space. She was curious to see how far he had advanced after their shared experiences. At Lu Wu's prompting, Chu Xuan paused, then nodded and settled into a meditative posture. Silently reciting the incantation, he began to channel the Taishan scripture. Boom! A vast energy surged forth, incessantly enveloping Chu Xuan's body. Simultaneously, an explosive growth of flora surrounded him, quickly engulfing him entirely. Witnessing the extraordinary phenomenon of Chu Xuan's cultivation, Lu Wu gasped in astonishment, her hand instinctively covering her mouth. While she was aware of her disciple's enhanced aptitude, she had not anticipated such a monumental transformation. Previously, Chu Xuan merely possessed the semblance of an emperor, a talent that barely met her expectations. Now, however, Lu Wu felt that his capabilities were nearing her own. The mere thought struck her as ludicrous. Who was she? The most gifted individual in this realm throughout history. Even in the celestial realm, her talent would rank among the highest. Chu Xuan's aptitude had amplified to an astounding degree compared to his previous, unremarkable imperial form. What was even more astonishing awaited her. The dual energies of yin and yang flowed around Chu Xuan, becoming increasingly distinct with the passage of time. How could this be? He had only just begun practicing the Taishan scripture, yet he was on the verge of mastery. Indeed, the solidifying dual energies were a definitive sign of the transformation from minor to major accomplishment in the Taishan scripture. Achieving such a profound level of cultivation in merely half a day was a testament to his terrifying comprehension. It took her a month of relentless effort to reach this achievement. Gazing at the fully solidified dual energies, Lu Wu murmured to herself, her eyes wide with shock, brimming with disbelief. At this moment, Lu Wu was beset by a profound sense of existential doubt. What have I just witnessed? Could it be that the Taishan Sutra I have practiced is a mere illusion? To cause an unparalleled prodigy to question the very essence of life speaks volumes of the extraordinary nature of comprehension. Chu Xuan, feeling the flow of his internal cultivation, continuously pondered the verses of the Taishan Sutra in his mind. There were virtually no obstacles. Every question that had confounded countless prodigies for a lifetime was effortlessly unraveled before him. It was as if he was destined to possess this knowledge. At a mere glance, Chu Xuan could discern the intricate meanings of those obscure scriptures. What had driven so many geniuses to madness in their relentless pursuit became a matter of course for him. This is the power of comprehension, not a brute force of deduction, but a grasp of the essence of the problem, leading to an instantaneous revelation of its key. Chu Xuan could only utter one phrase. Do you understand the profundity of a singular, profound term? After showcasing his accomplishments, Chu Xuan reclined in Lu Wu's embrace. His master was indeed a person of extraordinary talent. Such immense aptitude overshadowed Chu Xuan's vision, akin to a mountain pressing down upon him, obscuring the sun and moon. It was overwhelmingly fierce. However, beneath the towering peaks, a hint of sorrow flickered across Chu Xuan's face. Master, could you not depart? In the tender embrace, Chu Xuan whispered softly. Upon hearing this, Lu Wu's body trembled slightly, as if caught in a moment of tension. Yet, she did not respond to his inquiry. Observing her silence, Chu Xuan refrained from pressing further. His hands had already clenched tightly. He understood that there was but one reason for his master's avoidance of the topic. He was not yet strong enough. Chapter 4. 1 year to Golden Body. Master is about to depart in just a single day. Chu Xuan had cultivated the Taishan Sutra to the 9th level. The Taishan Sutra is comprised of 12 levels, each representing a significant realm prior to the quasi-emperor stage. These include body refinement, meridian opening, spirit gathering, yuan transformation, embryo building, golden body, divine fire, true unity, divine king, sage, great sage, sage king, and quasi-emperor. This outlines the path of cultivation in this realm. Beyond the quasi-emperor stage lies the great emperor. Now, having reached the 9th level of the Taishan Sutra, Chu Xuan signifies that he can enhance his cultivation before attaining the sage level through the practice of the sutra. As one of the foremost scriptures across the 9 heavens and 10 earths, the effects of the 9th level of the Taishan Sutra are exceptional. Within just 1 day, a terrifying aura emanated from Chu Xuan, one capable of annihilating the heavens and earth. All 12 meridians within him were fully connected. Boom! A tremendous sound resonated. And instantly, sand and stones were sent flying around Chu Xuan. The newly sprouted wild grass was severed at the waist, scattering in all directions. Indeed, my diligent disciple has reached the pinnacle of meridian opening on the very first day of his cultivation. Lu Wu marveled, covering her mouth in astonishment at the ethereal presence of Chu Xuan before her. Wherever one looks, it is all due to the excellent teachings of my master. I merely follow the guidance imparted to me. Chu Xuan quickly expressed his modesty while also offering a few compliments to Lu Wu. These kind words instantly brought a radiant smile to Lu Wu's face. Indeed, one must consider the stature of your master. With these words, Lu Wu's captivating gaze returned to Chu Xuan, their eyes locking in a moment of connection. My dear disciple, after such an extensive period of cultivation, it is time for you to assist your master in her own practice, is it not? With a graceful utterance, Lu Wu released an aura that anchored Chu Xuan in place. Though the energy was merely warm to the touch, it ignited the most fervent flames within Chu Xuan's heart. My dear disciple, are you truly so impatient? With a wave of her delicate hand, the world around them shifted, transporting them back to the white jade platform. A year later, atop the flying peak, within a resplendent palace, a figure clad in white sat in serene meditation. His countenance was strikingly handsome, his stature tall and imposing, exuding an ethereal quality that left a lasting impression at first glance. The graceful youth appeared as if he were a celestial being descended from the heavens. Suddenly, the aura emanating from the figure in white erupted into a dazzling brilliance, rendering him both ethereal and transcendent. Each breath he took, each movement he made, seemed to resonate with the very essence of the universe, imbued with both naturalness and sanctity. In that moment, the white-clad youth truly embodied the essence of an immortal, existing apart from the world. Subsequently, the aura of the figure surged dramatically, unleashing a terrifying presence that swept across the heavens and the earth. The spiritual energy within the palace, almost thick enough to condense into mist, was instantaneously depleted by his overwhelming force. Boom! A thunderous sound reverberated from within the man, as if shattering some unseen restraint. With this sound, the atmosphere within the palace grew even more formidable, gradually subsiding after a considerable time. Oh, so this is the Golden Body realm? Truly remarkable. Chu Xuan's long-closed eyes suddenly flew open, revealing countless mysterious runes flickering within, only to vanish moments later. By now, it had been 2 years since Chu Xuan arrived at Flying Peak, marking the 2nd year of his formal cultivation journey. In just a brief span of 1 year, he had ascended to the 6th realm of the cultivation path, the Golden Body realm. This was the final threshold of the extraordinary 6 realms. Should he advance further, Chu Xuan would ascend to the status of a divine-level powerhouse. Ha ha ha, my dear disciple, you have outdone yourself. Achieving the golden body in just a year. If those bothersome old men were to learn of this, they would surely come begging for your return to the world. I am eager to see who would dare to question my discerning eye now. Following this successful breakthrough, a beautiful and statuesque figure suddenly appeared beside Chu Xuan, joyously patting him on the shoulder. Even the exuberant slime, unable to be concealed by her flowing robes, shared in the delight, bouncing in tandem with Lu Wu's movements. Chu Xuan gazed at his uninhibited master, helplessly pressing a hand to his forehead. Master, could you not pay a little attention to your image? In the present day, Chu Xuan has grown indifferent to the fleeting glimpses of springtime radiance that his master inadvertently, or rather incessantly, reveals. After all, the two have engaged in passionate encounters numerous times, and he has developed a certain resilience to her enchanting figure. What's wrong, dear disciple? Are you afraid of being seen by others? Upon hearing Chu Xuan's words, Lu Wu felt a surge of delight, placing her finger upon her lips like a giddy maiden in the throes of infatuation. With that, she leapt onto Chu Xuan, playfully obscuring his face with her ample presence. Dear disciple, your master has completed your training. Now it is your turn to assist me. Lu Wu whispered softly into Chu Xuan's ear, even gently licking his earlobe. Amidst this fragrant and delicate intimacy, Chu Xuan felt a tantalizing itch that struck deep within his heart, igniting a shameful flutter of emotions. Calm yourself, Chu Xuan. You bear the countenance of an unparalleled celestial king. Focus on your cultivation and do not succumb to the distractions of feminine allure. It seemed that Lu Wu noticed his flustered demeanor, a mischievous smile dancing in her eyes. Little disciple, you cannot escape the grasp of your master. This time, let us explore uncharted territories. Consider it a gift from my precious disciple to transcend the golden body realm. The melodious whispers that caressed his ear shattered the last vestiges of Chu Xuan's mental fortitude. It became evident that resistance held no sway in the face of overwhelming temptation. Chu Xuan was thoroughly pleased with the gift bestowed upon him by his master. For how could one possibly be dissatisfied when a stunningly beautiful celestial maiden was so ardently pursuing him? Though he found himself perplexed, as his master had already reached the pinnacle of saintly kingship, rendering the profound teachings of the Tai Xian Sutra's yin-yang harmonization rather inconsequential for her. Not to mention, his own cultivation was far too meager to be of any assistance. Why, then, did his master insist on their mutual progress each day? Such inquiries could never be voiced aloud. After all, how could he continue to cultivate alongside her if he did? Despite her relentless affection, which bordered on excessive, there was undeniable pleasure in their interactions. Moreover, Chu Xuan sensed the genuine affection his master harbored for him. She truly cherished him. However, such fervor from his master left him with an undercurrent of concern. Indeed, after their intimate exchange, Lu Wu regarded Chu Xuan with a contemplative expression, as if she had something to say yet found herself hesitant. Master, what troubles you? Upon witnessing Lu Wu's demeanor, Chu Xuan discerned that she had something important to convey. I must take my leave for a time. Lu Wu gazed at Chu Xuan's extraordinarily handsome visage, her heart heavy with reluctance. Upon hearing her words, Chu Xuan paused momentarily. Yet he did not react with indignation. His voice remained calm. After all, he had anticipated this moment. Indeed, such is the nature of the world. Each person has their own affairs to attend to. From the very instant he beheld his master's profile, he had sensed this inevitability. With so many uncertainties reflected on her countenance, how could his master remain bound to him for a lifetime? May I accompany you? Though he was aware of the outcome, Chu Xuan could not help but voice his inquiry. Upon hearing his question, a hint of amusement danced across Lu Wu's otherwise serene visage, her beautiful eyes curving into crescent moons, seemingly pleased with Chu Xuan's demeanor. Yet, her words cut deep. You are not yet ready. Chapter 5. Sect Instruction and Entry Collector. You are not ready. Lu Wu reflected upon the handsome youth before her, secretly resolving in her heart. That place is far removed, and you are not yet able to reach it. She raised her gaze to the heavens, her eyes ablaze with determination. Little Xuan, you must understand that there are many significant matters in life. Wait for my return, will you? I promise, no more than 500 years. In that fleeting moment, Chu Xuan acknowledged that he felt a crack in his composure. Combining the years of his 2 lifetimes, he had only just reached 21. Now, to be told he must wait 500 years? Was that not a touch excessive? I know. For you, that indeed feels like an eternity. I understand your urgency. However, please do not rush. I am not one to leave you in solitude. During this period, I have sensed something stirring within me. I may soon find a few destined disciples, so prepare yourself. If it troubles you, let them simply register under your name. Lu Wu gently adjusted Chu Xuan's robe. The pristine white garment accentuated his handsome features, momentarily leaving her entranced. The fragrance he exuded enveloped his senses, bringing him an indescribable comfort and ease. I do not mind. Chu Xuan replied earnestly. In fact, the flying peak is quite vacant. Having more people would be beneficial. Very well, await my message. And be sure to warmly welcome your junior sisters. Lu Wu beamed at his response before vanishing from his sight. Wait, is it truly that urgent? Also, master, it seems you have yet to bathe. Do you not fear others discovering this? Yet, gazing upon the empty palace before him, Chu Xuan suddenly felt as though a part of his heart was missing. Master, I will seek you out. His youthful gaze was resolute. At the peak of Longmen in the Tai Xian sacred land, a grand palace stood magnificently atop the mountain, from which the sound of teachings occasionally resonated. That concludes today's discourse. The figure seated upon the meditation cushion smiled, signaling the end of the lesson. Farewell, senior brother Chu Xuan. Over 1,000 disciples bowed in unison, bidding farewell to their seemingly youthful senior. Chu Xuan was accustomed to this by now. Throughout the month, each lecture had unfolded in the same manner. As he turned to depart, uncontainable joy gleamed in his eyes. His purpose in coming to teach was not merely to exemplify a mentor, but rather to replicate the entries of ordinary disciples within the Tai Xian sacred land. Though the Tai Xian domain housed trillions of citizens, the sacred land itself boasted only a few 100,000. 99% of the disciples are mere menial laborers. It is evident that those who gain admission to the outer sect are not ordinary individuals. This is indeed the case, as exemplified by the male disciple currently under Chu Xuan's gaze, whose credentials are rather impressive. Name, Ji Boda. Age, 88. Cultivation, 5th level of meridian opening. Attributes, divine presence, blue. Extraordinary fortune, blue. Unfortunate romantic entanglements, green. The first two attributes are quite standard. Yet the mention of unfortunate romantic entanglements leaves Chu Xuan somewhat perplexed. His curiosity piqued. He clicks to explore further. Unfortunate romantic entanglements. Green. This individual possesses good romantic prospects. Yet their partners are lacking. They are, in a physical sense, unfortunate. Indeed, the man bearing the name Ji Boda possesses a certain peculiarity. However, recalling the myriad of videos he had watched on a short video platform prior to his transmigration, Chu Xuan couldn't help but feel a tinge of sympathy for him. After all, this name frequently accompanies another highly renowned name. Before Chu Xuan could ponder further, a striking woman appeared beside Ji Boda. Boda, you've finally finished your class. Upon seeing her enchanting visage, Ji Boda's face brightened with joy, a hint of bashfulness evident in his words. Rian, you've come. Despite his restraint, the genuine delight radiating from him was unmistakable. Intrigued, Chu Xuan glanced at the woman's panel. Name, Lu Rian. Age, 85. Cultivation, 2nd level of meridian opening. Attributes, divine presence, blue. Unclear perception of people, white. The moment he read this, Chu Xuan comprehended the inevitable outcome for the two. It appeared that these names were indeed destined to intertwine. What a fateful connection. With a wry smile, Chu Xuan chose to shift his attention away from the pair. While divine presence may hold some merit in other sects, within the sacred land of Tai Xian, it merely signifies an ordinary individual. Amongst the 100,000 disciples, at least 20,000 possess such talents. However, this does not imply that the sacred land boasts 2,000 divine-level powerhouses. After all, talent merely reflects an individual's potential. Ultimate achievement is contingent upon various factors. Gazing at his own panel, Chu Xuan felt a deep sense of satisfaction. Over the past few months of instruction, he had successfully replicated over 1,000 blue attributes. Throughout this process, he discovered that the attribute system has the capacity to merge similar attributes. For instance, divine presence and emperor's presence, both categorized as potential-related attributes, have been replicated by him. Consequently, only emperor's presence remained on his panel, as the replicated divine presence seamlessly integrated into it. However, the rate of attribute fusion and upgrade is notably slow and demands high standards. 1 million white entries are required to synthesize a more advanced blue entry. 10,000 green entries can be combined to create a single blue entry. 1,000 blue entries can be amalgamated into one purple entry. 100 purple entries can forge a golden entry. The conditions for synthesizing red entries remain unknown. As for whether there are higher-tier entries beyond red, Chu Xuan is presently unaware. After all, the highest tier he has encountered is the esteemed red talent of his master. How astonishing it is that a staggering 1 million white entries are needed to produce a somewhat useful green entry. The moment Chu Xuan discerned this pattern, he was momentarily taken aback. However, after a brief contemplation, he came to understand the rationale behind this ratio. Indeed, this is an exceedingly vast fantastical world. And within a single Tai Xian domain, there stretches billions of miles, inhabited by countless beings. If the ratio were lower, One could easily find a great emperor in any large city, which would be rather implausible. With this thought, Chu Xuan felt fortunate to have begun his journey with the stature of an emperor. If he had to rely solely on replicating entries, it would take an eternity to accumulate enough. His master had told him that the primary reason for accepting him as a disciple was his striking appearance. The moment she laid eyes on him, she was profoundly captivated by his visage. Although Chu Xuan suspected that matters were not so simple, he refrained from further inquiries under the weight of his master's affectionate gaze. Ding. Entry loading successful. Detected existing entries of the same type. Merging in progress. Merge successful. Host, Chu Xuan. Age, 21. Cultivation, golden body 6th level. Entries, traveler from afar, unique. Heavenly insight, unique. Charisma beyond compare, unique. Peerless immortal king, red gold 8 purple. All-encompassing knowledge, red. Sensing the subtle changes within his body, Chu Xuan nodded in satisfaction. Chapter 6. The Grand Ceremony of Entry. The reborn empress with an inherent system. Observing the changes on his panel, Chu Xuan could feel the corresponding transformations within himself. Though slight, he sensed a modest enhancement in his talents. It was worth seeking this opportunity to learn from his master. This chance was requested from his master, who, although claiming to be departing, had not yet left this world. She merely ventured to various places. She stated that this was to help Chu Xuan acclimatize to the separation. In truth, it was also to aid Lu Wu in adjusting to the distance. Nevertheless, remaining in the same world allowed for continued communication. As the most formidable legendary ancestor of the Taishan sacred land, Lu Wu naturally held significant influence. Upon speaking, the current Taishan sovereign swiftly made a decisive ruling on the matter, apprehensive of inciting trouble with this esteemed ancestor. As for Chu Xuan's teaching abilities being inadequate, it merely indicates that the disciples attending his lectures lack sufficient comprehension. How could a disciple of the esteemed elder Lu Wu possibly be ineffective in conveying knowledge? Furthermore, the higher-ups within the sacred land are well aware that the lectures offered to the miscellaneous and outer disciples are predominantly conducted by instructors of rather mediocre caliber. Most of them are merely idle individuals fulfilling their obligations. Each year, numerous disciples enter the sacred land, and many also depart. The contributions required for inner disciples are quite stringent. If one fails to meet the standards for 5 consecutive years, they must leave the Taichu sacred land. By teaching here for a cumulative year, one can effortlessly satisfy the contribution requirements of an inner disciple. Thus, the position of an outer door instructor is largely occupied by inner disciples who are reluctant to take risks. Moreover, the sacred land has never harbored the expectation that this lecture hall would cultivate formidable talents. It merely serves as a means to placate the weaker individuals. If one possesses true skill and talent, they need not attend lectures, but can directly enter the outer sect. Returning to Feilai Peak, Chu Xuan reclined leisurely in his chair. His progress was remarkable, having broken through 6 realms in just 1 month. It has been a month since his master departed, and Chu Xuan has dedicated himself to solitary cultivation. Without his master's incessant supervision, his rate of advancement accelerated significantly. In the brief span of a month, Chu Xuan has reached the 6th level of the Golden Body Realm. Should outsiders become aware of this, they might rush to capture him for dissection. As the fastest recorded advancement in the cultivation world for the Golden Body Realm is merely a small realm in 10 days. In contrast, each breakthrough for Chu Xuan has taken only 5 days. His accomplishments have more than doubled the previous records. Next, he shall earnestly contemplate the Taishan sword technique. Ding. The sound of the Taishan enlightenment bell resonated through the depths of the Taishan sacred land, instantly reaching the ears of every disciple. In that fleeting moment, all understood the significance of this event. Time indeed flies swiftly. How has it come to the season for recruiting new disciples once more? The last initiation ceremony feels as recent as yesterday, yet here we are again. Not to mention, among the last cohort of disciples, there were several charming junior sisters. I wonder what this new batch will bring. Within the inner and outer sects, countless disciples began to engage in animated discussions. Some lamented the passage of time, while others eagerly anticipated the arrival of fresh faces yet to be encountered. This is a natural phenomenon. The path of cultivation is exceedingly lengthy. Once one steps into the embryonic realm, seclusion for several months is commonplace, and for some, it may truly feel as though the last grand opening was merely yesterday. In this solitary journey, having an aesthetically pleasing junior sister is indeed a delightful occurrence. Even if one cannot partake, it is always pleasant to behold. As the saying goes, gazing at beauties brings me immense joy. Beneath the mountain gate, a young girl clad in black approached, her expression devoid of emotion. She surveyed the scene before her, and a barely perceptible trace of nostalgia flickered across her icy visage, as if she were revisiting a cherished locale. Indeed, she had returned to a familiar place. It was evident that she had truly come back. Truly, this sect, the most prosperous in all the realms, emanated an extraordinary atmosphere. Yet, it is lamentable that, in a few hundred years, following the departure of my master, this facade of prosperity shall crumble to dust. Shen Ningbing gazed at the familiar mountain gate, her heart swelling with quiet reflection. However, since I have returned, such a fate shall not befall us again. In this lifetime, I shall ascend to the heavens and sweep away all that stands in my way. Once, it was here that she became her master's foremost disciple, awakening her ancient phoenix body under his guidance, ultimately rising to be a sovereign among the realms. Yet, after her master's departure 8,000 years hence, she met her demise. It is rather ironic. She could scarcely recall the manner of her death. The only memory that lingered before her end was her entry into a forbidden zone, leading her to believe that her death was intricately linked to that timeless enigma. Nevertheless, the most pressing matter now was to pass her master's trials, diligently cultivate her abilities, and avenge her family. Furthermore, she aspired to safeguard this sacred place after her master's departure. Contemplating this, a tempest of anguish and fury filled her beautiful eyes. Her rebirth occurred at a most inopportune moment, as she returned to a time when her parents had met a tragic fate, and her family had been slaughtered en masse. To be precise, she was reborn on the 7th day following her parents' death, having been granted a second chance at life. Shen Ningbing was acutely aware of the identity of those responsible for her family's downfall. Yet, their strength was formidable, far beyond her current reach. The Liu family and the Fan family. I shall not let you escape my wrath. After silently vowing this, Shen Ningbing resolutely stepped through the gates of the Taishan Holy Land. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully entering the sect. The system has been activated. As she took her first step, Shen Ningbing was momentarily stunned. Almost instantly, a tempestuous wave surged within her consciousness, stirring every fiber of her soul as it sought the source of the voice. As a former unparalleled powerhouse, Shen Ningbing placed immense importance upon her own spirit. The sudden emergence of this peculiar voice from the depths of her soul filled her with caution. Could it be a remnant of the means employed by her enemies from her past life? However, after meticulously examining herself, she found no anomalies. It seemed her spirit remained unscathed. Yet, the voice she had just heard could not be an illusion. What on earth was happening? Seemingly aware of Shen Ningbing's doubts, the peculiar voice within her mind resurfaced, accompanied by a luminous screen. The screen clearly displayed Shen Ningbing's current status, along with a message. This system is the unparalleled genius system. Should the host complete the system's challenges, a chance to ascend to immortality shall be granted. A cold voice resonated within her mind, devoid of any emotion. Yet, upon hearing these words, Shen Ningbing found her breath quickening. What mysterious entity could possibly offer the prospect of attaining immortality? This term, after all, is but a whisper in legends and ancient texts. It signifies the ultimate destination on the path of cultivation across the heavens and the earth, the very thing Shen Ningbing had tirelessly pursued in her previous life. To think that, at the dawn of this new existence, she had already glimpsed a path forward. Chapter 7 Shen Ningbing, Ranking? Isn't being at the top merely a matter of grasping control? Before Shen Ningbing could voice further inquiries, the system seemed to anticipate her thoughts, continuing to speak. This system will survey pure cultivators within a designated range and will rank them monthly according to their strength. Once the rankings are published, the system will bestow rewards based on the host's position. Current statistical area, Taishan Sacred Land. After an extensive explanation from the system, Shen Ningbing finally comprehended its purpose. In essence, it was a genius leaderboard visible solely to her, with monthly rewards dispensed according to her ranking. In my previous life, I was an empress of unmatched prowess, one of the brightest talents in the annals of history across the heavens and the earth. A mere leaderboard? How trivial. Shen Ningbing's heart brimmed with anticipation. Possessing extraordinary innate talent, and now armed with the vivid memories of her past life, her return to the path of cultivation would render her even more formidable than before. If the system's claims held true, her ascent to the pinnacle should be significantly expedited. Master, I must discover where you have ventured. Prompt. Does the host wish to activate the reward and punishment mechanism? Upon activation, the rewards earned after each ranking will be doubled. However, if the host does not secure the top position, a penalty must be fulfilled towards the top contender. Note, once activated, it cannot be altered. The latter part of the text was notably enlarged, with the words rendered in a ghastly crimson hue. Nonetheless, these warnings did not sway Shen Ningbing in the slightest. In her previous life, she had been the second youngest Saint King in the history of Taishan Sacred Land, the second youngest emperor of unparalleled might, consistently far ahead of all contemporaneous geniuses. How could she possibly fail to be first? she would forever claim the top position. Penalties were simply non-existent. Xin Ningbing was filled with unwavering confidence. Activate. Thus, without a moment's hesitation, Xin Ningbing chose to activate the reward and punishment mechanism. After making her choice, Xin Ningbing began to close her eyes, seeking tranquility and rejuvenation, adjusting her state of mind. After all, she was soon to participate in the grand ceremony of discipleship, returning to the side of her enigmatic master. Like a wayward child returning home after a long absence, Xin Ningbing yearned to present herself with a semblance of dignity. Once she entered the mountains, the grand initiation ceremony commenced without delay. In the expansive square, countless young individuals stood proudly. Many affluent young gentlemen, surrounded by admirers, wore expressions of self-satisfaction, as if they were on the brink of showcasing their extraordinary talents and ascending to greatness. In the distance, numerous outer disciples gazed at this scene, reflecting on the beauty of youth. As they contemplated whether they would retain such confidence upon entering the outer sect, a heavy silence fell over them. They too had once harbored similar hopes for their futures. Yet, their past dreams had been irrevocably crushed upon stepping into the outer sanctum of the Taishan Holy Land. The ceremony itself was rather straightforward, merely requiring a brief assessment of one's innate talent. Only those who passed this evaluation were deemed worthy to enter the Taishan Holy Land as servant disciples. Moreover, those with exceptional gifts had the opportunity to be invited by elders and higher-ups, potentially becoming disciples of the outer or even inner sections. Wu Fan, white, unqualified. Li Qingfeng, green, qualified. The assessment proceeded swiftly. All one had to do was place a handprint on a stone. Upon doing so, the stone would emit various colors of light, each hue representing a different level of talent. White indicated the lowest tier, green was slightly better, while blue signified a candidate for the outer sect. Following these were purple and gold. Though those possessing such talents typically did not need to attend the initiation ceremony, extraordinary signs often accompanied their birth, leading to preemptive reservations by major sects long before their teenage years. Due to her late arrival, Xin Ningbing found herself waiting in line for an extended period to test her aptitude. However, as the saying goes, gold will shine regardless of the circumstances. After half a day, she finally stood before the stone meant for measuring talent. Yet, before she could place her hand upon it, a commotion erupted among the outer disciples in the distance. "Who is that? How can such a striking figure exist within the Holy Land?" exclaimed one awestruck disciple. "This senior brother is extraordinarily handsome. How is it that someone of such beauty can walk among us? I cannot help but fall in love with him. I must bear his children." Another chimed in, only to be interrupted. "Calm down. You're a man. You cannot give birth. Leave that task to me. My body is strong. I can bear 8 at once." The aura of this senior brother is far too noble. Could he possibly be a scion sent from an imperial clan? A throng of bored disciples from the Holy Land gazed at the figure in the sky, each one expressing profound admiration. Even the temporary enforcers from various sects, tasked with maintaining order, found it difficult to calm their tumultuous thoughts at that moment. Although they had long heard tales of the unparalleled beauty that had graced Feilai Peak, the rumors paled in comparison to the shock of witnessing it firsthand. Upon first laying eyes on Chu Xuan, the enforcers instantly understood Lu Wu's motive for taking on an apprentice. Such a stunningly exquisite visage would surely leave no woman unenchanted. The esteemed ancestor had merely succumbed to a mistake that any woman might commit. "Welcome, true disciple Chu." The collective of enforcers bowed deeply, their hands clasped in respectful greeting. Their words resonated with profound reverence. Simultaneously, the elder responsible for the initiation ceremony nodded slightly in acknowledgement from the clouds above. Upon hearing the enforcer's proclamation, the outer disciples erupted in astonishment. "What? Brother Chu is actually a true disciple. No wonder his demeanor is so exceptional. Merely being in his presence renders me utterly self-conscious. Nay, I too have encountered a few true disciples, yet their air cannot compare to Brother Chu. Have you not noticed? Brother Chu bears an uncanny resemblance to that new instructor. Are you blind? That instructor is none other than true disciple Chu." After a brief uproar, someone finally realized that Chu Xuan had previously served as a lecturer in the sacred land. "Ha ha! What merit do I possess to attend the lessons of a true disciple? Where does true disciple Chu teach? I must go listen." Upon learning of Chu Xuan's classes, countless female disciples began to inquire eagerly, wishing to attend and bask in the glow of his teachings. Their motives were simple, pure infatuation, feeling the multitude of fervent gazes upon him. Even after being thoroughly exhausted by his master for an entire year, Chu Xuan still felt a twinge of trepidation. Was this truly a sacred land, or merely a haven for infatuated admirers? Had it not been for the precious treasures his master had left behind to conceal his striking appearance and bearing, he might have been torn to shreds by the female disciples today. Chu Xuan paid no heed to the heated stares and instead returned a courteous bow to the enforcers before finding a spot to sit quietly and observe the initiation ceremony. In his mind, the voice of his master echoed, "Little Xian Xian, your junior sister is about to arrive. Remember to greet her." Chapter 8. The Frustrating System Entry. Junior sister's entrance hindered. This is a carefully chosen junior sister for you, and if your patience wears thin, it is not out of the question. Fear not. I am not a petty woman. I possess enough magnanimity. Listening to his master's somewhat flirtatious transmission, Chu Xuan felt a flush of embarrassment. Noticing his silence, Lu Wu's teasing escalated. "Or perhaps, my dear disciple, you wish for your master and junior sister to join you in this endeavor?" Although he had heard such a tone from his master before, it was nowhere near as enticing as this instance. Moreover, this was uttered in a public setting, intensifying the allure. Fortunately, the transmission jade pendant bestowed upon him by his master was one-directional, ensuring that others could not overhear. Furthermore, with his current singular focus on the Tao, such trivial temptations could no longer stir the waters of his heart. Otherwise, he would have truly faced social demise. Nevertheless, when his master proposed this suggestion, his mind inexplicably conjured an image of that scenario. One master was already enough to cause a headache. If another were to appear, would he not be utterly overwhelmed? Did they really consider him an indestructible titan? Besides, he had yet to truly know this junior sister. How could he entertain such thoughts? Clearing away the tumultuous thoughts in his mind and examining the visage his master had sent, Chu Xuan gained some understanding of his junior sister. With just a glance, he spotted the dark-clad maiden amidst the crowd, poised to begin her test. Even though he was accustomed to the indescribable beauty of his master, he was momentarily taken aback by Shen Ningbing in the distance. His master's discerning eye was indeed commendable. She was a true beauty. And it seemed that Falai Peak was about to welcome another celestial being. The young girl stood quietly within the ranks, her ink-black hair cascading naturally, shimmering with a captivating brilliance under the sun's rays. Despite her stunning visage, there was not a soul within 3 zhang of her. Clearly, everyone was paralyzed by the suffocating chill that emanated from her, daring not to approach. Witnessing this scene, Chu Xuan immediately scrutinized the girl's profile. Name, Shen Ningbing. Age, 18. Cultivation, 3rd level of meridian opening. Attributes, Emperor's bearing gold. Overwhelming in era, gold. Phoenix Heaven's bloodline, gold. Phoenix Heaven's bloodline. This individual possesses the sacred phoenix body of the Taiyin, a prodigy of unparalleled talent with an incredibly formidable physique. Once fully activated, her cultivation speed could soar to unprecedented heights, making her the epitome of a sacred body. However, this physique requires substantial resources to unlock the Taiyin's absolute veins. Until then, her cultivation in the meridian opening realm is exceedingly slow, unable to break through to the gathering spirit stage and beyond. And she must regularly endure the ravages of extreme cold. Overwhelming in era, this individual carries the celestial ranking system and is a reincarnation of the Empress. Barring any unforeseen circumstances, in this life, she is destined to overshadow the prodigies of her era, becoming the sole ascender of this age. Indeed, it was apparent that she was a disciple favored by fate, and the sight of these 3 golden attributes left Chu Xuan somewhat dazed. This was only the 2nd time he had encountered golden attributes in several years. The fact that she was a reincarnation of the Empress indicated that his junior sister was undoubtedly a child of destiny. Chu Xuan silently marveled. System. What use will this overwhelming and era attribute have once I replicate it? Chu Xuan pondered within himself. May I directly replicate my junior sister's system? Or will I be bestowed with an additional lifetime of memories? In the next moment, a cold, mechanical voice resonated deep within Chu Xuan's consciousness. Ding. Not permitted. Although this system is far more advanced than that dilapidated one, there is no necessity. Upon copying this entry, the host will only acquire a fragment of invincibility. Invincibility, a testament to conquering the path of invincibility, capable of aiding the host in becoming a true immortal. Upon reading this prompt, Chu Xuan suddenly felt that this golden entry was somewhat superfluous. As one who already possessed the form of an unparalleled celestial king, did he truly require this fragment of invincibility? Nevertheless, it was better than having nothing. After all, there were no side effects, so he decided to copy it nonetheless. Subsequently, upon noticing the side effects associated with this physique entry, Chu Xuan felt a flicker of curiosity. System. I see in the introduction of this entry that it pertains to the effects of the sacred phoenix of the dark moon physique. Will it also be beneficial once I replicate it? This had been a persistent curiosity of Chu Xuan's. He had perused numerous fantastical tales before his transmigration. Thus, he was acutely aware that while many unique physiques possessed immense power, they also came with rather troublesome side effects. If the side effects were replicated alongside the entry, Would it not be a case of losing more than gaining? For instance, if he were to unwittingly transform into a beautiful maiden due to copying a peculiar physique. That would be quite the predicament. During this time, Chu Xuan had encountered various special physique entries, but the associated side effects were considerable, which was why he had chosen to forego them. Indeed, and due to the nature of this system, the host will only receive the positive effects of this physique while being immune to its negative effects. The last time Chu Xuan found the system's voice so melodious was when he first discovered it. Since the system had spoken, he hesitated no longer. System. Initiate the entry loading. Ding. Copying entry. Overwhelming the ages. Gold. Imperial form. Gold. Phoenix bloodline. Gold. Copy successful. Loading. Loading complete. Similar entries have been integrated. Ding. Invincibility has been granted. Realm insufficient for viewing. Host. Chu Xuan. Age. 20. Cultivation. Golden body 6th stage. Entries. Outsider. Unique. Heavenly comprehension. Unique. Heavenly charisma. Unique. Unparalleled celestial king form. Red. 3 gold 8 purple. All laws transparent. Red. Phoenix bloodline. Gold. The overwhelming the ages entry was directly integrated into his cultivation talents, and the invincibility was promptly bestowed. Feeling the enhancement of his cultivation talents, Chu Xuan nodded in satisfaction. Furthermore, he could distinctly sense a marked increase in his physical strength. Previously, his physical prowess had ranked among the best within his realm. However, now, Chu Xuan felt as though his physical strength had doubled, placing him far ahead of his peers. He chuckled to himself, thinking, with a single punch, even those ancient beings who had ignited their divine flames might not withstand my might. Chu Xuan felt an undeniable sense of pride within. To grow stronger was exhilarating. However, this feeling of elation was soon shattered. In the plaza of the mountain gate, a girl in a black dress was preparing to embark on her journey to test her innate abilities. Just then, an incongruous voice echoed from the grand hall. Wait, this esteemed steward must take heed. This woman lacks the qualifications to enter our mountain gate. The elegantly dressed Fan Ringu hurried forward, raising his voice. After declaring this, he approached the disciple responsible for the testing and discreetly flashed a pouch in his hand. Esteemed steward, this wretched girl is a descendant of the demon sect, the daughter of the Shin family, who was recently exterminated. According to the agreement of the Righteous Alliance, she is forbidden from entering the Tai Xian sacred land. Fan Ringu was the young master of the Fan family, one of the conspirators behind the Shun family's demise. The disciple overseeing the testing, feeling the weight of the pouch in his hand, was momentarily tempted. Furthermore, upon witnessing Shun Ningbing's beauty, he found himself conjuring other thoughts. After all, she was merely a woman without support. If she were barred from entering the sacred mountain, would that not benefit him? Observing the expression on the steward's face, Shun Ningbing's heart brimmed with murderous intent. With the memories of her past life, how could she not discern his intentions? To dare harbor such thoughts towards her? A death wish. The icy demeanor of her countenance seemed capable of freezing time itself. Chapter 9. What? The legendary ancestor has taken a new disciple? Although Shun Ningbing had previously experienced this incident in her past life, she was still consumed with rage at this moment. Indeed, when faced with the joint aggression of the two, she felt an overwhelming desire to strike them down on the spot. Yet, she refrained from acting rashly. For now, she was merely at the 3rd level of meridian opening, while she stood out among the candidates for apprenticeship. She was still significantly inferior to the disciples of the sacred land present. Within the sacred land, even the most ordinary outer disciples were at the meridian opening stage, far surpassing her in strength. Not to mention, the steward before her was at least an inner disciple. With the reminders from her past life, Shun Ningbing was well aware that the stewards at the initiation ceremony were all disciples of the sacred land. Only the one overseeing the overall coordination was an elder, and merely an outer elder at that. However, if she did not take action, how could she resolve this predicament today? Furthermore, in her past life, her master would come forth to speak on her behalf at this juncture. Why had he not appeared this time? Had something transpired in this lifetime that caused her master to miss this year's initiation ceremony? Just as Shun Ningbing was lost in thought, a figure descended from the heavens, standing gracefully in midair before the gathered crowd. The moment this person appeared, he captured everyone's attention. Who is this? How is he so handsome? Am I dreaming? How can there be such a striking man in this world? Dear senior, do you require a concubine? I am quite adept at it. Such a noble and handsome senior. It truly is a pity for that girl. Yu Yue. Who is Yu Yue? I have never heard of her. It is I indeed. The moment Chu Xuan appeared, an endless wave of admiration and cheers erupted. Countless women, in a frenzy, showcased themselves before Chu Xuan. Some even deliberately drew aside their garments just below the collarbone, allowing Chu Xuan to catch a glimpse of the magnificent scenery within. These individuals merely found themselves in the wrong place. Had it been before their time travel, they would undoubtedly have been adept at capturing attention. It must be noted that most of the women who came to the sacred place to seek a master hailed from influential families and were never lacking in nourishment. At that moment, Chu Xuan found himself questioning whether he had mistakenly entered a different realm. Yet, these individuals all had black hair and yellow skin. They did not resemble the typical foreign beauties. Upon seeing Chu Xuan, the plump steward, who had just harbored ulterior motives, momentarily displayed a flicker of malice in his eyes, which quickly vanished. The next instant, he, along with the other disciples, bowed in unison to Chu Xuan, greeting him with respect. We pay our respects to the true disciple. Just previously, Chu Xuan had merely observed from the clouds, and only a few elders had noticed him. Now, these inner disciples naturally had to pay their respects to him. Although Chu Xuan had been reclusive over the past year, at the beginning, Lu Wu had still conducted a formal initiation ceremony for him, making the entire sect aware of his existence. Moreover, during this period, Chu Xuan had frequently made appearances, serving as an instructor in the outer sect, delivering exceptional lectures that garnered him recognition among many inner disciples. Most importantly, Chu Xuan was extraordinarily handsome. Even with the treasures left by his master concealing him, he remained the most striking disciple in the sacred place. While charm is not solely defined by appearance, can one truly possess overwhelming charm without being visually appealing? Even the resolute and emotionally detached Shun Ningbing, who had long since resolved to seal her heart and sever her ties, found herself momentarily entranced upon seeing Chu Xuan. Despite having become one of the mightiest individuals in the realms of 9 heavens and 10 earths in her previous life, she had never encountered such a stunning man. How captivating! The instant Shun Ningbing laid eyes on Chu Xuan, she could not help but let her guard down, her mouth watering uncontrollably. At that moment, Chu Xuan's sweeping gaze landed upon Shun Ningbing's face, inadvertently catching sight of her embarrassing predicament. Shun Ningbing's frosty visage suddenly turned rosy. That heart, which had been so tranquil, devoid of any fluctuations, began to beat joyfully. What is happening? I distinctly remember there was no such person in my previous life. In an instant, Shun Ningbing found herself confounded, for, in her memory, it should have been her icy beauty of a master who made an appearance at this moment. It must be mentioned that Shun Ningbing's cold demeanor was partly attributed to her master's influence. Nevertheless, he is truly handsome. Without further ado, the visage and demeanor before me are simply exquisite. Were I truly an 18-year-old maiden, I fear I would be utterly captivated by him. With this thought, Shun Ningbing let out a sigh within her heart. Alas, she was no longer the person she once was, her gaze now solely fixated on the grand path ahead. Chu Xuan, what is your intention? After a moment of silence, a somewhat seasoned steward below ventured to inquire. He spoke with utmost caution, lest he offend the esteemed Chu Xuan, who stood before him. After all, Chu Xuan was a true disciple of the sect. In the hierarchically structured sacred grounds, only the direct disciples of the Grand Elder, the Ancestor, and the sect master could be deemed true disciples. Other elders' disciples would at most attain the status of core disciples. This implies that each true disciple is invariably supported by at least one Grand Elder. It is well known that the Grand Elders of the Taishan sacred ground are formidable figures, each at least a sage. The disciples of such eminent personages are beyond the reach of mere inner disciples lacking connections. This disciple perceived the situation clearly. Since Chu Xuan had made an appearance, there was undoubtedly a matter at hand, and he need only provide assistance. Should this esteemed true disciple be pleased, it would foster a benevolent connection, ensuring his future endeavors within the sect would flourish. This sentiment was not held solely by the inner disciple, but was also shared by several middle-aged men who had gathered around Chu Xuan. Upon closer inspection, they were indeed the inner elders responsible for this initiation ceremony. Indeed, Chu Xuan, please feel free to disclose your needs. Witnessing the once exalted inner elders now adopting such a humble and somewhat sycophantic demeanor caused those present to feel a shiver run down their spines. It is important to note that these inner elders possessed unfathomable cultivation, the least among them being at the true One realm, their every movement emanating powerful Dao rhythms. Even such figures could only bow respectfully before Chu Xuan. Is this the true worth of a disciple in the sacred grounds? Upon hearing the inquiries of the crowd, Chu Xuan smiled gently and replied, Esteemed elders, your efforts are greatly appreciated. I have come at the behest of my master to retrieve my newly admitted junior sister. Chu Xuan's words flowed softly, yet resonated clearly in the ears of all, akin to a refreshing spring breeze. Junior sister? Has that legendary ancestor taken on yet another disciple? Upon hearing Chu Xuan's words, the elders and stewards' eyelids flickered, gasping in astonishment. Equally astonished were the aspiring youths in the audience, their hearts racing with excitement as they yearned to discover who was fortunate enough to be bestowed such an extraordinary blessing. Who could it possibly be? driven by curiosity. Countless individuals scanned the surroundings, eager to identify the fortunate one. However, they observed as Chu Xuan gracefully descended before the testing stone. Chapter 10. Single for thousands of years. Perhaps my mind has been slightly disturbed. In the square, the eyes of thousands of youths sparkled with fervor. This marks the emergence of a true disciple accepting apprentices on behalf of the master, indicating yet another true disciple has appeared. At this moment, every individual harbors an immense desire to be chosen. After all, this is a master whose minimum standard is that of a sage. Under the scrutiny of countless gazes, Chu Xuan approached Shen Ningbing. Could it be that she is the junior sister favored by the ancestor, as mentioned by the true disciple? Observing Chu Xuan's actions, nearly all the elders began to speculate. It seems improbable. This woman is merely pleasing to the eye, yet her cultivation is only at the 3rd level of meridian opening. There are many peers far more formidable than she. Why would the ancestor take an interest in her? Perhaps there lies a significant secret within her? Or is it that Chu Xuan, entranced by her beauty, has taken it upon himself to accept her? Not only the elders, but even the youths undergoing the entrance examination were filled with confusion. Just as curiosity enveloped the crowd, Chu Xuan stood before Shen Ningbing. Dear sister, would you be willing to join my master's sect? Chu Xuan inquired gently, his eyes radiating warmth. Hearing his tender words, Shen Ningbing's heart fluttered uncontrollably. However, she hesitated to agree, for she had come here for her previous master's sake, not for the man before her. Despite her undeniable admiration for him, his noble demeanor, striking appearance, and impeccable etiquette, she prioritized allegiance to her true master above fleeting pleasure. The only master she recognized was the legendary Lu Wu of the Tai Xian Holy Land. Aside from Lu Wu, she did not wish for another master. This conviction resided deep within her, unwavering and resolute. Since she had never met this man in her past life, it seemed unlikely that his master could be Lu Wu. Moreover, Lu Wu was notoriously indifferent to male disciples. There was not even a single male rabbit atop Phalai Peak, so how could he accept a male student? Thank you, senior brother, but, Shen Ningbing began, hesitating. When Chu Xuan interrupted her. Haha, dear sister, please do not refuse just yet. My master has something to convey to you. As he spoke, Chu Xuan tossed a jade token into her hands, a communication token given to him by his master. Listen to what he has to say before making your decision. After a moment of contemplation, Shen Ningbing activated the jade token. Observing her action, countless onlookers displayed expressions of heartbreak. Does this young girl not understand the value of a true disciple from the Holy Land? If I were her, I would have accepted without hesitation. She is so naive. Reject him. That would be splendid. Then I would have a chance. The crowd buzzed with diverse opinions, their gazes filled with envy and resentment, almost overwhelming the girl in the black dress. Yet, for all this, Shen Ningbing remained utterly indifferent, wholly absorbed in the sweet melodies emanating from the jade talisman. Little Ningbing, it has been quite some time. Fear not, I am still your master, but this time, you are no longer the senior sister. This time, I have found you a remarkably handsome senior brother, one who will surely evoke a sense of admiration in you. No need for thanks. It is my duty as your master. Cultivate diligently, for I await your return. Upon hearing that familiar voice, Shen Ningbing froze in place. She instantly recognized the owner of that voice, her master, upon whom she had relied for centuries. The master who was as gentle as a mother and as intimate as a sister. In her previous life, her master had mysteriously vanished over 200 years ago. And since then, Shen Ningbing had practiced alone for millennia, yet she had never uncovered her master's whereabouts. Even though she had become one of the most formidable beings across the realms, it was of no avail. Now, upon this long-awaited reunion and the return of that familiar voice, tears almost welled in her eyes. However, after a fleeting moment of sentiment, what filled her heart was more astonishment. Did her master somehow know that she was a reincarnata? Nevertheless, perhaps this was for the best. In the future, there would be no need for a gradual approach in her attachment to her master. It must be said that, as a solitary ice-cold beauty for thousands of years, Shen Ningbing's thoughts were somewhat unconventional. She harbored feelings for Lu Wu that transcended the bounds of a master-disciple relationship, almost wishing to cling to him perpetually. This was also a significant reason why Lu Wu had been somewhat evasive of her affections throughout his life. Do not misunderstand. I, Lu Wu, am wholeheartedly devoted to my treasured disciple and have no inclinations beyond that. Well then, junior sister, have you made your decision? Chu Xuan inquired, observing the glistening eyes of Shen Ningbing with a warm tone, as if he were already certain that she would not refuse. His address of junior sister was imbued with profound sincerity. Shen Ningbing did not respond immediately. Instead, she continued to digest the information swirling in her mind. After several breaths, she slowly nodded. Yes, Ningbing pays her respects to the senior brother. With that, she respectfully bowed to Chu Xuan before returning the jade talisman to him. Simultaneously, a slight transformation began to grace her nearly frosted visage. As she drew closer to Chu Xuan and sensed the familiar aura radiating from him, Ningbing finally felt at ease. This scent was identical to that of her exquisite master. It could not be a deception. Very well, junior sister, please follow me. Chu Xuan replied with a nod before turning to ascend into the air, intending to lead Ningbing away. However, at that moment, an ill-timed voice rang out from the crowd. Hold on, Chu Xuan. This person cannot enter the Tai Xian sacred ground. She is a descendant of the demonic sect, and her talent is rather mediocre. How could she possibly be related to your master? I suspect she is a spy from the demonic path, here to impersonate your junior sister. Amidst the crowd, a splendidly attired youth emerged, his eyes filled with terror. It was none other than Fan Ringguo, who had just impeded Ningbing. At this moment, Fan Ringguo was drenched in sweat, unaware that the Shun family had been annihilated, and that a wandering, legitimate daughter could possess such fortuity. He could not bear to witness Ningbing ascend to become a true disciple of the sacred land. Otherwise, both he and the Fan family behind him would meet their doom. Moreover, his previous words were a reflection of his innermost thoughts. Ningbing was wholly unworthy of being a true disciple. In an era of prosperity comparable to the Fan family, the strongest among them barely reached the divine fire realm. How could a legitimate daughter be accepted as a disciple under the venerable ancestors of the sacred land? As these words were uttered, the vast square fell into an immediate silence, with all eyes incredulously fixed upon the standing Fan Ringguo. Their gazes resembled that of spectators observing a performing monkey at a circus. Was this individual not of sound mind, daring to question the esteemed junior sister of the sacred land's true disciples? Furthermore, this was no ordinary doubt. He had directly labeled Ningbing as a minion of the demonic path, a declaration that could lead to her demise. Nonetheless, a flicker of anticipation emerged in the eyes of many. What if something were to befall Ningbing, would it not open a pathway to boundless wealth and fortune? Chapter 11. Senior brother, I wish to take matters into my own hands. The mere thought of a position among the true disciples becoming vacant stirred excitement within the crowd. This was indeed a disciple of the true lineage. The master was at least a sage-level true disciple. Most individuals present at the initiation ceremony hailed from humble backgrounds, where the highest cultivation level reached was merely the true One realm. What? You inquire why those from powerful factions did not attend? The answer is simple. They had no need to participate. Families with sages or higher cultivation levels were typically afforded a courtesy by the Tai Xian sacred land, granting 1 or 2 reserved spots each year. The exceptionally talented were personally sought after by a cadre of esteemed elders. Just like Chu Xuan, an obvious prodigy of imperial potential, why would he need to attend the initiation ceremony? However, upon hearing Fan Ringguo's doubts, the stewards and elders of the Tai Xian sacred land retreated several steps, their eyes shimmering with disbelief. Who granted you the audacity to question this esteemed individual? Are you aware of who her master is? That is none other than the most formidable ancestor in the history of the Tai Xian sacred land, a superlative figure who, within a mere 500 years of cultivation, vanquished all challengers across the realm. How dare you insinuate that she could misjudge someone? Do you wish to endanger your life? Chu Xuan, too, was curious about whether this fellow had a sound mind, openly questioning Ningbing's identity. Did he believe that his handsome appearance rendered him a paragon of virtue? If so, he was sorely mistaken. Junior sister, who is this? Chu Xuan refrained from immediate outburst and instead turned to Ningbing, inquiring. Ningbing gazed at the frantically flailing Fan Ringguo in the distance, a flicker of hatred flashing across her eyes. Senior brother, this individual is the youngest son of the head of the Fan family. The Fan family has harbored animosity towards my Shun family for generations, and not long ago, they conspired with outsiders to annihilate my clan. Had it not been for the intervention of a benefactor, my junior sister would have likely met a grim fate in the wilderness. Upon hearing Ningbing's words, the crowd instantly grasped the situation. It was apparent that they were enemies, which explained the fervent emotions on display. If Ningbing were to truly attain the status of a true disciple, the downfall of the Fan family would be imminent. The alleged collusion with the demonic sect? Such claims were mere fabrications, worn out by overuse. Every prominent family has faced false accusations of associating with the demonic sect at some point. With this realization, the gazes directed at Fan Ringguo transformed, filled with mockery, pity, and derision. Yet, the majority remained bewildered. What was the Shin family? Who was the Fan family? Why had they never heard of them? The Taishan Dao domain was vast, spanning billions of miles, with countless cities. Just between the Shun and Fan families, there were likely dozens of branches. 99% of the crowd was oblivious to the existence of these two families. Upon hearing Shen Ningbing's revelation, Chu Xuan understood the unfolding events. So this dim-witted young master bore a grudge against my junior sister? Chu Xuan descended once more, standing before Fan Ringgui. Upon witnessing Chu Xuan's approach, Fan Ringgui and his chief guard tensed up, their bodies coiled with anxiety. An enmity with my junior sister translated to an enmity with me. Chu Xuan spoke deliberately, a hint of murderous intent lacing his words. Moreover, your recent remarks have offended me. At these words, a cold sweat broke out on Fan Ringgui's brow. Chu Xuan, please do not believe her lies. This individual is a spy of the demonic path, and not a single word she speaks is truthful. Fan Ringgui frantically attempted to convince Chu Xuan of his innocence. However, his only response was a curt dismissal. Noise. With a swift motion, Chu Xuan extended his right hand, clenching it fiercely in the air. In an instant, a terrifying pressure from the heavens descended upon the two. It was as if an invisible hand was ruthlessly squeezing down upon them. Witnessing this scene, the chief guard's expression changed dramatically. Not good. Young master, be cautious. He hastily unleashed a barrage of magical artifacts and conjured a yellowish barrier to shield them both. Yet, it proved to be of little consequence. Boom. A series of explosive sounds erupted, as the artifacts flung by the guard detonated instantaneously, transforming into a cloud of dust. In the next moment, the invisible hand of celestial pressure effortlessly shattered the protective shield. No, the chief guard's anguished roar was abruptly silenced. Bang, bang. 3 explosive sounds reverberated as the two figures that had stood their ground mere moments ago vanished completely, along with the rotund individual who had threatened Shen Ningbing. How dare one harbor nefarious intentions during the initiation ceremony? Such folly is the precursor to demise. In the air, 3 clouds of blood mist gradually dissipated. At this moment, no one dared to voice any doubts about Chu Xuan. Let us depart. After eliminating the 3 individuals, Chu Xuan did not linger, swiftly taking Shen Ningbing with him. Before leaving, Shen Ningbing cast a glance at the talent-testing stone, feeling a twinge of disappointment. Why was it that she still had no opportunity to test her own abilities this time? It was only after their figures completely vanished that the onlookers began to react. Wow, is this esteemed Chu really that formidable? A peak golden body realm expert has fallen just like that. Handsome and powerful. I think I will be devoted to him for life. Such talent is truly terrifying. It seems that the Taishan sacred land is about to witness another legend. The tens of thousands of disciples attending the initiation ceremony exclaimed in unison, their astonishment unmistakable in their eyes. For the majority of them, the peak of the golden body realm was a level they could never hope to attain in their lifetimes. The initiation ceremony was, after all, an opportunity granted by the Taishan sacred land to ordinary people, and most of those present hailed from humble backgrounds. In remote areas, a golden body realm expert was already considered a remarkable figure. Yet, even such a pillar of strength could not withstand a single strike from Chu Xuan. How could they not be awed by this? Chu Xuan, however, was largely unaware of their reactions, as he was preoccupied with guiding his junior sister through the necessary procedures. Although joining Feilai Peak did not entail overly complex rituals, there were still numerous steps to follow. After a flurry of activity, half a day had passed. Junior sister, this will be your residence from now on, Chu Xuan remarked as he led Shen Ningbing to a side hall in the evening. This arrangement had been made by their master, and Chu Xuan was merely following through, gazing at the familiar palace before her. Shen Ningbing took a moment to collect herself, softly responding. In her previous life, she had also resided here, and it was unexpected that she would do so once more. Was this mere coincidence, or was it a deliberate act by their master? Shen Ningbing was uncertain, but based on her master's demeanor, she felt it was likely the latter. By the way, junior sister, do you require assistance regarding your family's grievances? Before I depart, I am curious to know. Chu Xuan inquired. If you need help, I could rally some support. Despite his reclusive nature over the past year, as an exceptionally gifted disciple, enlisting a few saints was certainly within his means. Not to mention, their master was the first ancestor of the sacred land, renowned for her fierce reputation. Her standing ensured that no one within the Taishan sacred land would dare to disregard her. However, Shen Ningbing did not acquiesce to this offer. Brother, I wish to handle this myself. This matter was an everlasting pain in Shen Ningbing's heart. In her previous life, she had not had the chance to uncover the truth. But this time, she would not let it slip away. Chapter 12. The forbidden ground of my past turns out to be my brother's palace? To this, Chu Xuan felt no surprise whatsoever. After all, his junior sister is the child of destiny, and such a profound vendetta against their family must be avenged personally. Although Chu Xuan found this mindset perplexing, if it were him, he would have confronted their master on the very second day of his initiation. Nevertheless, Since this was his junior sister's intention, he decided to acquiesce. Rest well. Tomorrow, I shall elucidate the techniques for you, he remarked before turning to depart towards his palace. As she watched Chu Xuan's retreating silhouette, Shen Ningbing was filled with astonishment. Brother, don't go in there, she exclaimed almost in a panic. Rushing forward to grasp his arm, seemingly fearful of his entry. Is there something else you wish to say, junior sister? Chu Xuan questioned, taken aback by her sudden intervention. What was the matter with this newly initiated junior sister, acting so brazenly? Could it be that beneath her seemingly aloof exterior, she was more capable than their master? Just her single action instilled a sense of respect in Chu Xuan for her. After all, the shadow left by their master loomed large in his mind. What kind of icy beauty would directly confront a newly initiated disciple? Furthermore, that first confrontation had lasted a grueling 3 days and nights, enough to befuddle even the Buddha himself. While Chu Xuan had found some enjoyment in it, he certainly did not wish to relive such an experience. Brother, this place is off limits, Shen Ningbing stated earnestly, oblivious to the change in Chu Xuan's expression. Her serious demeanor suggested she was addressing something of great significance. This is my own palace. Why can't I enter? Chu Xuan replied, momentarily taken aback by her assertion. This is a forbidden area designated by our master. What are you saying, brother? Shen Ningbing began to explain the situation, but faltered mid-sentence. What? This is your palace? But I distinctly remember that in my past life, this was a zone our master repeatedly warned us against. Each time she inquired about the reason, a hint of sorrow would cross their master's face, reminiscent of a woman abandoned by a scoundrel. One junior sister, curious and bold, had ventured in only to be met with a broken leg as punishment, cast out unceremoniously. A mere few steps taken had cost her 6 months of recovery. Thus, Shen Ningbing had a vivid impression of this enigmatic palace. Yet, why was it different this time? How had it become her brother's domain? Could their master have undergone a transformation? However, it was clear that their master was aware of her reincarnation. How could things be so drastically altered from her previous life? Other than this reasoning, Shen Ningbing could conjure no alternative explanations. Is there anything else? If not, I shall return to rest, Chu Xuan inquired, observing his dazed junior sister. He waved his hand in front of her eyes to confirm she was still attentive. Oh, it's nothing. Senior brother, you should rest first. After much contemplation, Shen Ningbing could not arrive at a conclusion and thus chose to let the matter go. What if, indeed, master had undergone a significant change in temperament? However, seeing that Chu Xuan was unharmed, she decided to relinquish her concerns. After all, in this life, she was the newcomer. There were likely matters of which she remained unaware. She would gradually come to understand them in due course. Upon witnessing Shen Ningbing depart, Chu Xuan refrained from continuing his cultivation and instead indulged in a delightful slumber. After all, he had been subjected to relentless exertion by master, and now, the moment his head hit the pillow, he succumbed to sleep. The following morning, Chu Xuan beheld Shen Ningbing practicing on the mountain. This girl was indeed the reincarnation of an empress. Upon entering Feilai Peak, she appeared as if she had returned home, instantly discerning the location of the cultivation chamber. However, perhaps due to the still uncleared Tying absolute vein, her cultivation speed was somewhat sluggish. How sluggish, you might ask? If Chu Xuan's speed was akin to that of a cheetah, then the average disciple's pace could only be likened to a snail. As for Shen Ningbing, her progress was likely not much faster than that of a single-celled organism. Despite an entire night's effort, Shen Ningbing had made no discernible advancement in her primary vein. Observing her plight, Chu Xuan felt a pang of sympathy. This was his junior sister, and her slow progress was disheartening. What do you need, junior sister? I am more than willing to assist you. Furthermore, these are my gifts for you as your senior brother. With that, Chu Xuan produced a storage bag and placed it into Shen Ningbing's hands. Upon inspecting the contents, Shen Ningbing was momentarily taken aback. Was this mere coincidence? The items within the storage bag were almost entirely those required for her to activate the Tying sacred phoenix body. Although not completely sufficient, they were adequate to unlock a significant portion of the Tying absolute vein, thereby elevating her cultivation speed to that of a prodigy. Additionally, there were several weapons that were exceedingly suitable for her. It could be said that the contents were almost tailor-made for her. With these items, she could activate the Tying sacred phoenix body, and her cultivation speed would soar. Even when compared to those budding emperors, she would not fall far behind. Contemplating this, Shen Ningbing's gaze toward Chu Xuan transformed, filled with gratitude, yet tinged with unease. Senior brother, these items are far too precious. I fear I cannot bear such a burden. Her tone was somewhat frosty. The inexplicable warmth and closeness from her senior brother rendered her quite uncomfortable. In truth, she was correct. These items were indeed invaluable, with resources within capable of single-handedly forging a divine monarch. In her previous life, The resources required to activate the Taiyin sacred phoenix body had taken Master several years to procure from the elders. Yet now, these very items were presented directly to her. However, the more generous he was, the more unsettled Xun Ningbing felt. If these treasures were to remain in the hands of my senior brother, he might very well ascend to the realm of saints, wouldn't he? Xun Ningbing, having lived 2 lifetimes, was acutely aware of Chu Xuan's formidable talents. At just over 20 years of age, he had already reached the pinnacle of the golden body realm. A gift not dissimilar to her own from a past life when she activated the Taiyin holy phoenix physique. Yet, why would he bestow such precious items upon her? Could it be that this senior harbors some inappropriate intentions? One of life's great delusions surfaced in Xun Ningbing's mind. Does he harbor affections for me? Dear junior sister, you need not worry. I lack for nothing in terms of rare treasures. These items hold little significance for me. Please, take them without hesitation. Chu Xuan spoke with a calm demeanor, seemingly apprehensive of her potential refusal. As he continued, he projected a glimpse of his storage ring, though they had only met briefly. Xun Ningbing felt a rush of astonishment. Goodness, how affluent is this senior brother? That storage ring seemed to rival the vaults of some saintly factions. Had he perhaps pilfered from that sacred place? Upon seeing the storage ring, Xun Ningbing felt a wave of reassurance wash over her as she accepted the items in her hands. Let this serve to mend the psychological scars left by my senior brother's earlier actions. To possess the belongings of such a wealthy individual is indeed exhilarating. Noticing her reaction, Chu Xuan smiled. His wealth was, of course, a gift from the esteemed elders of the Taiyin Holy Land. When he first ascended the mountain, the master had summoned everyone and, in front of all, announced that Chu Xuan had become her disciple. Due to his overwhelming charm, coupled with the unparalleled martial prowess of his master, the elders had generously bestowed upon him gifts of considerable value. Naturally, these were entirely voluntary. His master had never resorted to coercion, never. Even now, Chu Xuan had yet to consume even 1/10 of those offerings. Furthermore, junior sister, you shall accompany me shortly, as our esteemed uncles and aunts have gifts for you as well. Chapter 13. The unparalleled charisma of the incubus, Chu Xuan. Gazing into the storage ring filled to the brim, Xun Ningbing found herself momentarily lost in thought. When did the ancestors of the sect become so generous? She distinctly remembered that in her previous life, these individuals were notoriously stingy. The only reason she had managed to receive their gifts was due to her beloved master personally intervening. Lu Wu, so you're the stingy one, are you? I'm curious to see if you truly are that miserly. Yet, in the presence of her suddenly emergent senior brother, Xun Ningbing felt as though she had mistakenly entered the wrong sacred land. The once stern and uncompromising Yao Yu ancestor had transformed into a doting grandmother figure. And the previously unyielding Fu Feng ancestor, why did he gaze upon Chu Xuan as if he were his own grandson? No, it was more akin to seeing his own son. Who else would go to such lengths to shower gifts upon a grandchild? Junior sister, what do you think? The atmosphere of our holy land is quite benevolent, isn't it? With a smile that sparkled with mischief, Chu Xuan addressed Xun Ningbing, leaving her in a state of existential doubt, her mind clouded with confusion. Was everyone I encountered in my previous life merely an illusion? Is this truly the familiar realm of Jutianshiti? At a loss for words, Xun Ningbing could only emit a soft trailing behind Chu Xuan as they gradually approached a palace within the sacred land, a place designated for administrative affairs. She had only been received into the sacred land the day prior, and now she was to rectify her registration. As they walked, Xun Ningbing gazed at her enigmatic senior brother, her heart a tumult of emotions. Where did our master find such a remarkable being? His striking handsomeness stirred an instinctive urge within her to embrace him. This was not her conscious desire, but rather a primal reaction of her youthful form. Alas, Chu Xuan possessed an inexplicable magnetism. Feeling a surge of longing, her cheeks flushed with warmth. What am I thinking? He is my senior brother. How could such thoughts cross my mind? Moreover, Chu Xuan's charisma was formidable, for wherever he went, greetings followed. Greetings, Chu Xuan. In that moment, several disciples, upon spotting him, immediately bowed in reverence. A few female cultivators, dressed in revealing attire, even exaggeratedly bent forward, their figures swaying enticingly. Ugh, how base! Xun Ningbing inwardly chastised, while a peculiar sensation washed over her. She could distinctly perceive the possessive glances directed at Chu Xuan from those female disciples, as well as their hostility aimed at her. Unbeknownst to Xun Ningbing, her own gaze was equally unsettling, harboring an inexplicable animosity towards those alluring vixens. So, this must be the junior sister of Chu Xuan? How fortunate she is to have such a senior brother. I can't help but feel an intense envy. Oh, how it stings. Once they passed, the bowing disciples immediately engaged in hushed conversation. Most expressed their envy, jealousy, and resentment towards Xun Ningbing. Others debated Chu Xuan's prowess. I heard that yesterday. For his junior sister, Chu Xuan obliterated a peak golden body cultivator with a single strike. What? Does that mean Chu Xuan has ascended to divinity? How could he possess such terrifying strength otherwise? Even if he has not yet become a deity, he is certainly not far from it. After all, he is a true disciple, effortlessly dispatching those of the same realm. Remarkable. Truly, he is the favored disciple of that esteemed ancestor. In just a year, he has progressed from having no cultivation to reaching the golden body realm. Simply astounding. When I trained for a year, I had barely reached the Yuan transformation stage. I was so proud then, but now, compared to Chu Xuan, I feel utterly humiliated. Cultivating the body, unblocking the meridians, gathering spirit, transforming essence, establishing the fetus, and achieving the golden body. These are the 6 extraordinary realms of this world, each divided into 9 levels. Upon achieving perfection in the golden body, one becomes eligible to ignite the divine fire, thus shedding the mortal coil entirely. Most disciples of the sacred land reside within the latter 4 realms. Hearing the discussions around her, Shen Ningbing was taken aback. What? Her senior brother has only been cultivating for a year? Furthermore, from his demeanor this morning, he didn't appear to be particularly diligent. Attaining the golden body in a year is a pace swifter than any prodigy I have encountered in my past life. However, I am relieved that I have gathered everything needed to activate my physique, and with my previous life's memories, I shall not lag behind him for long. 1 year to the golden body, I can achieve that too. Observing Chu Xuan's retreating figure, Shen Ningbing silently vowed to dedicate herself to her cultivation. Unbeknownst to her, the crowd was swelling. Junior sister, you truly did not deceive me. It is indeed senior brother Chu. Ah, senior brother Chu is so handsome. Sigh. After a year, I finally see senior brother Chu in person. Do you know how I have spent this year? Every day gazing at senior brother Chu's portrait. My hands have been perpetually swollen. Senior sister, do restrain yourself. Your drool is nearly splattering my face. Huh, and you're not any better. Senior brother Chu is incredibly handsome, and his demeanor is exceptional. If only I could become his partner, I would gladly break through to the divine fire realm tomorrow. You wish. Such naive fantasies. But a partner for senior brother Chu is not meant for you. It would be me first. Countless female disciples lined the roadside, their eyes ablaze with desire as they gazed upon Chu Xuan. From their expressions, it seemed they longed to whisk him away and savor him entirely. However, due to Chu Xuan's status, they dared only to observe from a distance, not daring to approach him and his companion. Witnessing this scene, Chu Xuan felt somewhat helpless. After all, it is not his fault for being extraordinarily handsome. Such overwhelming charm is not something he sought. If blame were to be assigned, it would be directed towards this chaotic system. Ding. Friendly reminder, the attribute extraordinary charm is innate to the host. This system's novice reward is extraordinary perception, so please do not misunderstand. At this moment, the system inopportunely unveiled Chu Xuan's predicament. Observing her senior brother's gradually slowing pace, Shen Ningbing felt a surge of frustration. Driven by this feeling, she grasped Chu Xuan's hand and hurriedly led him into the palace, arriving at the registration area for true disciples. In an instant, Shen Ningbing felt as though the world was spinning and time was shifting. Although she had entered a palace, before her lay an expanse of boundless sky. Above her, countless palaces towered in the clouds, resembling an immortal palace in the heavens. This is the Taishan realm, a small world governed by the sacred land. Chu Xuan explained to the girl beside him, who was lost in thought, and pointed towards one of the palaces. Let us proceed. That is the registration office for the true disciples. The process of ascension went remarkably smoothly, registering information, imprinting aura, igniting the soul lamp, all executed seamlessly. The familiarity of these actions nearly led Chu Xuan to believe that his junior sister was quite the adept. Yet, upon reflection, he realized that his junior sister was the reincarnation of the Empress. Indeed, she was no novice. Chapter 14. The entries acquired. Chu Xuan's talent continues to ascend. Shen Ningbing gazed at her true disciple token and smiled. Chu Xuan, observing the elder's system panel, also smiled. Name, Nangong Shunning. Age, 3342. Cultivation, Pinnacle of the Saint Realm. Entries, Saintly Presence, purple, Master Alchemist, purple. Saintly Presence, as the name suggests. This individual possesses the potential to cultivate to the saint level, with the opportunity to advance further under fortuitous circumstances. Master Alchemist, a prodigious talent in alchemy, having reached the realm of mastery, nearing the transcendental. Name, Gu Beichuan. Age, 4135. Cultivation, Late Saint Realm. Entries, Saintly Presence, purple. Master Arrayist, purple. Master Arrayist. This individual exhibits exceptional talent and formations, with a terrifying mastery and a unique understanding of a race. Seeing the entries of the two, Chu Xuan felt a surge of joy. 4 purple entries in total. How many blue and green entries could that equate to? Golden entries are exceedingly rare. In the years since his initiation, he had scarcely encountered them. Thus, purple entries held immense value for him. There were numerous elders in the sacred land, likely around 1 or 200. If everyone replicated their entries, they could still synthesize 2 or 3 golden entries. The more entries he possessed, the swifter his cultivation would progress. Beep. Copying entry, Saintly Presence. X2 beep. Copying entry, Master Alchemist. Beep. Loading successful. In an instant, the system completed loading the entries from both individuals. Simultaneously, a wealth of knowledge flooded into Chu Xuan's mind. Foundational insights into alchemy and formations surged within him. Coupled with his Master S entry, all methods illuminated, Chu Xuan felt that with a modicum of effort, he could quickly catch up to the levels of the 2 elders. Dear Elder Nangong, Elder Gu, what brings you here? Chu Xuan inquired curiously, his mind also pondering. Was it merely a registration for a true disciple? Why were 2 esteemed elders involved? When did the true disciples of the sacred land become so highly valued? Nevertheless, it was, after all, his first encounter with these 2 esteemed elders. With cultivators enjoying lengthy lifespans, those who transcended to the 6th realm could possess lifespans exceeding a millennium. In the realm of formidable beings, the lifespan of a transcendent master can extend up to an astonishing 4,000 years. As for those of the sacred realm, their longevity ranges between 4,000 to 10,000 years. Thus, for these exalted figures, even 3 years may scarcely suffice for a solitary retreat. Consequently, despite having ascended the mountain for 3 years, Chu Xuan had encountered fewer than 1/10 of the esteemed elders. Upon our emergence from seclusion, we learned of your arrival, prompting us to pay a visit. Nangong Shunning smiled warmly at Chu Xuan, her almond-shaped eyes glimmering with mischief. Chu Xuan, under her gaze, felt a tingling sensation at the nape of his neck. What if the elder harbored ulterior motives toward him? The urgency of this thought weighed heavily on him. Truly, one could see the prowess of Master Lu Wu's disciples. In merely a year, she was nearly divine. Gu Beichuan interjected, his words instantly silencing Nangong Shunning. The sparkle in her eyes, once filled with allure, transformed into a serene clarity. Ah, how could I forget? She is indeed a disciple of Master Lu Wu. It is all my fault. My eyes, enamored by handsome faces, led me astray. Indeed, as your senior sister, I have yet to present you with a welcoming gift. Nangong Shunning remarked, promptly retrieving a storage ring and placing it into Chu Xuan's hand, as if fearful he might refuse. The swiftness of her action left Chu Xuan momentarily speechless. Simultaneously, Gu Beichuan's gift also found its way into Chu Xuan's hands. By the way, this must be the little junior sister recently accepted by our master, right? Before Chu Xuan could respond, Gu Beichuan deftly shifted the topic, leaving no room for refusal. With broad yet remarkably obstructed meridians, junior sister, do you possess some unique constitution? Gu Beichuan, with the keen insight befitting an elder of the sacred domain, discerned the issues within Shen Ningbing at a glance. Before Shen Ningbing could reply, Chu Xuan interjected, indeed, my master believes she possesses the Tying Sacred Phoenix physique, albeit lacking the necessary treasures to activate her potential. As he spoke, his gaze towards the 2 elders transformed, reminiscent of the fervent admiration he had previously shown Nangong Shunning. Now, it seems the tables have turned, young man. The 2 elders comprehended Chu Xuan's words, albeit with a hint of reluctance etched upon their faces. Fear not. As your senior brother, I happen to possess some treasures that will serve as a welcoming gift for our junior sister. With that, Gu Beichuan and Nangong Shunning each produced another storage ring to present to Shen Ningbing, though their expressions conveyed an undeniable hesitance. Shen Ningbing pondered. Why is there such a disparity between individuals? These 2 elders are eager to bestow gifts upon my senior brother, yet when it comes to me, they seem so unwilling. I must be an imposter. The Frost Empress, having lived 2 lives, profoundly felt the unevenness among people for the first time. Moreover, did you not hear? I am the Tying Sacred Phoenix physique, one of the 10 supreme physiques. Ah, the illustrious Tying Sacred Phoenix physique, which has once produced numerous great emperors. What is with your disinterested expressions? Only when the senior brother spoke did they remember that Shen Ningbing possesses a unique constitution. Her exceptional physique cannot be treated in accordance with ordinary true transmissions. Hence, I kindly request both esteemed elders to report to the Holy Master for a verdict. Chu Xuan continued. Having elucidated the matter, he aimed to secure greater benefits for his junior sister. After all, she is his beloved disciple. And Chu Xuan harbored his own ulterior motives. Once this physique is reported, a multitude of esteemed elders and ancestors will undoubtedly be stirred. At that time, their coveted entries would be within easy reach. wholesale purple entries, no less. The mere thought of such impending rewards filled Chu Xuan's gaze towards Shen Ningbing with satisfaction. Truly, she is an extraordinary junior sister, a veritable lucky star for her senior brother. For reasons unknown, Nangong Shunning was hesitant. And ultimately, it was Gu Beichuan who reported to the Holy Master. Soon, the Holy Master arrived, accompanied by 2 or 3 dozen formidable figures, all exuding the pressure of the sacred realm, and astonishingly, every one of them was a revered elder. Chu Xuan had encountered these esteemed elders before and offered a slight nod and a respectful bow. Upon catching sight of Chu Xuan, the Holy Master, Li Changqing, appeared exceedingly pleased. Excellent, excellent. Young nephew Chu has reached the 6th level of the golden body so swiftly. If I recall correctly, you only broke through to the golden body last month, did you not? The revered elders engaged in a casual discussion, momentarily forgetting the purpose of their arrival. Shen Ningbing interjected, are your attentions a bit misplaced? Shouldn't I be the focus of your discussion? Why is everyone talking about my senior brother? At that moment, Shen Ningbing realized she was but a mere side character. However, upon hearing their discussions, her eyes exhibited a flicker of astonishment. What? Her senior brother had actually broken through 6 realms in just a month. Suddenly, she began to understand the fascination surrounding him. With such terrifying talent, it was no wonder everyone was captivated. Chapter 15. The value of a unique entry in the existential doubts of the sacred land's higher UPS amidst the crowd. Chu Xuan felt elated. For, despite the unremarkable demeanor of the Holy Master, his attributes brought unexpected delight. Name, Li Changqing. Age, 2399. Cultivation, late stage of the Great Saint Realm. Entries, Pinnacle of the Holy King, purple. Innate sword body, purple. Pinnacle of the Holy King, possesses the potential to become a peak Holy King. Barring any misfortune, he is almost certain to achieve this status. With a high probability of reaching the pinnacle of Holy King, and even a certain chance of progressing further to become a quasi-emperor. The innate sword body, this physique is extraordinary, possessing a unique affinity for the sword path, enabling an astonishingly rapid cultivation speed in swordsmanship, while also augmenting the power of sword techniques. Indeed, he is a sovereign of a sacred land, endowed with such remarkable talent. Not only does he possess terrifying potential, but he also embodies the pinnacle of the Saint King realm, capable of effortlessly ascending to the status of a Saint Emperor in the future. Moreover, with the innate sword body, he is perfectly compatible with the techniques of the Tai Xian Sacred Land, the supreme killing divine art of the Tai Xian Sacred Land. Known as the Tai Xian Sword Technique, is a first-rate sword path divine art. Among the myriad paths, the sword path ranks within the top 5 in terms of combat prowess. Under this dual enhancement, it is feared that Li Changqing's combat strength will be unmatched within the same realm. It is no wonder that at merely over 2,000 years of age, he can firmly hold the position of the sovereign of the Tai Xian Sacred Land. Had it not been for the sudden emergence of his master, he might have become the most legendary ancestor of the Tai Xian Sacred Land. Without a moment's hesitation, Chu Xuan directly commenced the process of replication. However, this time, the feedback was distinctly different. Ding. Replication successful. After successfully copying the sovereign, Chu Xuan set his sights on the other venerable elders. There were a total of 20 venerable elders present, each possessing 2 purple attributes, leading to great prospects. Ding. Replication successful. Ding. Replication successful. Ding. Replication successful. Until Chu Xuan attempted to replicate an attribute concerning comprehension, an unexpected occurrence transpired. Ding. Loading failed. Detected that the host already possesses a unique first-level attribute in comprehension. Heaven-Defying Comprehension, unable to load the attribute. Extraordinary Comprehension. Staring at the notification in his mind, Chu Xuan felt somewhat bewildered. What? Is Heaven-Defying Comprehension truly this formidable? In that moment, Chu Xuan suddenly comprehended the significant value of unique attributes. So, the term unique implies that it is already at maximum level? Although this interpretation felt somewhat off, Chu Xuan could not conjure any other explanation at that moment. Not dwelling on it for long, Chu Xuan continued to load other attributes. While he could not load the comprehension attribute, the others were indeed available. Soon, all the elders' attributes were thoroughly replicated by Chu Xuan. By the time Chu Xuan finished loading the attributes, Li Changqing had also confirmed Shen Ningbing's root constitution. Indeed, she possessed the Taiyin sacred phoenix body, truly remarkable, as expected from ancestor Lu Wu. As he uttered these words, Li Changqing felt a twinge of jealousy. This body has produced more than a dozen great emperors. It is one thing for ancestor Lu Wu to be formidable in cultivation. But how could he possess such discerning eyes in choosing disciples? One Chu Xuan was already pressing the sacred land to its limits. And now with the addition of Shen Ningbing, how could they possibly endure? However, These thoughts remained unspoken within his heart. Li Changqing was acutely aware of his own limitations and dared not compete with Lu Wu for a disciple. He still wished to live a few more years. How could he provoke his own superior? Ultimately, Shen Ningbing, clutching dozens of storage rings, followed Chu Xuan slowly back to the flying peak. Even without visiting the Hall of Transmission, Shen Ningbing has already received the complete inheritance of the Taishan Sutra. Standing in place, the sage Lord Li Changqing gazed at the figures of the two and sighed. Poor Xiao Wang, born at the wrong time. With these two prodigies around, he may never have a chance. Why should the sage lord feel disheartened? Wang Tenglong's talent is commendable as well, and with his yin-yang mystic body, he is exceptionally suited for the inheritance of our Taishan Holy Land. His future may not be inferior to these two. A senior elder beside him reassured. Even if he is not as outstanding, succeeding you should still be a breeze. Old Li, you might be nearing retirement in a century or two. It would have been better if he had remained silent. These words only deepened Li Changqing's melancholy. Indeed, this new generation is filled with monsters. He has grown old. You old bear, I sentence you to 3 years of sweeping the forbidden grounds. Brotherly, please don't. After a day of activities, junior sister, you should return to rest. Tomorrow, I shall tell you about other matters within the sect. Chu Xuan dismissed the others. In her room, Shen Ningbing stared at the densely packed storage rings before her, her heart brimming with astonishment. Am I truly in the right place? The resources here have far surpassed those of true disciples. In her previous life, she had also been a direct disciple of the Taishan Holy Land, but she had entered the sect 3 years later. This time, having just arrived, she has already become the disciple of her master and acquired such immense resources. Spirit stones and spiritual herbs, enough to fill an entire mountain. Furthermore, there are numerous insights from senior elders on cultivation and various techniques and divine abilities, as well as an abundance of magical artifacts. Countless treasures of the extraordinary sixth realm and not a few divine artifacts. Most astonishingly, within the storage ring bestowed by the Sage Lord, there are 2 sacred artifacts. It is known that wandering saints in the outside world might not even manage to acquire a single sacred artifact. Yet now, Shen Ningbing, merely at the Meridian realm, possesses 2. This leaves her feeling as if in a dream. Is this truly not an illusion? Regardless, activating her constitution takes precedence. With these resources, this life, she shall undoubtedly soar to great heights, achieving the status of a great emperor a century early. Without hesitation, Shen Ningbing took out a multitude of celestial materials and earthly treasures to begin activating her constitution. Soon, the side hall was illuminated by a kaleidoscope of colors. Ethereal lunar essence, the harmonious call of phoenixes, the spirit mountain untraversed, the world in crystalline clarity. 12 main meridians, open. An astonishing aura erupted. The multicolored light converging into a single blue beam that shot skyward. This time, Shen Ningbing aimed not only to activate her Taiyin sacred phoenix body, but also to simultaneously connect her 12 main meridians, striving to reach the pinnacle of the meridian realm in one breath. Within the blue pillar of light, a crystal phoenix could be faintly seen soaring and frolicking. The phoenix's song lingered in the air, refusing to dissipate. If it were not for the formidable protective formations atop the flying peak, one might fear that the commotion could be heard throughout the entire sacred land. Nevertheless, such a cataclysmic disturbance could not escape the keen perception of the sages. On the summit, Li Changqing observed the scene before him, his heart trembling with astonishment. Truly, this was a disciple favored by a legend. The speed of her cultivation was nothing short of remarkable. Old bear, how long did it take you to reach the meridian opening stage? Li Changqing inquired, gazing at the soaring blue pillar of light in disbelief. 3 months, replied Xiongvida, noting that his innate beastly physique allowed for an exceptionally rapid progression in the meridian opening stage, making him the fastest in the sacred land. The girl who entered today has already reached the peak of the meridian opening stage. What? Wasn't she just beginning to connect her 3rd meridian? Indeed. But she has now attained the pinnacle of the meridian opening stage. Upon hearing this, Xiongvida began to question the very nature of his existence. Several elders present, contemporaries of Li Changqing, shared his sentiments. They were gifted individuals, yet they paled in comparison to the 2 prodigies on Flying Peak. Observing the incredulous expression of Old Bear, Li Changqing hesitated but ultimately refrained from disclosing Chu Xuan's circumstances. He was well aware of Chu Xuan's cultivation pace. When Li Changqing had assisted Chu Xuan with his entry registration years ago, Chu Xuan had been an utterly unremarkable mortal. Who could have anticipated that merely 5 days later, when he ignited his soul lamp, this lad had transformed into a peak meridian opening practitioner? At that moment, Li Changqing had experienced a similar existential crisis. Chapter 16. Chu Xuan breaks through. The rebirth of the Empress. Such is the advantage of a special physique. At certain levels, Those with unique constitutions possess unparalleled advantages. With adequate resources, their progress is unobstructed. Much like Shen Ningbing, who now had ample resources, her cultivation had surged dramatically. In just one night, she had managed to connect all her meridians. This speed, if Chu Xuan had not been asleep, would likely have elicited some envy from him, for he, lacking any extraordinary physique, had to advance through the meridian opening stage step by step. He had spent a full 4 days to connect all his primary meridians. However, this envy was fleeting. The other's rapid advancement stemmed from the unique qualities of the Taiyin sacred phoenix body and the fact that Shen Ningbing had been stagnating at the meridian opening stage for an extended period, her foundation being exceptionally solid. The following morning, Shen Ningbing once again approached the door to Chu Xuan's bedroom. Yet this time, she sensed an unusual atmosphere. What was happening? Where did this aura of unity between heaven and man come from? The state of unity between heaven and man is a unique cultivation condition. In this state, practitioners can involuntarily draw upon the purest essence of the heavens and earth, compared to the ongoing process of inhaling the muddled spiritual energy of the world and absorbing medicinal pills and spiritual stones. Practitioners in this state can directly absorb the most gentle and refined essence. Thus, the speed of cultivation is not merely accelerated 100-fold. This presents an opportunity that countless practitioners can encounter but seldom attain. Even Shen Ningbing, who possessed the highest cultivation in her previous life, now lacks the confidence to consistently trigger the unity of heaven and man. The aura emanates from her senior brother's chamber. Could it be? It appears that this senior brother is quite fortunate. Upon pushing the door open, Shen Ningbing confirmed her suspicions. However, she began to doubt her memories. For before her lay Chu Xuan, reclining leisurely in a grand armchair, quietly basking in the morning sun of Flying Peak. The extraordinarily handsome youth sat calmly, his eyes gently closed, embodying a harmonious essence with nature. Lying amidst the vastness of the universe, the boy resembled a hollow, incessantly drawing in the wandering energies from his surroundings. The boundless pure essence, stirred by this magnetic pull, cascaded towards him like a rushing waterfall. Observing this spectacle, Shen Ningbing nearly believed that the heavens and earth harbored a grudge against her senior brother, intent on overwhelming him. Yet, what astonished Shen Ningbing most was that, despite the violent influx of universal energy, Chu Xuan exhibited no signs of distress. He merely consumed it like an insatiable abyss, showing no inclination to cease. Whether it was the sunlight illuminating him or the phenomenon of the golden body realm, a faint golden radiance enveloped Chu Xuan, enhancing his already ethereal allure with an air of sanctity. As she watched, Shen Ningbing found herself entranced. Is this truly my senior brother? No wonder the master chose to take him under his wing. We are both disciples. Does this not place me in a position to swiftly gain favor? The scene stirred emotions within Shen Ningbing's heart, which had been frozen for millennia. After a considerable time, a gentle sound jolted Shen Ningbing from her reverie. Junior sister, what brings you here? Chu Xuan inquired, observing the significant transformation in Shen Ningbing. Indeed, it was a profound change. Upon entering the sect, Shen Ningbing seemed to conceal her true self. Though strikingly beautiful, she lacked an extraordinary presence. Now, however, she was utterly transformed, her exquisite features radiating with unabashed brilliance. Her icy demeanor, reminiscent of a frozen mountain, made her unforgettable. Her beautiful eyes sparkled like autumn waters, clear and captivating. Her willow-like brows carried an enchanting grace, akin to distant green hills. Clad in a flowing black dress, her skin appeared even more porcelain-like, as if carved from flawless jade. Her figure was perfectly sculpted, every curve an exquisite masterpiece, leaving no room for regret. Simply standing there, she was a marvel of time. The only minor flaw was perhaps due to her youth. At 18, her attributes did not yet rival those of their master. However, being a young maiden, there remains ample time for her to blossom. Is this truly the essence of my junior sister? So breathtakingly beautiful. As Chu Xuan spoke, he jested with her. I hardly recognized you. The praise from her senior brother made Shen Ningbing's face visibly flush with color. Though she had received compliments before, this time, genuine happiness welled up within her, mingled with a tinge of shyness and pride. Perhaps it was the identity of the one who uttered those words that made the difference. Senior brother, you just made a breakthrough, didn't you? Sensing the unusual stir of emotions within her, she quickly shifted the topic. Yes, I recently had some insights and effortlessly advanced to the 7th level of the golden body realm, Chu Xuan replied. Upon hearing this, a storm of astonishment surged within Shen Ningbing. She recalled that the Holy Master had mentioned yesterday that her senior brother had only just broken through to the golden body realm last month. To ascend to the 7th level in merely a month? Such a narrative would seem implausible in any written tale. In her past life, Shen Ningbing had encountered numerous prodigies. Yet even the most exceptional physiques could not achieve such rapid progress purely through cultivation. How terrifyingly formidable could her senior brother be? However, having fully activated her Taiyin sacred phoenix body, she too was not without her own strengths. As a former powerhouse of the earth, Shen Ningbing harbored ample confidence. The complete Taiyin sacred phoenix body promised a cultivation speed that could rival her senior brother's, if not surpass it. This was a physique capable of reaching the pinnacle of the Emperor realm. She could not afford to fall short. "Sister, what troubles you?" Chu Xuan inquired, observing the young woman before him with curiosity. Just moments ago, she had been shy, yet now she was silent. Could it be that their master had taken a fool up the mountain? Such a notion made him apprehensive. After all, bullying a fool would only tarnish one's virtue. Senior brother, how did you accomplish this?" At last, Shen Ningbing regained her composure amidst Chu Xuan's repeated calls. She asked, her eyes brimming with disbelief. She had not sensed any extraordinary aura from her senior brother. How could his cultivation speed be so astonishing? Are you inquiring about my cultivation?" Chu Xuan replied candidly. "This month, I happen to have some free time, so I put in a little effort." He explained that, free from the disturbances of the seductive demon master, he had indeed dedicated himself to diligent training, without a hint of laziness. After all, without strength, how could he hope to seek out the seductive demon master? Once Chu Xuan finished speaking, Shen Ningbing felt overwhelmed, swiftly changing the subject. If she allowed this extraordinary individual to continue speaking, she feared she might be disheartened. "By the way, senior brother, I have some questions that I wish to clarify." The young woman calmly produced a pristine copy of the Tai Xian classic. "Before we delve into the teachings, could you please remove the labels from the book?" As Chu Xuan ignited the divine fire, he gazed in astonishment at the pristine Tai Xian sutra before him. "Junior sister, perhaps you should first examine the contents inscribed within?" Chu Xuan suggested hesitantly. "At the very least, could you remove this fire seal?" Each volume of the Tai Xian Sutra bore a fire seal, which could only be unlocked by disciples of the Tai Xian Holy Land, serving as a clever deterrent against outsiders seeking to pilfer knowledge. Upon hearing Chu Xuan's words, Shen Ningbing's cheeks flushed crimson, nearly transforming her into a vaporous maiden. Yet, as a former empress, her composure was remarkable. In a fleeting moment, she devised a response. "My master previously imparted to me the first 3 levels of content," Shen Ningbing explained calmly. Her words, though freshly fabricated, flowed from her lips with unwavering confidence. Moreover, it was not entirely a falsehood. In her past life, her master had indeed shared this portion of knowledge. How could past events not be deemed factual? However, Chu Xuan did not wait for her to finish. "All right, if there is anything you do not comprehend, feel free to ask," he stated as he approached the flawless white jade platform. It was then that Shen Ningbing noticed the stark emptiness of her elder brother's chamber. Within the vast palace, there was only a simple set of furniture and the white jade platform itself. The platform, immaculate in its entirety, was composed of concentrated spirit jade, capable of calming the mind and accelerating the cultivation of the soul. Such a treasure could be considered priceless. Even a sage would covet it if placed in the outside world. Reflecting on the enthusiasm of the elder council from the day prior, Shen Ningbing found it no longer surprising. Having benefited from her brother's influence, she had received gifts far more valuable than the white jade platform. Surrounding the palace were various inscriptions, continuously attracting the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. This was evidently a spirit-gathering array. "Brother, it is as follows." The Tai Xian Sutra states. Without hesitation, Shen Ningbing promptly inquired about numerous details contained within the sutra. These were indeed intricate and obscure concepts. In her past life, had it not been for her master's patient guidance, she feared she would have been unable to comprehend them. Now, granted a second chance, she was determined to scrutinize her elder brother's understanding. Moreover, Shen Ningbing harbored an inexplicable sensation that her interpretations from her previous life had been slightly askew. Otherwise, she would not have experienced a sense of obscurity after attaining enlightenment. With the opportunity to cultivate anew, she was resolute in uncovering the questions that lingered. After attentively listening to Shen Ningbing's inquiries, Chu Xuan bowed his head in contemplation. It must be said, she was truly a former empress, as her questions were exceptionally astute. This should be understood thus. The Tai Xian is not meant to be lofty and unattainable, but rather a harmonious blend of high and low, a balance of yin and yang. After a brief pause, Chu Xuan gradually began to elucidate the scriptures to his junior sister. Chu Xuan meticulously addressed every question and doubt posed by Shen Ningbing. With each inquiry, he offered a multifaceted, comprehensive interpretation, providing thorough answers. Such detailed responses left Shen Ningbing with an enlightening sense of clarity. After a considerable time, She astonishingly realized that her understanding of the Tai Xian Jing had deepened beyond her previous life. It is noteworthy that in her past existence, she had cultivated the Tai Xian Jing to its utmost limit and had attained the status of a great emperor through it. Initially, Shen Ningbing had confidently claimed to be the most knowledgeable individual regarding the Tai Xian Jing in the contemporary world. However, it now appeared that she had underestimated the remarkable insight of her seemingly unassuming senior brother. Shen Ningbing was acutely aware of the cause behind this phenomenon. Chu Xuan's comprehension was undoubtedly far more formidable than she had anticipated, likely having fully grasped the earlier contents of the Tai Xian Jing solely through his innate understanding. It seemed that her senior brother's identity was quite extraordinary, and her inability to discern it was due to their master intentionally concealing it. Shen Ningbing speculated inwardly, as this was precisely the sort of thing her revered master would do. In her heart, her master represented the epitome of strength and mystery. Even in her previous life, despite having attained the status of a great emperor and personally quelling a catastrophic upheaval, she had never been able to keep pace with her master. It is worth noting that less than a century had passed since her master's disappearance, and she felt compelled to exert herself. Indeed, in Shen Ningbing's memories from her previous life, her master Lu Wu had also vanished. A century later, her master achieved the status of an emperor, subsequently opening the celestial gates with a sword, and thereafter disappeared from the realms of heaven and earth. Master, wait for me. In this life, I shall strive diligently in my cultivation, and I will fight alongside you. After half a day's explanation, Shen Ningbing's understanding of the first 3 levels of the Tai Xian Jing had transcended that of her previous life. She even had a premonition that she would encounter no significant cultivation challenges in the subsequent month. In fact, this turned out to be the case. In the following month, both individuals diligently pursued their cultivation and made remarkable progress. During this period, Chu Xuan dedicated himself to his practice, experiencing rapid advancement. Reaching the pinnacle of the golden body realm, he was merely a step away from igniting the divine fire and achieving a divine position. Chu Xuan exhaled a sigh of relief, contemplating inwardly. The cultivation of the mundane 6 realms involved refining the physical body and channeling spiritual energy into oneself, thereby growing stronger step by step. The 4 realms of body refinement, meridian opening, spirit gathering, and essence transformation were all concerned with these processes. Upon reaching the embryonic formation stage, one began to initially open the soul palace and engage with the powers of the spiritual realm. The golden body realm represented the unification of spirit, flesh, and consciousness, fully activating the body's potential and allowing one's mortal form to attain a state of imperviousness. Thus, upon achieving the golden body realm, the physical body becomes invulnerable, enabling free manipulation of the vital energy within, making even severed limbs capable of regeneration. Next comes the divine fire. Once ignited, it signifies a complete transition into a new realm of existence, that of the divine. The realm of divine fire, as its name suggests, involves igniting this sacred flame within oneself. The divine fire possesses formidable capabilities of refining and purifying, capable of further elevating the cultivator's true essence and soul. Under the purifying blaze of the divine fire, the cultivator's body and spirit undergo continuous enhancement and purification, ultimately leading to the discovery of their true self. The sun shines brilliantly, the moon shimmers faintly, the essence of the cosmos is pure, and the divine fire burns bright. With a firm yet gentle command, Chu Xuan began his endeavor to ignite the divine fire. For others, crossing the boundary between the mortal and divine might pose a formidable challenge. However, for Chu Xuan, it presented no difficulty whatsoever. For a transcendent celestial king, the challenge of ascending to the divine realm is as trivial as partaking in a meal. Not to mention, he had long since mastered the supreme profound scripture, cultivating it to the 12th tier. Beneath the quasi-emperor level, the path is clear. As the technique commenced, searing flames manifested within Chu Xuan's dantian, incessantly scorching the impurities within his body. After a day, Chu Xuan's demeanor underwent a profound transformation. Previously, he bore a hint of mundane essence, a remnant of his former life as a powerful mortal. However, after the refining influence of the divine fire, all traces of his former impurities vanished. His already extraordinary aura now radiated an additional touch of the sacred, evoking a sense of reverence in those who beheld him. This transformation proved advantageous, as many female disciples within the sacred grounds would now display greater restraint, sparing their delicate fingers from unnecessary suffering. Each time he ventured out, witnessing their wrinkled fingers stirred a sense of discomfort within him. Chapter 18. Chu Xuan. Does the sacred artifact with the soul ring possess enhanced power? Is this the realm of divine fire? Indeed, it is a rebirth. Chu Xuan ceased his cultivation. At this moment, His cultivation had unmistakably reached the first level of the Divine Fire Realm. The Divine Realm is divided into three major stages: the Divine Fire Realm, the True Unity Realm, and the Divine King Realm. Each stage is further subdivided into 9 tiers, with the True Unity Realm often referred to as the Celestial God Realm. The Divine King Realm, also known as the Sacred Offering Realm, is a gradual process wherein one completes the refining of their saintly essence, progressively transforming their power into that of a saint. However, only those who have achieved perfection within the Divine King Realm may be regarded as quasi-saints. My current strength is sufficient to serve as an outer elder. The supreme profound sacred ground is vast, and the criteria for outer elders are not particularly stringent. Furthermore, the sacred grounds possess numerous enterprises in the outside world, employing countless outer elders, thus establishing a low threshold for entry. Nevertheless, a being of the divine realm is already an invincible presence in many regions. The resources of this world are unevenly distributed, with many areas proving to be barren, making it impossible to cultivate even divine realm cultivators. Fortunately, I have not found myself stranded in desolate places, or else it would take me several years to attain divinity. After this reflection, Chu Xuan began to assess his own strength. Presently, my Taishan Sutra and Taishan Sword technique have both reached a remarkable level within the realm of divine fire. I am invincible. This assertion is not an exaggeration, but rather a fact. He has cultivated the Taishan Sword technique to the 9th tier. It is essential to note that this constitutes an imperial-level martial art, possessing immense power. Many elders in the sacred land have only managed to reach the 7th or 8th tier. Those at the True One realm, within the first 3 tiers, possess comparable combat ability. Those beyond the 3rd tier can also engage in battle, but will require the use of weapons. As for the Divine King realm, that is beyond what Chu Xuan can currently contend with. The strength of a Divine King exists on an entirely different plane compared to that of the True One realm. Nevertheless, I possess numerous means at my disposal, and should the need arise, I shall not be overly concerned. Indeed, while he may not be able to defeat a Divine King, it does not imply that his treasures would be ineffective against such an opponent. His master left him an abundance of items, among which are countless divine and sacred artifacts. Even if the entire sacred land possesses only a few sacred king weapons, he has several nestled within his storage ring. It could be said that, aside from the sect's inventory, Chu Xuan is currently the wealthiest individual within the Taishan sacred land. Even the sacred Lord Li Chongqing pales in comparison. One wonders if these artifacts possess soul rings. Given his master's character, it is highly probable. As Chu Xuan gazed at the multitude of treasures within his storage ring, a sudden wave of inspiration surged within him. Might sacred artifacts imbued with soul rings enhance their power? After evaluating his own combat prowess, Chu Xuan resumed his cultivation, working to solidify his realm. Beyond the 9 heavens and 10 earths, in a realm drenched in crimson, lies the ancient land of 9 heavens and 10 earths, now regarded as a forbidden zone of life, shrouded in caution. Here, creatures cloaked in red fur roam, like the undead, exuding a chilling aura. These lifeless entities are collectively known as ominous beings within the 9 heavens and 10 earths. This eerie phenomenon is referred to as ominous by the inhabitants of that realm. Boom, boom. At the edge of the forbidden zone, tremendous collisions reverberate, fracturing the boundless blood-red earth. After a considerable time, a frantic mental wave emanates from the depths of the crimson expanse. What do you intend, Lu? As a being that has devoured many emperors, he has not experienced such humiliation in ages. Yet, at this moment, he finds himself utterly powerless to resist. This is due to the unusual identity of his opponent. Above the crimson sky, a noble and ethereal figure emerges, the legendary super being of the 9 heavens and 10 earths, the immortal ancestor Lu Wu. Upon Lu Wu's arrival, the surrounding blood mist dissipates entirely, restoring the initial purity of the atmosphere. Heh, do you not yet comprehend my intentions? It is not your time to emerge. So retreat at once. You have overstepped your bounds, yet you stand there with such audacity, truly a shameless horde of monstrosities. With that, Lu Wu raised his hand and unleashed a palm strike towards the depths of the crimson abyss. In an instant, an irresistible force of unparalleled supremacy manifested between heaven and earth. This power, engulfing the vast expanse of scarlet, swept through like a tempest, instantly obliterating the endless crimson. Not only did it clear the scarlet, but everything in existence was swept away beneath that single strike. The sky, stretching for thousands of miles, was transformed into a void in the blink of an eye. Moments later, countless strands of primordial energy surged forth, seeking to fill this immense emptiness. A group of pitiful remnants. Your time has not yet come. Remain in your place. Otherwise, I shall not hesitate to dispose of you prematurely. Lu Wu gazed into the depths of the forbidden ground, his eyes brimming with disdain, akin to observing a colony of ants. After speaking, he raised his flawless jade-like right hand once more, delivering another strike into the heart of the life-restricting domain. This time, the assault transcended the boundaries of the forbidden zone, penetrating deeply into its innermost sanctum. Boom! A thunderous sound reverberated as the boundless, parched earth crumbled once again. Within the forbidden zone, countless miles of land were annihilated beneath that single strike. In the depths of the forbidden ground, the spiritual fluctuations of that enigmatic presence ceased to materialize. Clearly, this blow had inflicted considerable impact upon it. However, in the face of such humiliation, the once mighty taboo existence that had repelled countless emperors showed no inclination to resist. Should the numerous celestial prodigies who perished here previously witness this, they would surely be left aghast. Humph! Consider yourself fortunate. Otherwise, I would have certainly slain you. Observing the scene, Lu Wu let out a cold snort, and his figure vanished into the horizon. After a lengthy interval, the presence in the depths of the forbidden ground finally emitted a roar of impotent rage. Lu Wu, it is you once again, hindering our grand design after 1,000,000 years. The voice was filled with fury, its terrifying sound waves shattering the void for miles around. The howling persisted for an extended duration. Ultimately, after half a month, that supreme entity finally ceased its outburst, not out of placation, but from sheer exhaustion. After half a month of relentless shouting, any being would tire. Though it was not human, it did not preclude its throat from burning with silent protest. The crimson tide surged towards the taboo existence, reporting all recent occurrences from the realms above and below. Alongside this report were the recent achievements and findings of the ominous powers. As it absorbed the messages carried by the overwhelming scarlet, a glimmer of light suddenly appeared in the eyes of the taboo existence. Heh, Lu Wu, you cannot impede us. I have heard that you have taken on a few disciples. Allow me to pay them a visit. It just so happens that the devouring demon body is on the verge of complete corruption. I am quite curious to see if your disciples can possess even a fraction of your prowess. Ha ha ha. Although the departing Lu Wu remained unaware of the unfolding events, he could still sense an underlying tension. TSK, are they so eager this time? It seems I must mention it when I return. Chapter 19. Chu Xuan, my talent continues to ascend. News of the new junior sister. Among the 21 true disciples, Chu Xuan has successfully replicated 50 purple attributes, an average of over 2 purple attributes per person. No wonder the Holy Lord previously remarked that the quality of this batch of true disciples is unprecedentedly high. How could the quality of these attributes be anything but exceptional? The talents of this generation have already surpassed many of the esteemed elders. Host: Chu Xuan, age, 20, cultivation, divine fire 3rd level. Attributes: wanderer from afar, unique. Heavenly comprehension, unique. Unparalleled charisma, unique. Countenance of a supreme immortal king, red 5 gold 38 purple. Clarity of all laws, red. Supreme physique, 2 gold. Master of formations, 3 purple. Swordsmanship prodigy, 15 purple. Gazing at his extraordinarily luxurious and comprehensive attribute panel, Chu Xuan felt immense satisfaction. The attributes related to his physique have been merged by the system into one supreme physique. Although the attributes have been consolidated, the effects of the individual attributes still persist. It merely saves a bit of space on the system panel. Indeed, it is no surprise that one of the most powerful sacred grounds of the 9 heavens and 10 earths has yielded such rewards even before completing the replication process. If he could replicate the attributes of everyone within the sacred ground, would his panel not be filled with golden attributes? Just from one sacred ground, such bountiful gains have been achieved. If he were to traverse all the sacred grounds, would he not lack even for red attributes? Just as Chu Xuan stood in a trance, allowing his cultivation to surge freely within, the communication jade pendant in his storage ring suddenly stirred. My precious disciple, how are you faring with that young lady? With your striking handsomeness, I trust you have already won her over? Or perhaps this icy beauty does not pique your interest? Fear not, for another opportunity is on the horizon. I have recently come across a suitable young beauty, and I shall secure her for you. However, this new junior sister, due to certain circumstances, cannot come to the Taishian sacred ground on her own and will require you to seek her out. It is also a chance for you to assist her with some mundane matters. A friendly reminder, this new junior sister possesses a delicate charm. The voice of his master was as enchanting as ever, yet now imbued with a hint of unfamiliarity. Chu Xuan felt no surprise at this. It was not a failing of his master, but rather his own fading memory. The joyous year they had spent together felt like a dream, leaving the present Chu Xuan with a sense of unreality. The only thing that remained vivid was the lingering sensation of his master's touch in the palm of his hand. Master, please do not be anxious. I shall find you shortly. Haha, your concern is commendable, Yet my life has become quite carefree, without your relentless entanglement. I find I have ample time each day to appreciate the beauty of the world. Though I speak with a hint of complaint, I can sense the reluctance in my master's heart. Admittedly, I have my shortcomings. With only 12 hours in a day, our meetings often consume 4 to 5 of those hours. It is no wonder, for after a year of diligent practice, I have only just reached the golden body realm, dedicating most of my time to physical training. Now, let me share with you the situation regarding our new junior sister. Under Lu Wu's detailed introduction, I finally grasped the particulars of this junior sister. Her name is Xiao Yuyan, a native of the Western Kingdom of Yan. At 16 years of age, she was once regarded as the foremost genius of her nation, destined from childhood to marry the 5th prince of Yan. However, 2 years ago, after reaching the pinnacle of body refinement, she was unable to make further breakthroughs, becoming the subject of ridicule among her peers. In truth, this was due to her unique bloodline, which activated a talisman concealing a celestial demon that has been steadily absorbing her cultivation to regain its strength. Fortunately, I have resolved this issue. The celestial demon has been sealed and subdued, now serving as her protector. Alas, the world is often short-sighted, failing to recognize the true potential of our junior sister Yuyan. The prince intended for her betrothal has already begun contemplating a withdrawal due to her cultivation predicament. You must hurry here. Such thrilling events are not to be missed. As Lu Wu spoke, he urged me to join him in witnessing the unfolding drama. After hearing my master's account, I could only think of 4 words, just as I suspected. Truly, my master, with an eye for destiny, effortlessly identifies a child of fate. This tale and its archetype, it is unmistakably reminiscent of the Flame Emperor, is it not? Hee, my resplendent golden-haired junior sister. I am on my way. Moreover, this time, not only shall I gain a junior sister with a guaranteed golden title, but I shall also relish the story of fortunes that ebb and flow over 3 decades. Such opportunities are rare, indeed. Truly, my master treats me with utmost benevolence. With thoughts of my master's words swirling in my mind, I was immediately filled with the desire to witness the unfolding spectacle. Without hesitation, I exclaimed, "Junior sister, cease your cultivation and hasten to welcome our new junior sister." Ignoring all else, I kicked open Shen Ningbing's door and pulled her out. Shen Ningbing stood there, utterly bewildered. Junior sister? What junior sister? Was I not the sole disciple of my master in my past life? Along the journey, various magical formations continuously resonated, and brilliant rays of light relentlessly assailed Chu Xuan's figure. As a security measure for the Empress's chamber, these were of the highest caliber, meticulously arranged by the young Empress. Shen Xiaoni. Shen Ningbing was confident that even a peak practitioner at the True One realm would meet a dead end if they dared to intrude. Enough with the commotion. There is an urgent matter at hand. However, Chu Xuan merely gestured lightly, and an immediate silence enveloped the surroundings. Those formidable magical artifacts capable of annihilating True One realm experts seemed to cower before him like feeble chickens, offering no resistance whatsoever. Indeed, even a sentient magical artifact had begun to eagerly cling to Chu Xuan's leg, as if he were its true master. Witnessing this scene, Shen Ningbing felt utterly shattered, her defenses crumbling completely. Once the most formidable empress to traverse the heavens, she now found herself pondering the futility of cultivation. Exhausted, she yearned for annihilation, and quickly. Chapter 20. Master, the younger sister of the Flame Emperor template. Hurry over. Wanghua Prefecture lies on the periphery of the Taishan Dao domain, a desolate land with scarce spiritual energy, truly a wild frontier. Upon hearing this news, Chu Xuan grew even more exhilarated. Could there be a sect that governs the entire nation? Everything was aligning perfectly. This time, the younger sister was undoubtedly a Flame Emperor template. Just as Chu Xuan was eagerly preparing to activate his treasured cross-domain arc, a voice interrupted his actions. Chu Xuan, where are you headed? Li Chongqing, observing the enthusiastic Chu Xuan and the disillusioned Shen Ningbing, inquired curiously. Master just informed me that he has found another disciple and has asked me to go to Wanghua Prefecture to fetch her, Chu Xuan replied candidly. At this revelation, Li Chongqing's excitement mirrored Chu Xuan's. The flying immortal ancestor has found a new disciple. The discerning eye of the flying immortal ancestor is well known. The first disciple is a powerhouse like Chu Xuan. The second disciple is no slouch either, having entered the sect with only a 3-fold pulse. In just a month, she has already reached the transforming element realm at the registration office. Such talent far surpasses that of my beloved apprentice. With such an esteemed ancestor present, how could the Taishan Holy Land not stabilize the heavens and the earth? In that case, as the foremost holy master of the realm, I shall surely leave my name etched in history. With this thought, a rare excitement flickered across Li Chongqing's typically composed countenance. It seemed that Li Changqing was even more exhilarated than Chu Xuan, the eldest disciple. This unexpected situation left Chu Xuan somewhat bewildered. Wait, what is going on? Why do you seem more excited than I am, old manly? Are you also a fan of exhilarating tales? Wangwo Prefecture is quite far. Using a flying vessel would waste time. It would be more efficient to employ the sect's teleportation portal. Li Changqing gazed at Chu Xuan and earnestly spoke. In truth, his intention was merely to ensure that the sect had some presence in the matter of the Grandmaster Feixian accepting disciples. Both Chu Xuan and Shen Ningbing seemed to materialize out of thin air, leaving the sect entirely unaware. This left Li Changqing feeling quite unsettled. What if these prodigies felt no sense of belonging to our holy land of Taishan? Now, upon seeing that Chu Xuan's new junior sister had arrived, he hurriedly stepped forward to assist. Rest assured, dear disciple, all expenses shall be borne by the Holy Land. You need only utilize the teleportation array to its fullest capacity, without concern for the costs. As he spoke, Li Changqing produced the token of the Holy Master. With this token, Chu Xuan could freely employ the teleportation array belonging to the Holy Land. Seeing Li Changqing's thoughtfulness, Chu Xuan put away the small cross-domain vessel he had been holding. After all, the speed was comparable, and since assistance was being offered, why refuse? Thank you, Holy Master. We shall set forth now. After receiving the token and expressing his gratitude, Chu Xuan prepared to depart. His eagerness to witness the unfolding events was palpable. He feared that any delay might cause him to miss the iconic moment. Truly, he could not afford to overlook the saying, "Do not underestimate the impoverished youth." Why did it feel as though he had forgotten something? As he turned to leave, Li Changqing scratched his head. Even after the figures of Chu Xuan and Shen Ningbing vanished from sight, he could not recall. Oh well, perhaps there will be another opportunity to address it later. The expansive teleportation array was suddenly left desolate. In the next moment, the most sophisticated teleportation array in the city of 10,000 nations sprang to life. A man and a woman emerged from within. The woman, clad in a flowing black gown, exuded grace as her skirt billowed, her skin fairer than snow, and her figure enchanting. Her long black hair cascaded like a waterfall. She was breathtakingly beautiful, with brows like distant mountains dusted with frost, and eyes resembling a cold pool. Exuding an air of haughty elegance, akin to a timeless ice sculpture, the man was equally stunning. Dressed in white, he stood tall and straight as a pine. His features extraordinarily handsome, with sword-like brows arching into his temples and starry eyes glimmering with the brilliance of celestial bodies, seemingly containing boundless mysteries of the Tao. His silky black hair was casually tied back, his presence ethereal and graceful. Simply standing there, he was enough to captivate the ages. The arrival of the two caused a tremendous stir in the city of 10,000 nations, particularly as they had utilized the most advanced teleportation array. Wow, what a beautiful fairy. My heart is aflutter, and that young man is incredibly handsome. Sisterly, we are not a match. I have come to realize that I prefer men. Little girl, have you even considered if you are worthy? These two are clearly of great pedigree. How could a wild girl like you possibly aspire to reach such heights? Countless eyes were drawn to their exquisite features, instantly awestruck. Tears flowed unbidden from some, as their emotions overwhelmed them. Those with excessive words found their tears to be equally weighty. However, there are those who are infatuated and those who are troubled. Quickly return and remind the ungrateful descendants at home that a significant figure has arrived in the city. They must not act inappropriately. Otherwise, tonight they shall be buried beneath the earth. In the realm of fantasy, long-standing families generally possess a certain discernment. The moment they witnessed the teleportation array utilized by Chu Xuan, many influential individuals within the city of 10,000 nations understood that a formidable dragon had crossed the river. Moreover, the array employed was exclusive to the high-ranking members of the Taishan sacred land. This was no ordinary dragon, but an ancient colossal dragon. The individual who had come was undoubtedly beyond their means to provoke. In fact, the entirety of the city of 10,000 nations could not afford to offend him. The city of 10,000 nations serves as the heart of the 10,000 nations prefecture and is also a subordinate city of the Taishan sacred land. It is worth mentioning that this city was established by the Taishan sacred land for the better governance of the 10,000 nations prefecture. Long ago, this area was merely a wild and desolate corner known as the land of 10,000 nations. Even during the most illustrious eras of the past, no formidable beings beyond the rank of saint had ever emerged from this place. Were it not for the saints dispatched by the Taishan sacred land to maintain order, it would have truly become a barren wasteland. Apologies, dear junior brother. My elder brother was preoccupied and could not arrive in time to welcome you. A powerful figure emanating an overwhelming aura appeared before Chu Xuan just as he was curiously surveying the city of 10,000 nations. Upon sensing the presence of this individual, Shen Ningbing suddenly held her breath. This was a saint, a being who held absolute authority in this realm. Such an entity, even within the Taishan sacred land, was not to be taken lightly. Yet, this very existence displayed such humility in the presence of Chu Xuan, leaving Shun Ningbing perplexed. Her strength was insufficient, and she had not heard the last words spoken by Li Changqing. Thus, she remained unaware of the reasons behind this individual's fervent demeanor. Moreover, she was oblivious to the fact that Li Changqing had already employed a lethal summoning technique against this saint, directly issuing a stern warning. For every strand of hair lost from Chu Xian's junior nephew, you shall guard the nameless city for a year. The mere thought of the ominous and eerie creatures that surrounded the nameless city sent shivers down the saint's spine. Upon seeing Chu Xuan, he hastily approached, fearing for the safety of his counterpart. Chapter 21. There is a reason why villains enjoy flattery. Elderly. Your city of 10,000 nations possesses quite the rustic charm, Chu Xuan remarked with a smile, observing the earnest passers-by as he stepped out of the teleportation array alongside Shun Ningbing, addressing the saint who had come to greet him. Simultaneously, he activated the system to check the individual's profile. Name: Li Jingyu. Age: 1932. Cultivation: Early Saint Realm. Attributes: Saintly Presence, purple. Array Genius, blue. When he arrived, Li Changqing had informed him that the guardian saint of the Wanhua city was a distant relative of his. The individual possessed commendable talent and a solid understanding of formations, which should have allowed him to remain within the sacred grounds. However, for reasons unknown, he proactively requested a transfer to oversee Wanhua city. This guardianship has persisted for several centuries. As long as there are no confrontations with Chu Shitzi, it seems these unruly commoners dare not act rashly, likely subdued by Chu Shitzi's regal aura. Indeed, Chu Xian Shitzi is truly the most exceptional genius in the history of our Taishan sacred land. Not to mention, this Li Jingyu possesses a certain artistic flair in his speech. With just a few words, he has managed to elevate Chu Xian's spirits. It is no wonder that so many antagonists become enamored by flattery. When one speaks so sweetly while embodying such a humble demeanor, who could possibly remain unaffected? Yet, the current inaction of these individuals does not guarantee future tranquility. Contemplating this, Chu Xian's gaze shifted towards Shun Ningbing beside him. It is well known that the children of destiny often attract trouble. Even if Shun Ningbing does nothing, complications tend to come her way uninvited. Chu Xuan recalls that her family resides near Wanhua Prefecture. Perhaps upon their return, they might encounter provocations directed at her. However, that is a matter for another time. At present, the priority is to fetch the new junior sister. Chu Xuan reined in his wandering thoughts and turned to Li Jingyu. Master Uncle, may I inquire if the teleportation array to the Yin Kingdom is still operational? We require its use. Please hold for a moment, Shitzi. I shall arrange for the space to be cleared immediately, Li Jingyu replied respectfully, before turning to make the necessary arrangements. As Li Jingyu uttered the term Shitzi, the number of onlookers around them had already increased significantly. Shitzi, this individual is actually the disciple of Saint Li? Does that not imply that he is at least a true inheritor? Observing Lord Li's respectful demeanor, it is clear that this individual's master holds an exceedingly formidable status, likely at the level of an ancestral figure. Otherwise, Saint Li would not be so deferential. I suspected as much. This person's extraordinary presence could not belong to the ordinary. Who would have imagined he is a true inheritor of our sacred grounds? It is fortunate that I hastily sent a message back. The beauty accompanying this true inheritor could easily attract trouble for my ungrateful descendants if not warned. As the sole saint within Wanhua city, Li Jingyu's commands were highly authoritative. Just as the crowd was still in astonishment, Li Jingyu had already prepared the teleportation array. Upon entering the teleportation array, Chu Xuan and Shun Ningbing were still perceptible to Li Jingyu, whose senses detected two concealed, yet formidable auras. Moreover, these two presences were strikingly familiar, emanating the unique essence of the Taishan sacred land. They were the great saints from within the sacred domain. Just as Li Jingyu was about to utter a word, one of the great saints raised a finger to his lips, signaling him to remain silent. Consequently, Li Jingyu had no choice but to obediently observe the operation of the teleportation array. Once the auras of the few individuals had completely vanished, he finally exhaled in relief. Having just reached the divine fire realm, to be accompanied by a great saint as a protector upon his departure indicated the sacred land's significant regard for this Chu Xuan. Indeed, possessing such an extraordinary demeanor, this youth was undoubtedly exceptional. In truth, Li Jingyu understood that this was no ordinary level of attention. Achieving divinity and already being accompanied by a great saint was unprecedented in the annals of the sacred land's history. It could be said that, in the eyes of the higher echelons of the sacred land, this youth was surely destined to attain the title of emperor. As the astonishing brilliance of the teleportation array extinguished, Li Jingyu's anxious heart finally found tranquility. He genuinely feared that some overzealous entity might have acted recklessly in that moment. Although it would not jeopardize Chu Xuan's safety, it would utterly tarnish his reputation within the sacred land. Initially, due to his ardent, infatuated behavior in seeking to remain stationed in this desolate locale, the Li family had already lost face within the sacred domain. Now, should any further incident arise, it was likely that his cousin, the Holy Master, would truly erupt in fury. There is often a rationale behind the high costs associated with certain matters. For instance, this teleportation array, which required over 100,000 top-tier yuan crystals to activate, had transported Chu Xuan and his companion to the Yin Kingdom in a mere 15 minutes. The Yin Kingdom is not among the weakest nations in the myriad states. Through the diligent efforts of dozens of monarchs, it has evolved from a mere speck of land into a somewhat larger speck of territory. No jest. In the eyes of the Taishan sacred land, this is indeed the case. Although the Yin Kingdom now spans nearly 10,000 miles with a population in the tens of millions, it is still, in the perspective of the Taishan sacred land, an unequivocal speck. This is not only true for the Yin Kingdom. Even the largest kingdom in the myriad states holds a similar standing. In this fantastical realm, the impact of a singular supreme being far exceeds that of countless weaker individuals combined. The Taishan Sacred Lands office in the Yin Kingdom had several officials respectfully standing behind an elder steward, patiently awaiting the illumination of the teleportation array. They had just received news of the arrival of two distinguished guests from the sacred land, one of whom was the true disciple of a certain mysterious ancestor. Although they were unaware of the identity of this enigmatic ancestor, the information came from Saint Li. Saint Li is a distant relative of the current Holy Master and possesses first-hand knowledge. His words cannot be mistaken. Upon hearing the news, the presiding elder promptly summoned everyone from the office. He emphasized repeatedly the significance of Chu Xuan, cautioning against those who might have grown accustomed to their own authority and inadvertently offended him. Recently, I had the privilege of meeting Chu Xuan, who was indeed charming and exuded an undeniable charisma. What splendor might Chu Xuan display this time? The anticipation is palpable. Let us not dwell on trivialities, but patiently await the events to unfold. Regardless, this is the true inheritance of the sacred land, a presence we can only admire from afar. As whispers circulated among the crowd, the intricate patterns of the teleportation array began to glow. With a resonant and profound sound echoing, two figures materialized atop the array. Upon seeing the pair of youthful figures, the disciples who came to greet them were utterly mesmerized. They were simply breathtaking. The portrait held by the elder was already striking, yet it paled in comparison to their real-life splendor. Furthermore, the aura emanating from Chu Xuan was astonishingly exquisite, beyond mere words. As soon as Chu Xuan made his entrance, everyone instinctively lowered their heads, placing themselves in a humble position. For, in the presence of Chu Xuan, merely gazing upon him invoked a sense of inferiority, as if he were an immortal being. Senior brother, the Yin Kingdom has arrived. Chapter 22. The classic marriage withdrawal flow. One can only say that Chu Xuan's fortune remains favorable. At the very least, his long-anticipated marriage withdrawal has just begun. In Baiyun City of the Yin Kingdom, several flying vessels adorned with dragon motifs floated gracefully in the sky, capturing the attention of countless onlookers. Is that not the royal family's flowing cloud ship? How did it come to be here? Judging by the flags, it seems to belong to the fifth prince. Could it be that he has come to visit his fiancée? I suspect he is here to initiate a marriage withdrawal. That woman surnamed Xiao is now nothing but a waste, and her valiant grandfather, the former pillar of the nation, has already passed away. What qualifications does she have to marry the fifth prince? Indeed, a waste who has stagnated at the perfection of body refinement for 2 years dares to aspire to such heights. They ought to reflect upon their own worth. By the way, have you heard? The fifth prince seems to have joined the Tianlan sect. I wonder if his visit has their endorsement? In Baiyun City, there are certainly those well-informed individuals who whisper among themselves as they observe the scene. Two figures descended from the flying vessel and subsequently entered the Xiao family residence. Inside the grand hall of the Xiao family, Xiao Heping wore a grim expression. Your Highness, what does this mean? Anyone faced with a marriage withdrawal would not bear a pleasant countenance. Moreover, for the Xiao family, once a beacon of brilliance, this was particularly disheartening. The Xiao family has long-standing ties with the imperial Qin family of the Yin Kingdom. Furthermore, the previous clan leader, Xiao Shanzhan, was one of the most legendary figures in the Yin Kingdom, having devoted his life to military endeavors, elevating the kingdom from a mediocre state to its present esteemed stature. Indeed, he truly raised it. Xiao Shanzhan single-handedly conquered 3 nations of equal strength, incorporating them all into the territory of the Yin Kingdom. Subsequently, With the military forces at his disposal, resolutely repel the coveted Upper Kingdom from the gates of the Yan Kingdom. With such illustrious military achievements, Xiao Shanzhan ascended to the title of the White Cloud Marquis of Yan. However, due to the stipulation that outsiders could not inherit the throne, the current head of the Xiao family, Xiao Heping, holds the mere title of a marquis. Yet, behind Xiao Heping stood a young maiden of breathtaking beauty, whose countenance displayed no hint of emotion, as if the matter at hand bore no relevance to her. Since the White Cloud Marquis is aware of my intentions, why feign ignorance? Remarked the fifth prince, Chu Xuan, with an air of superiority, his gaze inadvertently drifting toward the maiden who was meant to be his. Indeed, she was a stunning beauty, her visage capable of overshadowing all others even within the imperial harem. Regrettably, she was but a wasted talent, unable to cultivate throughout her lifetime. Nonetheless, Chu Xuan was unwilling to relinquish such a captivating figure. To have her as a concubine in the palace would not be a poor arrangement. Moreover, with such an imbalanced status, he could indulge in more excessive pursuits. The despairing beauty of her countenance would undoubtedly be alluring. However, for the sake of his future, he could not act upon such desires. He was already betrothed to the granddaughter of the ancestor of the Tianlan sect. Although that woman was an authentically square figure, she was the granddaughter of a true first-realm powerhouse. Her status far surpassed that of the flower vase before him. The esteemed ancestor had promised him that once married, he would be taken under his wing as a true disciple of the Tianlan sect. That was the Tianlan sect, a superpower boasting a true first-realm cultivator. Even if the Yan Kingdom ascended to an upper kingdom, its strongest cultivators were merely at the golden body stage. If he could attain this true disciple status, Chu Xuan would genuinely transcend social classes, with a future shining bright ahead. For his future, Chu Xuan gladly accepted the marriage proposal. As for Xiao Yuyan, born of a mundane family, she naturally became a mere tool for him to display his affections. Your Highness, is this the Emperor's will, or your own decision? Xiao Heping inquired coldly. I have already informed my father. He has no objections, Chu Xuan replied, maintaining his condescending demeanor. This arrangement had been orchestrated by his grandfather. And with Xiao Yuyan now deemed a waste, how could she be worthy of the prince? Chu Xuan glared in frustration at the quietly standing Xiao Yuyan. He seethed, pondering why she remained so composed. The thought of becoming the partner of that portly figure, engaging in insincere flattery and uttering disingenuous words, only fueled his resentment. He even felt an impulse to secretly confine Xiao Yuyan, subjecting her to relentless torment and humiliation. How could it be that he could not enjoy such exquisite beauty? Feeling the gaze of Chu Xuan upon her, Xiao Yuyan's tranquil visage finally betrayed a hint of turmoil. She sensed the venomous resentment in his eyes. Initially, she bore no strong objections to the dissolution of their engagement. Chu Xuan was correct. This predicament stemmed from the entanglements of previous generations. She had never intended to be ensnared by this so-called betrothal. Even if Chu Xuan had not appeared, she would have sought to annul the engagement in the imperial capital in due course. However, her methods would certainly be far more tactful than those of Chu Xuan. At the very least, she would not humiliate the Chun royal family. Contemplating this, her gaze turned colder. Within her mind, the voice of the stone talisman echoed with fury. Gan Linliang, does this insufferable fifth prince truly possess any sense? How dare this toad presume to judge my dear sister? Absolutely not. I shall ensure this wretched creature meets a fitting end. Hearing such brazen vitriol, Xiao Yuyan felt exasperated. Sister Jiao, do not be angered. I can handle this matter adeptly. Since His Highness the fifth prince is so resolute, my Xiao family shall not suffer further indignity. She spoke calmly, her expression inscrutable, betraying neither joy nor anger. As for the annulment, my family agrees. This is our marriage contract, and it shall be incinerated this very moment. With that, Xiao Yuyan produced the contract and cast it into the flames before her. From this day forth, let us part ways, unencumbered by ties. Her words were resolute. Echoing firmly in the air, the contract, being of mundane material, was swiftly reduced to ash in the fire. Such a decisive action left the elders of Tianlan sect, accompanying Chu Xuan, momentarily speechless. Observing the ashes in the furnace, Chu Xuan exhaled a sigh of relief. At long last, the greatest obstacle to his ambitions had vanished. From this moment onward, he could cling to that hefty leg, prospering in both cultivation and status, ascending to the pinnacle of life. It seems this waste possesses some discernment after all. Agreeing so readily has saved me considerable effort. Little fool, I quite admire your decisive action. Chu Xuan laughed boisterously, his demeanor unabashedly arrogant. However, your attitude does not please me in the slightest. Freed from the constraints of the engagement, Chu Xuan finally allowed his twisted heart to surface. He regarded the Xiao family, his gaze landing on the impassive Xiao Yuyan, A sinister smile crept across his face. Elder Wu, eliminate them all. Leave not a single one of the Shao family standing. Chapter 23. Chu Xuan. Where is the promised Emperor Yin template? Why has it transformed into Lin Dong? As you command. The elder standing beside Chun Yunshan cupped his hands in respect. In truth, even without Chun Yunshan's orders, he would have acted in accordance with the wishes of the young lady. The young lady remarked that her esteemed ancestor had always placed great importance on reputation, and naturally would not allow her, as a granddaughter, to become a source of ridicule. Hence, the Shao family and the Tianlan sect would never be spared. Elder Wu, unconcerned with the veracity of the command, understood that his sole responsibility was to execute it. A diminutive family within a minor kingdom, a host of insignificant ants, should they perish, it would be of little consequence. Even if the order were fabricated, he would face no more than a few reproaches afterward. With a thunderous roar, Elder Wu stepped forth. Ascending to the heavens, dark clouds swiftly enveloped him, and thunder rumbled ominously. The sky, stretching for hundreds of miles, was suddenly shrouded in darkness. The city of Baiyun fell into a somber gloom, overshadowed by the oppressive black clouds and the fearsome crack of thunder. In an instant, the entire Shao family was engulfed in panic. What level of power is this? How is there no room for resistance? This will surely spell doom for the Shao family. This individual is truly terrifying. Given such a cataclysmic display, could it possibly endanger the entire Baiyun city? Within Baiyun city, countless individuals gazed at the sky infused with an aura of destruction, their hearts shattered with dread. As a small city whose highest realm was merely the transformation stage, they had never encountered such a formidable force. High above, Elder Wu surveyed the chaotic throngs below. A sense of satisfaction surging within him. He reveled in the thrill of wielding power over others' lives. This inclination stemmed from his own origins. As a child, he had survived a massacre of cultivators. That was the moment he first grasped the might of true power. As he matured and attained his own cultivation, he exacted vengeance upon his enemies. Yet, he too had followed the path of his foes. There was an unparalleled exhilaration in casually determining the fates of others, in whimsically toying with their hopes. The intoxicating feeling of being above all, of holding dominion over everything, was utterly captivating. Elder Wu did not hasten to act, but rather allowed the storm clouds to descend gradually. He wished to savor the exquisite tableau of despair beneath this apocalyptic sky, where the masses cried out in anguish. Observing the myriad of fleeing, pleading ants below, his delight reached its zenith. It was as if he were the sole sovereign of this realm at that very moment. Within the Shao family, as they felt the weight of the heavens pressing down, Shao Yuyin's consciousness was overwhelmed by a cascade of warnings. Damn it! A sevenfold golden body. How could such a larger ant appear here? Sister, your current realm is too low. I can only aid you once. Should I confront this old wretch or assist you in escaping? The voice in her mind presented Shao Yuyin with a dilemma. However, she hesitated not. I must eliminate this old wretch. Gritting her teeth, she made her decision. I cannot forsake my family. The choice of the young girl elicited no surprise within her mind. This encapsulates her character and elucidates her reason for selecting the girl before her. Had Shao Yuyin chosen to live in solitude, she would have scorned that very girl. Fear not, I shall take care of everything, she reassured. Sister, relax your mind and surrender your body to me. I will manage all matters for you. However, I may lapse into a deep slumber for a while. Do not worry, I shall awaken. During my slumber, do not place your trust in others, without my vigilance. You might find yourself betrayed without even realizing it. Shao Yuyin felt an inexplicable lightness wash over her, rendering her entire body uncontrollable. All she could do was quietly observe her form in motion and diligently heed the advice echoing in her mind. Though her acquaintance with Sister Jiao was brief, they had already formed a bond akin to that of sisters. In the next moment, Shao Yuyin raised her head to gaze at the tumultuous clouds above. Her eyes ablaze with fury. Damn you! Just as I regained a modicum of strength, you intend to drain it away again. I shall deliver a fierce blow in return. You old dog, I shall remember you. I will certainly storm that so-called Tianlan sect and leave none alive. As a princess of the nine-tailed celestial fox lineage, untainted by worldly knowledge, Sister Jiao was now incensed. Great desolation rending claw. A brilliant glow erupted from Shao Yuyin's hand. Shatter for me. With a swift motion, a flash of white light surged forth, piercing through the endless storm clouds above. The dark clouds dissipated in an instant, revealing a clear sky once more. As if the preceding chaos had merely been an illusion. What just happened? Was I dreaming? In White Cloud City, countless individuals stood in stunned silence, including the two practitioners in the sky. Chu Xuan remarked, what? Where is the promised Yin Emperor template? Why has it transformed into Lin Wuzhou? Great desolation rending claw, leaving none behind, utterly uncouth. Are you certain this isn't Lin Dong's reincarnation? Shen Ningbing added, Senior brother, why do I feel that this junior sister is a bit wild? It's quite sudden, to say the least. The anticipated phrase, do not mock the youth for their poverty, has vanished, replaced by a vulgar, unruly girl. Chu Xuan's emotions were somewhat conflicted. However, the situation below was even more intricate. In the sky, Elder Wu, witnessing his attack easily thwarted, immediately became alert. Who dares to challenge me? I am an elder of the Tianlan sect, sent by Ancestor Ding to carry out a mission. Do not misjudge yourself. He could hardly believe that it was the handiwork of the young girl he had just encountered, understanding that the assailant possessed far greater strength than himself. He hastily invoked the name of the Tianlan sect in hopes of intimidating the adversary. After speaking, he began to summon a more formidable attack, one whose power surpassed his previous attempt. If the recent attack was akin to dark clouds overshadowing the city, then this assault is nothing short of cataclysmic. Elder Wu harbored no concerns regarding the opponent's potential for further aggression. Historically, whenever he uttered such words, victory was almost assured. This was largely attributed to the fact that Elder Ding was the sole true first-tier expert among the more than 10 kingdoms in the vicinity. The mere mention of Elder Ding's name would instill caution, even in the most audacious of adversaries. However, this time, an unexpected turn of events unfolded. Rest assured. Leave it to me, said Xiao Yuyan, her voice soothing as she dissipated the radiant light in her hand, calmly observing the impending assault from above. Nonetheless, Elder Wu's attack was once again thwarted. A brilliant sword light cleaved through the air, resembling a startled swan, instantly piercing the colossal hand looming in the sky. Who could it be? Elder Wu, consumed by a mix of fury and astonishment, scanned the heavens, desperately seeking the source of the strike. Soon enough, he identified it. In the sky appeared a lavish flying vessel, resplendent in gold and jade, a stark contrast to Chun Yunshan's dilapidated craft. In an instant, several figures descended from the opulent vessel. Elder Wu's face turned ashen as he regarded them, stating, Esteemed sir, we are from Tianlan. However, he abruptly fell silent. For at the end of the group, he spotted an individual he could not provoke. Not just him. The entire Tianlan sect dared not cross this person. Such a figure Elder Wu had only glimpsed from afar during a grand celebration in the Wanghua city, where this individual had presided over the event. Moreover, this person was backed by the supreme authority of the Tai Xian Dao domain, the most formidable among the sacred grounds of the 9 heavens and 10 earths. The Tai Xian sacred ground. Senior brother, how should we handle this? Asked Shen Ningbing, retracting her sword intent. She had just neutralized Elder Wu's second assault. Although she had merely just entered the embryonic stage, she found it effortless to contend with a golden body realm practitioner in a corner. It would not be an exaggeration to say that she could easily defeat 10 of Elder Wu's kind, who achieved their status through opportunism. Let us hold off for now, and allow junior sister to take action personally. Chu Xuan replied calmly, extending his hand with a gentle gesture, immobilizing both Chun Yunshan and Elder Wu in midair. The two gradually descended, arriving at the Xiao family residence. I, Xiao Heping, express my deepest gratitude for your assistance, esteemed sirs. Xiao Heping immediately bowed in thanks to Chu Xuan, his elderly eyes brimming with tears. Thank you, both of you. The other members of the Xiao family also bowed in earnest gratitude to Chu Xuan and Shen Ningbing, including Xiao Yuyan, whose body was still under the control of Ninth Sister. Chapter 24, Elder Wu. All is lost. Utterly lost. In the gaze of Xiao Yuyan, there lingered a hint of suspicion as she looked at Chu Xuan. Although the man before her was exceptionally handsome, unmatched even among the Qingxiu Fox clan, her years of hardship and treachery had rendered her reluctant to place her trust in anyone easily, save for the enigmatic woman she had previously encountered. Principally, she wished to remain skeptical. However, upon witnessing the peak of Saint King cultivation displayed by him, she recognized that the balance of principles lay in his hands. Who might this young master be? Xiao Yuyan inquired softly, her demeanor suggestive of shyness. Her beauty was already striking, with a slender figure, fair and delicate features, crescent-shaped brows, and clear eyes. She exuded an aura of fragility that could stir the deepest sentiments of affection even in women. Anyone who beheld her would undoubtedly exclaim, "What a breathtaking beauty, one who evokes a sense of pity. You must be our Xiao Yuyan, the junior sister?" Before Chu Xuan could speak, Shen Ningbing stepped forward, offering a gentle smile to Xiao Yuyan. On their journey, Chu Xuan had already informed her of the general circumstances surrounding this junior sister, allowing Shen Ningbing to deduce that the woman before her was indeed her little sister, although in her previous life she had no such junior disciples. This reincarnation evidently bore peculiarities, including an unanticipated elder brother, making the presence of several junior sisters quite reasonable. Upon hearing Shen Ningbing's words, Elder Wu in the sky felt a sudden jolt in his heart. Oh no, this is bad. The The respect shown by a senior official of the Tai-Xian Holy Land towards these two must indicate their formidable status. Their aura suggested that they were undoubtedly core disciples of the Tai-Xian Holy Land. Such esteemed individuals were almost certain to become formidable, true One Realm experts in the future. A true One from the Holy Land alone could easily crush the entire Tianlan sect. One could hardly argue that their elders were also true ones. The disparity between a rogue true One and one from the Holy Land was insurmountable. The abilities wielded by those from the Holy Land were of a caliber that even the ancestors of their sect had never encountered. Simply meeting them would compel their own ancestors to kneel in submission. This exemplifies the overwhelming dominance that major powers exert over rogue cultivators. It appeared that these two eminent figures from the Tai-Xian Holy Land might even be acquainted with Xiao Yuyan. Alas, at that moment, Elder Wu fervently prayed to all deities within his heart, yearning for a negative response. However, the answer that emerged from Xiao Yuyan's lips plunged him into despair. "The young lady is indeed Xiao Yuyan," she replied timidly, her voice a soft murmur that tugged at the hearts of others, leaving them with an exquisite sensation. For some unknown reason, witnessing Xiao Yuyan's delicate and frail beauty stirred a sense of urgency within Shen Ningbing. Her eyes brimmed with vigilance, as if she regarded this junior sister as a formidable adversary. There exists a charming and alluring junior sister, a green tea enchantress. How could the foolish Chu Xuan possibly resist her allure? The mere thought of Chu Xuan and Xiao Yuyan entwined together in the future fills Shen Ningbing with an unbearable sense of discontent. A wave of frustration rises within her. After all, I was the one who arrived first. No, as the esteemed second senior sister, I must uphold the integrity of Feilai Peak. You are precisely what our master described. Before Xiao Yuyan could finish her statement, Shen Ningbing's voice abruptly interrupted her. Ha ha, junior sister Xiao, we have finally found you. Indeed, we are your elder brother and second senior sister. Come forth and acknowledge us. With that, she unceremoniously pulled Xiao Yuyan to stand before Chu Xuan. Address him as elder brother. Greetings, elder brother Chu. The girl earnestly performed a respectful bow to Chu Xuan, then spoke with deference. At this moment, Xiao Yuyan's ninth sister had returned to the stone talisman, her body now under Xiao Yuyan's own control. This astonishing scene caused both Elder Wu and Chen Yunshan to change their expressions dramatically. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. My good sir, have you mistaken this individual? This wretched girl possesses such meager talents. She has exhausted her potential. How could she possibly qualify to enter the sacred land? Chen Yunshan exclaimed in a fluster, desperately belittling Xiao Yuyan in an attempt to tarnish her image in the eyes of the two prominent figures. Although he was unaware of the identities of the striking pair before him, he was determined to sever any association between them and Xiao Yuyan. Furthermore, this was Chen Yunshan's genuine sentiment. In his eyes, Xiao Yuyan's 3 months of rigorous training to achieve body refinement was merely a result of depleting her potential, aimed solely at securing the status of a royal consort to bolster the Xiao family's position. Since the passing of the venerable Xiao Shanzhan, the family's strength had plummeted. Resorting to deceitful tactics to maintain their status was not uncommon in the realm of Wanghua Prefecture. Elder Wu harbored similar doubts, but dared not voice them. For he understood the vast disparity in status between the parties involved. This was not a matter in which he could interject. Nevertheless, Chu Xuan paid no heed to Chen Yunshan's words, merely gazing at Xiao Yuyan with a satisfied nod. Indeed, quite remarkable. She is a fine prospect. Name: Xiao Yuyan. Age: 17. Cultivation: body refinement 9th level. Attributes: Emperor's aura, gold. Supreme alchemy, gold. Favor of the Tao, red. Supreme alchemy: a naturally gifted alchemist. Her talent is unparalleled. With minimal effort, she can become the most formidable master alchemist, receiving additional enhancements in alchemy. Perhaps she could even elevate alchemy to an art form. Favor of the Tao: blessed by the heavenly Tao, her fortune is extraordinary. She transforms misfortune into fortune, consistently avoiding perilous situations, an ultimate embodiment of luck. Her divinations never yield ill omens. Such a vivid display of crimson cannot be disregarded. Moreover, this junior sister possesses an exceptionally terrifying talent for alchemy. It appears that the elixirs from Feilai Peak will no longer be a source of concern. Upon encountering such a promising entry, Chu Xuan immediately took action. System activate. Copy successful. Loading. Entry loaded successfully. Take a moment to bid farewell to your family. Soon, you shall embark on your journey of cultivation upon the mountain, Chu Xuan remarked, gently patting Xiao Yuyan's shoulder in a soothing manner. Hearing his words, Xiao Yuyan's cheeks flushed crimson, and she lowered her head as she returned to her father's side. Throughout the entire exchange, none of them acknowledged Chen Yunshan's intentions. Realizing the futility of his efforts, Chen Yunshan understood that he could not sway Xiao Yiyin today. However, while she may escape, can the Xiao family elude his grasp? These individuals cannot shield the Xiao family indefinitely. In due time, he would dispatch others to annihilate them completely. After all, he was on the verge of becoming the direct disciple of the esteemed ancestor of the Tianlan sect. Humph. Elder Wu, let us depart. Chen Yunshan scoffed. Sweeping his sleeve as he prepared to leave, Elder Wu hastily followed suit, aware that lingering here served no purpose. It would be prudent to retreat and avoid the impending turmoil. Yet, would they truly be able to escape? Elder Wu's eyelids twitched ominously. Indeed, in the next moment, both of them collided with an invisible barrier. To treat our junior sister in such a manner and still wish to depart? Do you hold yourselves in such high regard? A chilling voice resonated, its tone akin to celestial melodies, captivating yet imbued with an icy aura that plunged one into despair. Chapter 25. The Might of Shun Ningbing. A mere gold body, severed with a single strike. To bully my junior sister and contemplate leaving unscathed? Do you truly overestimate your own significance? Shun Ningbing declared coldly, an overwhelming sense of coldness enveloping the entire Xiao family. Although she had lost her cultivation, the aura of authority she had cultivated in her past life remained unyielding. The sheer intent to kill she emanated caused the temperature within the Xiao family to plummet drastically. As the primary targets of this murderous intent, Chen Yunshan and Elder Wu trembled uncontrollably, nearly collapsing to the ground. In that moment, both were left to ponder the origins of this formidable presence. Ha ha, what do you intend to do next? Overwhelmed by terror, Chen Yunshan resorted to the most plausible means of survival. I am the direct disciple and grandson-in-law of the ancestor of the Tianlan sect. If you possess the courage, then come and slay me. He feigned composure, laughing boisterously as he invoked his powerful connections. Within the royal mindset, this was deemed the most viable path to survival. Alas, this tactic bore no weight against the formidable group before him. Elder Wu, witnessing this spectacle, understood that Chen Yunshan had acted foolishly. It is essential to remember that they were individuals from the Tai Xian Holy Land. In the eyes of the Tai Xian Holy Land, the Tianlan sect held no significance whatsoever. Although Elder Wu was unaware of the identities of the man and woman, he was acutely aware of the status of the servant behind them. That individual was a high-ranking steward of the Tai Xian Holy Land in the city of 10,000 nations. Even the ancestral figure of his own family would regard such a person with utmost respect. To command such deference from a high steward, one must at the very least be a core disciple of the Tai Xian Holy Land, particularly one with substantial backing. Core disciples of the Tai Xian Holy Land need not fear a practitioner of the true One Realm. Such apprehension is clearly unwarranted. Not only would the ancestral figure remain silent in the presence of these individuals, but even if he were present, he would have no choice but to endure in silence. It was merely a matter of Elder Chen Yunshan's lack of discernment that led him to fail in recognizing the sovereign behind the city of 10,000 nations. Yet, one cannot entirely fault Chen Yunshan. After all, Elder Wu had only visited the city of 10,000 nations once in his lifetime despite having reached the Golden Body Realm. How could Chen Yunshan have had the opportunity to go? My lord, I was compelled by him, Chen Yunshan exclaimed. He threatened me, leveraging his position as the grandson-in-law of Elder Ding, saying that if I did not comply, he would have the elder render me powerless. It was under duress that I acted. I implore you, show mercy and spare my life. Before Chen Yunshan could fully process the situation, Elder Wu had already knelt on the ground, prostrating himself 80 times. While bowing, he shifted all the blame onto Chen Yunshan in a desperate attempt to save his own life. Just moments ago, he had been a fierce figure clamoring for the destruction of the entire city, but now he had transformed into a pitiful dog, wagging its tail in supplication. The stark contrast of this scene was profoundly impactful. Xiao Heping rubbed his eyes, questioning whether he was hallucinating. The once imposing Chen Yunshan now seemed utterly bewildered. What had transpired? How had Elder Wu so readily betrayed him? Could it be that these individuals truly hailed from an overwhelming force? Before Chen Yunshan could interrogate Elder Wu, the high steward behind Chu Xuan addressed his concerns. Heh, the Tianlan sect? What audacity! How dare they insult a disciple of the Tai Xian Holy Land? A grandson-in-law of a true One Realm expert? Do you think we, the Chu family, would hesitate to strike him down? Why don't you contact that Ding fellow and inquire if he dares to act insolently before me? Su Wuyo. The steward, Su Wuyo, remarked with a cold chuckle. He had originally come to the Yin Kingdom for a vacation, only to be summoned by Old Li to assist Chu Xuan with his affairs. At this declaration, the atmosphere fell into a deep silence. Countless individuals stood frozen in place, their minds echoing with thunderous disbelief. What? The Tai Xian Holy Land. That is the unassailable sovereign of this land. Not only does the Tianlan sect pale in comparison, But even the entirety of the city of 10,000 nations collectively would not be worthy of serving the Tai Xian Holy Land. Su Wuyo was notorious in the city of 10,000 nations as the iron-faced Yama. In recent years, he had personally eradicated numerous sects and nations harboring rebellious intentions across the regions of the city of 10,000 nations. It turns out that these two individuals are disciples of the Tai Xian Sacred Land, which explains much. However, since they are indeed disciples of the Tai Xian Sacred Land, does that not imply that Xiao Yuyan is also one of them? In an instant, the gazes of countless individuals towards the Xiao family transformed. What was once a desire to bite into them with contempt swiftly morphed into loyal flattery and obsequiousness. Yet, there was an even more profound transformation. Thud. With a resounding sound, Chu Xuan knelt down, bowing his head as he crawled forward in an attempt to reach Xiao Yuyan. My lady, I was wrong. I was forced into this. Please spare me. It was all that old ancestor Ding's coercion. I never wished to sever ties with Yuyan. However, that old ancestor Ding threatened that if I did not annul the engagement, he would personally wash the Xiao family in blood. I am utterly powerless. I despise my own weakness, knowing the truth, yet unable to resist. Yuyan, I have always held affection for you. I have cherished you all this time. Can you truly bear to witness your fiancé perish? If it concerns you, I can wed you at this very moment. Without hesitation, Chu Xuan cast aside his support, continually invoking their past affections in hopes of bargaining for his life. He even foolishly entertained the notion of clinging to Xiao Yuyan's favor. Had it been the old Xiao Yuyan, she might have indeed granted him a chance at survival. Alas, the current Xiao Yuyan harbored a ruthless soul within her mind. Sister Jiao, has this girl already softened her heart? That simply won't do. A long sigh echoed in Xiao Yuyan's mind. In the next moment, her body was forcibly taken over. There was no alternative. This girl was far too young and tender-hearted, utterly unaware of the depths to which these cultivators would sink to survive. Such merciless decisions were better left to her elder sister. However, I distinctly observed your enjoyment when you just issued that command. Your joyful demeanor bore no trace of coercion. Xiao Yuyan coldly remarked, severing Chu Xuan's last glimmer of hope. Sister, how do you intend to deal with them? Shen Ningbing inquired. After all, this matter pertained to her junior sister, and it would be wise to respect her opinion. Even though it was clear that these two could not possibly survive. Kill them, Xiao Yuyan stated indifferently, her tone reminiscent of deciding the fate of mere weeds. For a fleeting moment, Shen Ningbing felt a strange illusion that the figure before her was not a mere 16 or 17-year-old girl, but a formidable demon capable of mass slaughter. Yet, even so, it mattered little. With her presence, no storm could arise. Upon hearing Xiao Yuyan's emotionless declaration, Chu Xuan and Elder Wu's faces turned ashen. In an instant, they transformed into flashes of light, attempting to flee the scene. However, a streak of sword light was swifter. Whoosh! A silvery light pierced the vast sky, leaving behind a slender trail reminiscent of blood. 100 zhang away, Chu Xuan and Elder Wu clutched their throats, their eyes fixated on Shen Ningbing, filled with profound despair. How could someone so young possess such formidable strength? Chapter 26, Chu Xuan mused. Ah, I am benevolent. Let me simply extinguish a clan. Elder Wu was bewildered, unable to comprehend why, after arduous training for 8 centuries, he still fell short against the sword of the girl before him. It was evident that her aura emanated only from the 3rd stage of the Foundation establishment, while he stood at the 7th stage of the Golden Body. The disparity between them spanned an entire realm. Was this truly the chasm separating the ordinary from the prodigious? Humph! How can an ant comprehend the brilliance of the full moon? Shen Ningbing scoffed, sheathing her sword and turning her gaze towards her newly initiated junior sister. Her recent strike was also a warning to Xiao Yuyan. However, the emotions she anticipated to see in Xiao Yuyan's eyes were conspicuously absent. Sister, your prowess is extraordinary. That last strike was almost transcendental. Yet, rather than fear, a flicker of fervor ignited in Xiao Yuyan's eyes, as if she had finally discovered her purpose. Chu Xuan is astonishingly powerful. In stark contrast, a look of shock manifested on the face of Su Wuyo, the senior steward standing behind Shen Ningbing. At that moment, his eyelids twitched uncontrollably. He had never anticipated that Shen Ningbing, merely a month into her training, could possess the strength to effortlessly slay those of the Golden Body realm. It was important to note that prior to her initiation, this true disciple had only achieved the meridian opening stage. Now, she had transformed into a Foundation establishment cultivator, wielding the terrifying capability to defeat enemies of a higher realm. No wonder the esteemed Elder Faxian had chosen her. She was indeed formidable. If this junior sister was so fearsome, how terrifying must Chu Xuan, the first disciple of Elder Faxian, be? Contemplating this, Su Wuyo's gaze turned towards Chu Xuan. Chu Xuan, I have dispatched individuals to encircle the Tianlan sect and the royal family of the Yin Kingdom. Long before the arrival of the others, I had sent people ahead, and they have likely been surrounding them for quite a while. Chu Xuan would certainly not overlook Chen Yunshan's family or the Tianlan sect. He had no habit of leaving enemies behind. Chen Yunshan's audacity to come and call off the engagement indicated that his imperial father had tacitly approved. By this alone, the entire royal family had sealed their doom. It's merely a matter of extinguishing a clan, he declared. Indeed, well done, Chu Xuan replied with a nonchalant nod. This steward demonstrated keen insight, understanding precisely what needed to be done. No wonder he possessed a blue title. 8 Xiaoling, blue a social terror, meticulous in action. The best tool. Although it was a social type title, and he was more of a supporting character, Chu Xuan had no use for it. Junior sister. It would be wise for you to converse with your family before ascending the mountain, as opportunities to meet will become scarce, Chu Xuan gently remarked to Xiao Yuyan. Although the flying peak did not prohibit descending for familial visits, the passage of time in cultivation is unpredictable. A mere ordinary retreat may alter circumstances. Upon hearing this, Xiao Yuyan felt a tightening in her heart and quickly grasped her father's hand, sobbing incessantly. Clearly, for a blossoming young lady like her, such discussions of parting life and death weighed heavily. After a fleeting half-day, she reluctantly bid farewell to her father. Yuyan, there is no need for such sorrow. Did not Master Chu proclaim that there will be opportunities to return? Remember to dedicate yourself to your cultivation and not disappoint everyone's expectations. Now, we must depart. Her father, Xiao Heping, urged. Only when he insisted did Xiao Yuyan board the flying vessel, looking back multiple times. As the vessel activated, it vanished from the sight of the crowd in an instant. On the ground, countless onlookers gazed at this scene, their hearts a tumult of emotions. Send word. Prepare gifts immediately, for I shall visit the Xiao family. Not solely in Baiyan City, but numerous families throughout the entire Yin Kingdom made the same resolute decision at that moment. With Xiao Yuyan's presence, the rise of the Xiao family had become an unstoppable force. On the flying vessel, Xiao Yuyan stared at the 2 substantial storage rings in her hands, feeling a sense of disorientation. As a cultivator from a small town, she had never encountered such grand storage rings before. Junior sister, these are your welcoming gifts. Please accept them. Only upon hearing Chu Xuan's gentle voice did Xiao Yuyan snap back to reality. These are all for me, she exclaimed, her eyes gleaming with joy, curving into crescent shapes, unable to conceal the delight radiating from her gaze. In her mind, the voice of her 9th sister trembled with excitement. Is this the remnant of the pill god? And this, the millennium spiritual mushroom? And the ancient wood? The last name left Xiao Yuyan uncertain if her 9th sister was indeed cursing, given her usual decorum. After 2.5 days of interaction, Xiao Yuyan had developed a profound understanding of the spirit residing in her mind, her 9th sister. One could only conclude that while 9th sister appeared to be a wild fox, she was not only unruly but also illiterate. From her, Xiao Yuyan sensed an untainted innocence. Untouched by knowledge, the spirit within her mind truly lacked any semblance of refinement. Little girl, you are fortunate. These treasures are worth their weight in gold. Enough to purchase hundreds of kingdoms. With these, your myriad medicine divine body will soon awaken. When that time comes, paired with my ancestral alchemical secrets, you shall become the next emperor who attains enlightenment through alchemy. 9th sister flitted about in Xiao Yuyan's mind. Akin to a delighted child who had just received a cherished toy, 9 tails of the fox danced wildly, their cacophonous cries causing Xiao Yuyan an unbearable headache. Could it be that there is still a soul-nourishing powder? Has your master spoken of my existence to him? However, the moment she recalled that woman's terrifying prowess, Jiu Jia felt a sense of relief. Though both were sacred kings, that individual surpassed her in strength by leaps and bounds during her prime. Even with her physical form intact and the celestial fox bloodline fully awakened, Tu Shan Jiu did not believe she could contend with the other. To put it bluntly, should that individual strike her down, she would be begging for her life. Had it not been for the fact that the other recognized she harbored no malice towards Xiao Yuyan, her life would have been forfeit. Instead, her soul was bound to Xiao Yuyan's, tasked with guiding her in the future. Let us consider it a debt owed to this girl, after all. I awakened thanks to her power for all this time. In truth, Tu Shan Jiu was the very reason Xiao Yuyan had been unable to break through her cultivation in the past 2 years. Could this be a case of karma, a debt repaid? Deep within her soul, Tu Shan Jiu's eyes were profound as she murmured. Upon hearing the value of the storage ring in her hand, Xiao Yuyan hesitated to accept it. Senior brother and sister, these items are far too precious. I cannot. The pure-hearted Xiao Yuyan gazed at the vast wealth before her, speaking meekly. Junior sister, you must accept it. Shin Ningbing did not afford her the chance to refuse. Do not feel shy. Your senior brother is quite affluent. and he can easily part with a multitude of these items. Indeed, these items are not overly valuable. Junior sister, rest assured and accept them. Chu Xuan concurred. In truth, this was indeed the case. To him, these items were merely a drop in the ocean. Seeing the two insist with unwavering gazes, Xiao Yuyin obediently accepted the 2 storage rings. Do you possess a cultivation method? Shall we make a trip to the Hall of Inheritance? Chapter 27. The Fall of Tianlan Sect. At least you still have a chance to protect them, thank you, senior brother. I already possess a cultivation method called True Flame 9 Transformations, which was bestowed upon me by Jiujia. My master also said it is quite suitable for me. Xiao Yuyin responded with a mixture of surprise and reverence. She was unaware that her earlier words had entirely revealed the existence of another soul within her body. To this, Chu Xuan was not surprised in the least. After all, how could the Emperor of Flames template lack its own exclusive cultivation method? Thus, Chu Xuan had merely spoken casually. Since her master had already deemed it suitable for her, he saw no need to intervene. This method held little significance for him. The Tai Xian Jing was already one of the most powerful cultivation methods in all the realms. The path to invincibility lay beneath his feet. Why seek distant shores? As long as his junior sister was aware of her own capabilities, that was sufficient. Chu Xuan nodded in acknowledgement. By the way, junior sister, do you wish to witness the fate of the Tianlan sect and the Qin clan? In a spirit of respect, Chu Xuan inquired. Upon hearing his question, Xiao Yuyin discerned the underlying implication. It seemed that regardless of her choice to participate or abstain, the outcome for the other party was destined for obliteration. Thus, what difference would her presence make? As these thoughts traversed her mind, she was on the verge of declining. Yet, the enchanting voice of Tu Shan Jiujio interrupted her reverie. Sister, I wish to witness this. Please do not refuse me. Tu Shan Jiujio aimed to expose her naive sister to the harsh realities of cultivation. Xiao Yuyin had been sheltered like a flower in the greenhouse of the Xiao family. Although endowed with remarkable talent, she had never even harmed a chicken. Thus, her heart had wavered in compassion when faced with Chun Yunshan's pleas for mercy. Overwhelmed by her elder sister's insistence, Xiao Yuyin finally relented. Very well, let us go. Chu Xian's flying vessel was swift, and one might say the vast realm felt exceedingly small. No sooner had the words left his lips than they arrived at the imperial capital of the Yin kingdom within mere breaths. In the palace, several young men clad in the robes of the Tai Xian sacred ground were in a deep meditative state, their swords faintly humming. The essence of their sword intent coiling with latent power. It appeared that at a mere command, the entire palace would be cleansed in an instant. Upon sensing the aura of the flying vessel above, the young men rose to pay their respects. Long live the true inheritor. Upon hearing this title, the emperor of the Yin kingdom seated upon the dragon throne finally displayed a shift in countenance. True inheritor, spare me. The emperor, once lofty and imposing, now pleaded with profound humility, akin to a destitute elder stripped of all. However, the celestial figure aboard the vessel merely waved a hand with indifference, offering no response. In the next moment, the entire palace was engulfed in calamity, as dozens of princes perished on the spot. The emperor, who had just been bowing and begging for mercy, was suddenly rendered a mere dismembered corpse. On the vessel, Xiao Yuyin gazed upon this scene, her heart filled with sorrow. Yet, her eyes betrayed her will. Compelled to witness the unfolding horror. At that moment, her body was no longer under her control, having succumbed to Tu Shan Jiujio's influence. Sister Yuyin, do not perceive this as cruelty. You must understand, without me, without your master, those who perish today would be you and your entire Xiao family. The cold voice of Tu Shan Jiujio echoed within her consciousness, while a chilling voice also graced her ears. She instantly recognized it as her second sister, Shen Ningbing. This is the harsh reality of the cultivation world. Shen Ningbing gently placed a hand on Xiao Yuyin's shoulder and spoke softly. If you wish to spare your family from such a fate, then dedicate yourself to your training. At the very least, you will have the chance to protect them. With that, her eyes flickered, and she turned away, concealing her emotions from any onlookers. Upon hearing the chilling admonition from Shen Ningbing, which echoed the sentiments of the ninth sister, Xiao Yuyin felt a lump form in her throat. It was striking that a girl of similar age could articulate such frigid words. Clearly, this senior sister bore a tragically sorrowful past. In an instant, Xiao Yuyin conjured up countless tales of woe to embellish Shen Ningbing's backstory. The imagination of youth is undeniably astonishing. I understand now, second senior sister, Xiao Yuyin affirmed, nodding earnestly at Shen Ningbing. Observing this scene, Chu Xuan recognized that he had achieved his objective. He then turned to Su Wuyo, who stood quietly by, awaiting orders. Old Su, I shall not be proceeding to Tianlan sect. You all may handle it yourselves. However, remember this. Eliminate everyone related to that Ding patriarch. Regardless of age or gender, spare none. Those who willingly renounce their cultivation may be granted clemency, but alas, my heart tends to soften. Chu Xuan's tone was nonchalant, as he effectively sentenced the Tianlan sect, a dominant force in Wanghua Prefecture, to annihilation. Understood, Su Wuyo replied, wiping the sweat from his brow, his tone respectful. The Tianlan sect was formidable, with a multitude of disciples. It was no surprise they had developed into such a powerful entity. This would indeed be a demanding task, yet merely a minor episode in the grand scheme of things. If the Holy Land were informed, this so-called hegemonic sect would likely be reduced to ashes in less than a quarter of an hour. Nodding in agreement with Chu Xuan's words, Shen Ningbing reflected that indeed mercy had been shown. Had she been in his position, she would have enacted complete extermination without hesitation. The Empress of Ice cared little for their cultivation. She would have simply dealt with them decisively. Meanwhile, the newly initiated Xiao Yuyan was momentarily dumbfounded. You intend to kill them all, Master Brother? Is this what you call mercy? Are you concerned that they might be emotionally unstable on their journey to the underworld and thus wish for them to depart together? By this reasoning, you truly are a good person. For a fleeting moment, the naive heart of Yuyan was profoundly shaken. Let us depart for the Holy Land, Chu Xuan declared. A quarter of an hour later, their flying vessel arrived at Wanghua City. 2 hours afterward, the three siblings returned to Feilai Peak. At this moment, at the gates of the Tianlan sect in Wanghua Prefecture, blood flowed freely across the crimson earth. The hundreds of thousands of disciples of the Tianlan sect knelt, their eyes void of spirit. Their cultivation had just been entirely stripped away. At the highest point of the Tianlan sect, Ding Jinxiao gazed at Li Jingyu before him, his face twisted in ingratiation. Saintly, I am at a loss as to where my Tianlan sect has offended you, to warrant your esteemed presence. Even with all my disciples rendered powerless and the core of the sect decimated to just myself and my granddaughter, I still harbor a glimmer of hope. Ding Jinxiao cautiously probed. In truth, he could not comprehend why he had drawn such a terrifying force upon himself. Throughout his life, he had tread carefully, never overstepping boundaries. How could I possibly provoke the esteemed saint of the Tai Xian Holy Land? Recently, the most egregious act I committed was merely requesting someone to call off an engagement. He indeed instructed Elder Wu to resolve the matter amicably. However, his granddaughter had her own intentions and secretly made promises to Elder Wu. No matter how hard Ding Jinxiao racked his brain, he could never have anticipated that his rather plump granddaughter, who could easily be paired with 10 pounds of vermicelli, would cause such a calamity. Even without the presence of Chu Xuan, I would have made the journey. Li Jingyu gazed at the 500 pounds of authentic fatty pork before him, a derisive smile curling upon his lips, tinged with a hint of melancholy. After all, Mai Linger was once like this. At the very least, she was fortunate enough to encounter Chu Xuan. Chapter 28. No matter how bitter the grievances, they are but fleeting frost and wind when a saint intervenes. Even someone as formidable as Ding Jinxiao cannot escape with his mere true one realm. In just the span of an hour, the entire Tianlan sect had succumbed. By the time Chu Xuan and the others returned to the Holy Land, the matter had already reached its conclusion. Chu Xuan, the Tianlan sect has been dealt with, Li Jingyu reported through sound transmission. Ah, quite efficient, Chu Xuan remarked with satisfaction. It can only be said that he is indeed a relative of old Li. This efficiency is commendable. Within the Jade Tablet, Li Jingyu's voice continued to resonate. Moreover, I discovered some items of interest to Chu Xuan within the Tianlan sect, and have already sent them back to the Holy Land. To my surprise, nestled within the humble Tianlan sect was a unique flame of heaven and earth. Additionally, a distant descendant of the Chun royal family has also presented a peculiar flame, which has been sent back as well. On the airship, Xiao Yuyan had previously mentioned that these unusual flames could enhance her cultivation. Thus, Chu Xuan had asked Li Jingyu to keep an eye out. Though he held little hope for such a barren place to yield any extraordinary flames, it did not entirely rule out their existence. These flames often possess their own volition. Perhaps the myriad nations would give rise to a suitable extraordinary fire? Throughout the discourse, Xiao Yuyan listened in silence. Indeed, having the support of a powerful force is immensely beneficial. While others may spend eons in search of extraordinary flames, my sister found two within half a day. In her mind, she could hear the envious voice of Tu Shan Jiujiu. To be honest, I find myself a tad envious of you, Yuyan, for having such an impressive senior brother. If it were me, I would have long since pledged myself to him. Senior brother, your kindness cannot be repaid. I can only offer myself in return. Hearing Tu Shan Jiujiu's playful banter echoing in her mind, Xiao Yuyan's cheeks flushed crimson. She inwardly scolded her unrestrained ninth sister, while simultaneously feeling a stir in her heart. After all, her senior brother was undeniably handsome. Such handsomeness would surely compel even a fairy to steal a second glance, would it not? I have merely committed a fault that any woman might make. Indeed, The elder brother possesses an aura that is remarkably refined, noble, and divine. Simply gazing upon him renders me somewhat abashed. Junior sister, this is your palace, Chu Xuan announced as he guided Xiao Yuyan to a secluded hall on the mountain. With a heart full of curiosity, Xiao Yuyan stepped inside. The moment she crossed the threshold, it was as if she had entered another realm. Though the exterior appeared to be a modest chamber, the interior held a vast expanse. Brother, this is exceedingly grand, isn't it? This room is larger than the entirety of the Xiao residence. Is this truly a place I can call my own? Xiao Yuyan exclaimed, her mouth agape, resembling a rustic girl entering a bustling city for the first time. One could hardly blame her. For this palace was indeed more expansive than the whole of Baiyun City. This spectacle drew muffled laughter from both Chu Xuan and Shen Ningbing. All right. No need for astonishment. This is indeed your abode, Chu Xuan teased, his tone lighthearted yet exasperated. If you are so taken aback by a mere hall, how will you manage when you behold Taishan City? Enough, Ningbing. Please help the junior sister become familiar with her surroundings. I have matters to attend to and shall return to my training, he concluded, retreating to his cultivation chamber to resume his practice. Second sister, what manner of person is our elder brother? In the privacy of her room, Xiao Yuyan inquired of Shen Ningbing. Her curiosity piqued after half a day's acquaintance with her suddenly revealed elder brother. As the second sister, you must have been with him for quite some time. Surely you know him well. However, a trace of stiffness appeared on Shen Ningbing's countenance. If you seek answers to that question, you may have approached the wrong person. She replied, shaking her head. I have only ascended the mountain a little over a month ago, and my understanding of him is limited. What I do know is that he is immensely powerful, with a talent that is truly extraordinary. He is destined to grow into an unparalleled force. Nonetheless, should you encounter any challenges in your cultivation, do not hesitate to seek his counsel, she added, her tone shifting as if recalling something remarkable. He is a kind-hearted individual with unique insights into cultivation. Common issues do not trouble him. His comprehension is rather extraordinary. With that, Shen Ningbing refrained from divulging any further details about Chu Xuan. After her explanation, Xiao Yuyan realized that Shen Ningbing had only recently arrived on the mountain as well. The revelation brought her a measure of joy. It seemed that her opportunities with the elder brother had expanded considerably. Yet, a tinge of disappointment lingered, for she recognized that she still knew far too little about him. By the way, second senior sister, where do you all come from? Xiao Yuyan innocently posed the most touching question. However, Shen Ningbing was no longer the fledgling girl who had just escaped, and thus she bore no qualms in responding. You can simply inquire with any elder about your master brother's origins. I also hail from a modest family. Shen Ningbing calmly recounted her family's tribulations, her expression betraying no hint of emotion, as if she were merely a bystander. Upon hearing Shen Ningbing's tale, Xiao Yuyan quickly offered her apologies. In that moment, she finally comprehended the significance of second senior sister's earlier remark. At the very least, you still have the chance to protect them. This realization deepened her guilt. Why had she spoken so thoughtlessly? Feeling remorseful, Xiao Yuyan resembled a timid quail, repeatedly nodding in apology. I'm so sorry, second senior sister, I didn't mean it. I truly didn't intend to bring this up. Yet, Shen Ningbing, with her experiences from 2 lifetimes, seemed unfazed by it all. The pain from her thousands of years of cultivation had long since dulled. Now, when reminiscing, only a sense of wistfulness remained. It's nothing, just a bit of wear and tear. In the future, once you achieve success in your cultivation, you can take your revenge, Shen Ningbing said with a smile. But, junior sister Yuyan, you must learn from this and cherish those around you. The cultivation world is fraught with uncertainties. Who knows when a colossal entity like the Taishan Holy Land might collapse? As she spoke, a peculiar glint appeared in Shen Ningbing's eyes. Xiao Yuyan, oblivious to Shen Ningbing's unusual demeanor, merely nodded in agreement. Understood, senior sister. I will definitely cherish you and master brother. The vibrant young woman, at the tender age of 18, beamed with a smile as radiant as a blossoming flower. Chapter 29, Shen Ningbing's System Settlement. The self-deception ranking it is widely acknowledged that the Taishan Holy Land currently ranks among the top 3 of the many holy lands, attributable to 2 significant reasons. First, the Taishan scriptures and the Taishan sword technique are regarded as supreme imperial arts. Particularly, the Taishan sword technique is famed for its unparalleled destructive power across the realms. Second, and perhaps of utmost importance, is the presence of their legendary ancestor, the Flying Immortal. For centuries ago, the Taishan Holy Land suddenly emerged with a flying, immortal ancestor, conquering all in his path, earning the title of the world's foremost holy king. It is said that he even boasts the terrifying achievement of standing his ground against the most formidable imperial weapons without defeat. The flying immortal ancestor is none other than Shen Ningbing's master, Lu Wu. Even though Shun Ningbing had reached the pinnacle of emperor-level cultivation in her previous life, she still felt a twinge of inferiority when reminiscing about her master, whose strength and mystery were indeed formidable. Now, there was another figure inciting similar sentiments within Shun Ningbing, her master brother. Although Shun Ningbing had never witnessed Chu Xuan in action, she could sense that his power was undeniably formidable. This became evident when he intruded into her palace previously, effortlessly dismantling formations capable of slaying those at the pinnacle of the true One realm as if they were mere toys. This incident inflicted an irreversible trauma upon Shun Ningbing's tender heart, which had only barely reached 18 years. A month ago, when she had just begun her journey, she merely regarded her senior brother as an ordinary prodigy. Perhaps he had encountered some tribulations in this life that serendipitously led him to her master's tutelage. She believed that with diligence, there would come a day when she would surpass him by leaps and bounds. However, at this moment, Shun Ningbing realized the folly of her assumptions. Her senior brother's talent was immensely superior to her own. Suddenly, she recalled the so-called dormant system. For a considerable time to come, her senior brother would undoubtedly maintain his position at the pinnacle. The mere thought of punishing Chu Xuan sent chills down her spine. Shun Ningbing felt a wave of regret wash over her. System, I wish to sever our bond. Ding. Please refrain from uttering such words to the system. The entity you should address as father is indeed the one at the top. Perhaps sensing Shun Ningbing's thoughts, the long-dormant system re-emerged, delivering a final blow to her already battered spirit. Junior sister, find something to occupy yourself. I shall return to my cultivation. As Chu Xuan's voice faded, so too did his presence, clearly having returned to his training. Ding. The statistical period for this round of prodigy rankings has concluded, and the rankings are being prepared. As the host has just entered the sect, this ranking serves as a customized novice protection list and is not to be taken as a reference. To encourage the host, this round of prodigy rankings will be announced as usual. Announcement of the prodigy rankings for the Taishan Sacred Land below the Foundation Establishment Stage. 50th, Lu Ruyan. 49th, Yu Yue. 35th, Ji Boda. 1st, Shun Ningbing. The outcome was predictable. Shun Ningbing stood at the top. Faced with this result, she smiled, albeit with a hint of frustration. So this system had created a deceptive ranking for her? Now that she had reached the 7th level of transformation, she surely deserved the first place among those below the Foundation Establishment Stage. It was indeed a customized ranking. With sufficient qualifiers, even a dog could claim the top spot. Nevertheless, the prodigy rankings were also revealed, and she wondered just how far her senior brother had climbed. Upon carefully perusing the authentic prodigy rankings, Shun Ningbing observed that most individuals were situated around the Foundation Establishment Golden Body level, which brought her a sense of relief. Truly, individuals like Chu Xuan were still quite rare. Until the very end of the rankings, Shun Ningbing finally spotted two familiar names. Second on the Taishan Sacred Lands Genius List, Wang Tenglong. First on the Taishan Sacred Lands Genius List, Chu Xuan. The moment she saw her senior brother's name, for reasons unbeknownst to her, Shun Ningbing's anxious heart suddenly eased. Thankfully, it was indeed her senior brother at the top of the list. With this revelation, she could finally breathe a sigh of relief regarding the impending punishment, even if it was a bit excessive. Gazing upon Chu Xuan's remarkably handsome visage made her heart feel somewhat lighter. Perhaps it was not entirely out of the question. In fact, her youthful heart seemed to stir with a hint of excitement. Ding! The rankings have been announced. Congratulations to the host for achieving the pinnacle. Reward for reaching the top: 1 Ice Crystal Divine Phoenix Essence, 1 Heavenly Pillar Stone Bed, 3 Heavenly Grade Xianming Pearls. Gazing at the bountiful rewards, Shun Ningbing felt a sense of disorientation. The emotional wounds inflicted by her senior brother were instantly mended. These treasures were simply too fitting for her. The Ice Crystal Divine Phoenix Essence was the key to fully activating her Taiying Sacred Phoenix Body. How could the Taiying Sacred Phoenix Body be completely awakened without the Phoenix Essence? This was knowledge she had only come to learn after achieving the status of a great emperor in her previous life. Deep within, due to the intense emotional turmoil of Shun Ningbing, the room was instantly enveloped in a layer of frost. Had it not been for the protective array within, half the palace might have been reduced to icy fragments. After a prolonged moment, Shun Ningbing finally exhaled a breath of murky air. On her exquisite countenance, adorned with glistening ice crystals, a flicker of urgency emerged. No, I must diligently cultivate and surpass the senior brother. How could a dignified empress like myself be reduced to washing his feet? However, once I surpass him, perhaps I might consider allowing him to serve me in that manner. The senior brother is so handsome. I can only imagine how striking he would look when brought to tears after a defeat. Contemplating this, her desire to cultivate intensified. Unbeknownst to her, the heart that had remained frozen for millennia began to stir ever since encountering Chu Xuan. In just a month since her entry into the sect, her emotional fluctuations had surpassed those of her entire previous life. Furthermore, everything unfolded so naturally that even the protagonist herself remained oblivious. Chapter 30. The Return of the Dragon King. The Saint Body King Lungting. Since the initiation ceremony, the Taishan Holy Land had not known tranquility. News of a 10 absolute body emerging on Falai Peak spread like wildfire. In an instant, countless factions were shaken. This was indeed a 10 absolute body. If the accompanying issues could be resolved, it would surpass even the Saint Body in power. The 10 absolute body signifies mastery over 10 distinct paths, making the journey to quasi-emperor status considerably less arduous. One could even assert that once a 10 absolute body matures, it is destined to ascend to the throne. However, there were also many who reveled in misfortune. After all, the 10 absolute body often heralded endless troubles. Some 10 absolute bodies even possessed the capability to extinguish the legacy of an emperor. This was not mere conjecture, but a truth borne out by historical events. Nonetheless, such a fate was unlikely to befall the Taishan Holy Land, for Chu Xuan had already disclosed Shun Ningbing's constitution. The Taiyan Holy Phoenix body was not one that invoked calamity, it merely required vast resources to activate. Such a constitution was a fortuitous draw among the 10 absolute bodies. Consequently, for the past month, the Holy Master of Taishan, Li Changqing, had been hosting extravagant feasts, indulging in revelry and inebriation. What joy! Just as he was in high spirits today, singing and drinking, the sky above shattered, and several crimson cheilants gracefully emerged from the void. Behind them, a resplendent war chariot trembled the very fabric of space with its passage. Were it not for the unique aura emanating from the chariot, continuously mending the void, the space would have likely collapsed entirely. Upon sighting the chariot, the disciples at the mountain gate promptly bowed in respect. They had witnessed the arrival of Brother Wang. The chariot made no indication of stopping, proceeding directly into the Taishan Holy Land. Throughout the encounter, the figure within the chariot remained concealed. Within the sacred grounds of the Taishan, the sight of the familiar war chariot elicited gasps of astonishment from many disciples. It is the Qilin chariot of Brother Wang. Brother Wang has returned. Such an impressive treasure. Indeed, as a scion of the imperial clan, he travels in divine artifacts. And those Qilins, each radiates the aura of a divine king. How magnificent! Truly, the wealthiest family in the Taishan domain. The Wang family is the most affluent lineage in the Taishan, of course, excluding the holy grounds themselves. The judges undoubtedly will not descend into the fray. Thus, Wang Tenglong, as the young master of the Wang clan, naturally possesses immense wealth. The return of such a figure to the sacred grounds is bound to stir considerable discussion. To garner even more praise, Wang Tenglong deliberately revealed his visage. However, the flattery he anticipated did not materialize. Is this the legendary Wang Zhenchuan? He does not appear as handsome as I recalled. Indeed, he seems to fall short compared to Chu Xuan. I always said, Chu Xuan is the ultimate. Wang Zhenchuan pales in comparison. The murmurs of the distant maidens stirred a sense of irritation within Wang Tenglong. That person again. He had only been away from the holy grounds for 2 years, and this individual had seized everything that rightfully belonged to him. How could these infatuated admirers not see that he too is quite handsome? As a young master of an imperial lineage, Wang Tenglong is not merely defined by his powerful background. He possesses confidence, and in terms of appearance and demeanor, he stands out among the successors of the imperial clans. When compared to someone of no background, he is leagues ahead. However, he was clearly overthinking. Comparisons must be relevant. If he were to compare himself to other true disciples, he might indeed be unrivaled. Yet, if he were to stand beside Chu Xuan, it would be nothing short of self-degradation. Merely in terms of looks, Chu Xuan could utterly eclipse him. The war chariot glided forward, making its way toward the flying peak. Suddenly, someone noticed the direction in which Wang Tenglong was heading. Brother Wang is heading toward the flying peak. Do you think he seeks the 10 absolute body? Nonsense. Brother Wang is surely here for Brother Chu. Indeed, although Shun Zhenchuan possesses a unique physique, he is not truly developed and would not catch Brother Wang's eye. Countless inquisitive disciples followed Wang Tenglong to the foot of the flying peak. Gazing up at the towering mountain, Wang Tenglong's expression was complex. As the young master of the Wang family, he was well aware of the terrifying nature of this peak's master. That is a true legend. A super ancestor who became invincible within a mere 300 years. In fact, this very mountain was relocated here by that existence. Indeed, before Lu Wu rose to prominence, the Taishan sacred ground did not feature the flying peak. The entire mountain was brought here by Lu Wu 2 centuries ago. The fire Qilin respectfully halted at the mountain's base, and Wang Tenglong disembarked from the chariot. Are Brother Chu and Sister Shin present? I am Wang Tenglong. Here to pay my respects. Wang Tenglong spoke slowly, his voice calm. Chu Xuan had just returned with Xiao Yuyin yesterday, and without reporting the true transmission token, he naturally remained unaware of the matter. His voice echoed into the protective mountain formation, only to vanish without a trace. After a considerable pause, a response finally emerged. It was indeed Senior Brother Wang. What a pleasure. Subsequently, a gap appeared in the protective formation, revealing a path within. Please, Senior Brother Wang, step inside. Upon hearing this, Wang Tenglong hesitated no longer and stepped forward, entering the formation. In the next instant, he felt as if the world were spinning, and before him unfolded an ethereal palace. A realm of jade and grandeur. Within the palace stood a man and two women, exuding an indescribable sense of harmony. One of the women, clad in a flowing black gown, possessed exquisite features and unparalleled beauty. Beneath the dark fabric, her figure appeared perfectly sculpted, resembling a celestial being, flawless and enchanting. Even though Wang Tenglong hailed from an imperial lineage and had encountered many extraordinary beauties, he had never before encountered someone with such noble and ethereal elegance. This woman seemed like a born sovereign, leaving him utterly mesmerized. On the other side stood a petite, charming figure, her demeanor inherently alluring. Yet she appeared somewhat intimidated by Wang Tenglong. However, he paid little heed to the two women. His entire focus was on the proud man standing before him. This individual was the very reason for his visit. Dressed in a flowing white robe, he moved with the grace of drifting clouds. His stature was as upright as a towering pine, and within his every breath, the essence of the Tao resonated. His hair, dark as ink, was casually tied back, with a few strands dancing gently in the breeze. His face was chiseled with sharp angles, eyebrows arcing like swords, and his eyes, deep and expansive, seemed to harbor the infinite cosmos within. Simply standing there, he radiated an extraordinarily divine aura, reminiscent of a deity descending to earth or an immortal appearing before mortals, evoking a sense of awe and reverence that rendered one hesitant to gaze directly upon him. Upon witnessing this figure, Wang Tenglong realized that the disciples had spoken no falsehood. How could someone possess such extraordinary handsomeness? Merely observing him nearly instilled a sense of inferiority in Wang Tenglong. Reflecting on the earlier words of the disciples, a sense of pride welled within him. To think that I could be compared to such an immortal being, how remarkably formidable I am. When the disparity between two parties is vast, the defeated cannot even summon feelings of jealousy. Wang Tenglong found himself in such a predicament now. He had long heard tales of Chu Xuan's unparalleled appearance and extraordinary demeanor, likened to an immortal descending from the heavens. Previously, he had dismissed it as mere jest, believing the disciples were short-sighted. Moments later, Wang Tenglong regained his composure and humbly apologized. Today, upon this meeting, I realize that I have been narrow-minded. Indeed, junior brother, your reputation as an immortal is truly well-deserved. Amidst such a vast disparity, Wang Tenglong had relinquished any thoughts of comparison. He had neither the inclination to humiliate himself nor the habit of seeking futile amusement. Brother Wang, your praise is undeserved. It is merely a facade, he retorted. However, Chu Xuan remained unfazed, casually waving his hand as if to dismiss the matter entirely. Soon, a set of intricately carved dragon-patterned wooden furniture appeared, accompanied by half a jar of fine wine. A small stove simmered gently, evoking the ambience of a banquet where wine would flow freely. Come, brother, do indulge in this exquisite wine I have procured. With a flourish of his hand, a rich, fragrant aroma instantly enveloped the entire palace. Seeing this, Wang Tenglong did not hesitate. He casually took a seat, eagerly awaiting the delightful libation. What brings you here today, Brother Wang? Chu Xuan seized the opportunity to inquire, his eyes gleaming as he began to assess his companion's attributes. Name, Wang Tenglong. Age, 28. Cultivation, 9th level of Divine Fire Realm. Titles, Dragon Blood Battle Body, Gold. Emperor's Bearing, Gold. Dragon Blood Xian Huang. The bearer of the Dragon Blood Battle Body, a sacred physique, flows with the true blood of dragons, rendering the individual extraordinarily powerful. Nearly invincible among peers, with remarkable recovery and foundation, far surpassing the average human. However, the nature of dragons is licentious. Those possessing this physique often lead a hedonistic lifestyle, becoming frequent visitors of brothels at a young age. Upon glimpsing these attributes, Chu Xuan exclaimed in astonishment. Truly, Wang Tenglong embodied the bearing of an emperor. It was his first encounter with dual golden titles not belonging to a fated child. Moreover, the presence of dragon in his name and the addition of the dragon blood battle body to his talents clarified why he had been chosen as a true disciple of the Holy Master. His gifts were indeed exceptional. At merely 28 years of age, he had already attained the 9th level of Divine Fire Realm. Just one step away from entering the True One realm and standing out among the divine beings. Such a pace of cultivation is hardly slow. In fact, it ranks among the very top across the 9 heavens and 10 earths. It is evident that he is a worthy heir of the imperial lineage, having begun his training from a young age. With the dragon blood battle body enhancing his capabilities, he was nearly invincible at his level, easily overcoming opponents of higher ranks as effortlessly as one would partake in a meal. Your attributes are commendable. However, I shall soon possess a similar set, he declared. Addressing the system, copy and paste. Beep. Copying attributes. Dragon blood Xian Huang, Emperor's bearing. Copy successful. Loading now. Beep. Loading complete. With the sound of the prompt, significant changes unfolded within Chu Xuan's body. His already formidable physique experienced further augmentation. Now endowed with the dual enhancement of the Phoenix bloodline and Dragon blood Xian Huang, Chu Xuan's physical prowess had become truly terrifying. He felt confident that, among peers, he could easily render the Dragon blood battle body before him as ordinary. Simultaneously, his potential had also undergone a transformation, albeit subtle, leaving the sensation barely perceptible. Indeed, a figure of imperial stature exerts little influence over an unparalleled celestial king. Although it does not directly transform one's constitution, I have reaped all the benefits I deserve. How delightful. The shortcomings of my constitution, however, are not inherited, which is even more gratifying. As I sense the changes within me, Chu Xuan's demeanor has softened considerably. After all, this is a benefactor who has generously bestowed upon me opportunities from afar. How could one not be gracious? What brings you here, esteemed senior brother?